My sister and I fell down the stairs at the same time, and were in a coma for 3 days and 3 nights. However, while my sister and I were in a coma, my parents never once cared about my sister. Instead, they stayed by my side day and night, taking care of me. They even forgot that my sister was their real biological daughter, while I was the adopted son with no blood relation to them. When they finally remembered that my sister was their real daughter, not only did they feel no guilt, but they even blamed it on her. Seeing my sister being scolded by my adoptive parents, I realized I had transmigrated into the body of the villainous fake young master in a novel. In the story, because the Liu family favored boys over girls, it eventually caused Liu Ruyan to turn into a villain. The Liu family was also destroyed by the villainous Liu Ruyan, who joined forces with the protagonist to maintain the luxurious life of a second-generation rich kid. I immediately decided, if you won't dote on your daughter, then I will. At that moment, I looked towards the door and saw a frail girl hiding behind it, trembling all over. That was Liu Ruyan, who had just returned to the Liu family not long ago. In the original story, because Liu Ruyan's arrival to reunite with her family led to the fake young master's true identity being exposed, he had always held a grudge and frequently bullied Liu Ruyan. And 3 days ago, the original owner made Liu Ruyan clean the villa's staircase, intending to use a self-harm ploy to drive Liu Ruyan out of the Liu family. Unexpectedly, he overdid it, which gave me the opportunity to take his place. At this moment, my adoptive parents noticed my gaze and also looked towards the door. When they saw the girl, their expressions immediately turned cold. You harmed your brother this badly. Get over here and kneel down to apologize to him now. Liu Ruyan was seen carefully entering the room, and after calling out Mom, Dad, she was immediately scolded by Liu Jianguo and Zhao Cd. Don't call us Mom and Dad, you jinx. If it weren't for you, would Xiao Hao have fallen down the stairs? I think you're just a wolf in sheep's clothing, trying to kill Xiao Hao. At this time, Liu Jianguo also spoke up. Although you are the biological daughter of our Liu family, you're still just a country bumpkin. After you receive your punishment, have Lao Lu take you back to the countryside. Liu Ruyan looked at Liu Jianguo and Zhao Cd and said resentfully, Mom, Dad, are you really my biological parents? I fell down the stairs that day too. Zhao Cd just snorted coldly. You deserved it. I don't know how your adoptive parents raised you to turn out to be such a vicious murderer. If you weren't our biological daughter, for daring to hurt Xiao Hao this badly, you would have been in jail for life. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan sniffled resentfully, glared at me fiercely, and growled, Are you happy now? Kicking me out of the Liu family, are you finally happy now? Shut up. You're clearly the troublemaker, and now you dare to slander Xiao Hao. We shouldn't have brought this country bumpkin back in the first place. We should have just let you fend for yourself in the countryside. Zhao Cd was seen raising her hand, about to slap Liu Ruyan's face. Seeing this, I suddenly remembered the next part of the novel's plot, so I rushed forward and got in between Liu Ruyan and Zhao Cd. If this slap landed on Liu Ruyan's face, it would directly sever her relationship with the Liu family, and driving Liu Ruyan out of the house is the beginning of her descent into villainy. Liu Ruyan's adoptive parents had passed away, and the house they left behind was taken by her uncle. Tonight, he will bring a few drunk friends home. Seeing there was still an unlucky person in the room, he would kick her right out of the house. He would also threaten that if she didn't leave, in 2 days, he would marry her off to the old limper named Liu at the village entrance. Just like that, Liu Ruyan, carrying her only bundle of luggage, hid in a mountain cave, listening to the wolves howl, and survived like that for several years. From then on, she began to hate the Liu family, vowing to bring ruin to their family. Following a crisp slapping sound, Liu Ruyan squeezed her eyes shut. However, the expected slap didn't land on her face. She only felt herself being pulled into a warm embrace. At this moment, Zhao Cide's panicked cry rang out. Xiao Hao, are you okay? Zhao Cd didn't expect me to use my own body to protect Liu Ruyan. She guiltily rubbed my back and continued. It's all Mom's fault. I know you love your sister, but she hurt you so badly, yet you still protect her like this. Although I was grimacing in pain, my face showed a pained expression, and I pretended to say angrily to Liu Jianguo, Dad, how are you taking care of me? It's only been 3 days, and Mom's hitting strength has already weakened this much. It didn't hurt at all. Hearing this, Zhao Cd shot Liu Jianguo a sulky glance. With your dad's personality, forget about taking care of me. It's a blessing if he doesn't drive me mad. Not everyone is like you, Xiao Hao. Putting my mind at ease, Liu Jianguo was stunned, and while they were in a good mood, I quickly explained, Dad, Mom, actually, that day I saw the stairs were dirty, and since it's a place our family uses every day, I wanted to clean it myself. Ru Yan was just helping me, so please don't be angry anymore. It was so hard for my sister to find her way home. How can you send her back to the countryside? Besides, if anyone should leave, it should be me. I've already taken over more than 10 years of my sister's life. Now, the attention should rightfully belong to her. When Zhao Sida heard this, she immediately said angrily, "No, you're not going anywhere. You are my biological son. Whether you were born from me or not, I will only ever acknowledge you as my son." But Xiao Hao has really grown up. He knows to clean up when he sees the house is dirty, so filial. Unlike some jinx, who only knows how to make me angry. At this moment, Liu Jianguo also let out a sigh. "Zhao Hao, you will always be my biological son too. Since you've said so, just let her stay." Then he said coldly to Liu Ruyan, "Don't forget who you have to thank for being able to stay in this Liu family. If Xiao Hao gets even a little bit hurt because of you, then get the hell back to the countryside." After seeing my parents off, I realized I was still holding Liu Ruyan. Letting her go, I sized up this future villainess from head to toe. 7-year-old Liu Ruyan had a small frame, clearly malnourished. She wore a thin, worn-out school uniform, looking out of place in this luxurious villa. But even so, you could still tell at a glance that she was a beauty of the highest caliber. Just then, a voice echoed in my head. Ding. Host detected to have changed the original plot of the story, rewarding top-tier medical skills. Hearing this sudden system notification, I was immediately overjoyed. It seems that as long as I can change the plot of the story and alter Liu Ruyan's tragic fate, I will receive all sorts of magical rewards. And just then, Liu Ruyan noticed my gaze, cautiously took 2 steps back, and said with a look of disgust, "Don't think that just because you helped me today, I'll be grateful to you. Don't forget, that day, you were the one who forced me to clean the stairs, and you deliberately bumped into me, which is why you fell down the stairs. You got what you deserved." Seeing this, I raised an eyebrow and said shamelessly, "I don't care. Either way, I helped you today, so you have to repay me. Otherwise, I'll go tell mom and dad. The one who treated Liu Ruyan badly was the original owner. It has nothing to do with me. Now I can use this opportunity to make her repay me, and ease the relationship with this future villainess." In the original story, Liu Ruyan was also frequently abused at her adoptive parents' home. From the age of 3, Liu Ruyan had to help the family with all kinds of farm work and was even almost sold off twice. If it weren't for her excellent academic performance, which earned her the favor of the teachers and principal at school, plus her frail body, which often made her look like she was on the verge of death, with her beauty, she would have long been bought to be a child bride. Liu Ruyan clenched her fists, but then released them helplessly. Her adoptive parents had passed away, now she has nowhere to go back to. After coming to the Liu family, although she was still treated poorly, at least she had a place to stay. She could focus wholeheartedly on her studies, and use her excellent grades to repay the kindness of her principal and teachers. "You're such a scoundrel." She gritted her teeth and continued, "What do you want me to do?" Seeing this, I said cheerfully, "Then you'll be my servant for a day. Just do as I say." Liu Ruyan frowned. She didn't know what new way I had come up with to humiliate all her, but she had no room to negotiate, so she could only suppress her anger and nod. "Then go get ready first. I am going to change my clothes too." Soon after changing, I stepped out of my room. At this moment, Liu Ruyan was leaning against the wall, sitting on the floor. I was a bit puzzled and asked, "Why didn't you change into a different outfit?" Liu Ruyan was seen pursing her lips. She shot me a fierce glare, and then shook her head vigorously. Seeing this, I scratched my head awkwardly, and suddenly remembered, when Liu Ruyan first came home, our parents had bought her a few sets of clothes, but the original owner felt that his affection was being divided, so he sulked for a long time. Afraid the original owner's anger would harm his health, our parents took back everything they had given to Liu Ruyan, and even burned it all in the courtyard in front of him. "All right, let's go. Let's. First, I'll take you to buy a couple of outfits." I grabbed Liu Ruyan's wrist. When I held her wrist, my top-tier medical skills were immediately activated. Her pulse indicated that Liu Ruyan's body was somewhat weak. Besides malnutrition and stomach problems, her body also had many minor ailments due to long-term, pent-up resentment. But these were all minor issues. They can be fully recovered with some nourishment for a period of time. Arriving at the garage, rows of luxury cars were parked neatly. After searching for over 10 minutes, I finally found a Lamborghini in the corner. After getting into the driver's seat, I felt like 10,000 marmots were screaming inside me. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan's body was tense. She just huddled in a corner of the seat. She remembered the last time she rode in Liu Hao's car. Liu Hao had given her a disgusted look, saying she had dirtied his car. After that car never appeared in the garage again. I frowned, gently pushed Liu Ruyan into the seat, and helped her fasten her seatbelt. Liu Ruyan was about to struggle, but seeing I had no other intentions, she sat still obediently. The engine roared, and the Lamborghini sped out of the garage. Soon, we reached a crowded street, and occasionally people would throw things through the car window, tossing their contact information inside. Although I was wearing sunglasses, the corners of my mouth were harder to control than the recoil of an AK. Liu Ruyan glanced at me and saw that my head was facing forward, as if I wasn't paying attention to her. So she secretly touched the seatbelt and the seat, then curiously touched the car door and poked at the center console. Suddenly, she realized she might have gone too far. She turned her head to look at me and saw that I was still looking straight ahead, but she still wasn't reassured. Suddenly, as if possessed, I took off my sunglasses. Even though my head was still facing forward, my eyes had been following her the whole time. Seeing a slight smile at the corner of my mouth, Liu Ruyan's face immediately turned bright red. She pulled her hand back and began to apologize. So, sorry. I'll clean the car carefully when we get home. Seeing this, I just patted her head and said with a smile, then we're even. Even? Liu Ruyan just felt a little confused. He seemed to have changed since he woke up. If it were before, Liu Hao would never have helped me block that slap, let alone let me ride in his car. But thinking of his past behavior and how he was treating her now, it must be to humiliate her even more later. She patted her face, reminding herself to be on guard. As for me, based on the original owner's memories, I took Liu Ruyan to a hair salon. This salon had previously styled many A-list superstars, and its craftsmanship was among the best in the country. Pushing open the door, a staff member came up to the two of them. Hello, may I ask if you have an appointment? Seeing this, I was stunned for a moment. I remembered the original owner never made appointments. He was always received by the owner himself. Does your salon require appointments? How come I never knew? Get your owner out here to serve me. After saying that, I pulled Liu Ruyan and started to walk in. Unexpectedly, the staff member blocked my way, looked me up and down, and then scoffed. Our salon has always catered exclusively to top-tier wealthy families. Looking at your nouveau, riche appearance, how would you know the rules of our salon? You look like you're only 14 or 15, and you're already trying to bring a schoolgirl to our shop to cause trouble. If you want to show off, you should pick the right place to do it. Our owner serves the Liu family of Jiangcheng. Just a few words from them, and your whole family will be out on the streets begging. Hearing him say that, I felt a bit embarrassed. After all, it was my first time being rich. I lacked experience. Before I went out just now, I had put on all the gold rings, gold necklaces, and gold watches from my room. I really looked like a genuine nouveau riche. Just then, the staff member's gaze shifted to Liu Ruyan and insulted her. You're a girl, don't you have any self-respect? You just bring shame to your school. If you're really short on money, just tell me. There are plenty of people in our shop who like schoolgirls. Your boyfriend hasn't even hit puberty yet. How much money can he have? Play with us. Getting 10 or 20,000 a month for pocket money is normal. Hearing the argument here, quite a few passersby had gathered. This girl is so young and already working as a prostitute. I see she's even wearing the uniform of First High School. She must be a student there. Isn't First High supposed to be a top-tier high school? How can there be someone like this? We can't let her corrupt other students. We must report this to the principal. Liu Ruyan lowered her head. The rims of her eyes were red, filled with tears. Then she glared at me fiercely. No wonder he dressed so differently today. No wonder he was so gentle with me today. It turns out it was all in preparation for this moment, all to have me humiliated in front of everyone. Now that this has become a big scene, affecting the school's reputation, she might even get expelled. Are you satisfied now? Are you finally satisfied now? I am begging you, can you just let me go? I will never fight with you for our parents' affection again. Can I leave now? I'll go home, pack my things, and leave immediately. I absolutely won't take anything from your Liu family. You can just pretend you never found me. Her heart felt bitter. Whether it was at her adoptive parents' home or her biological parents' home, she had never been loved. It was clear that all she yearned for was just a little bit of care. Hearing Liu Ruyan's words, my heart felt like it was being pierced by nails. My eyes darkened. I glared fiercely at the staff member, and then kicked him hard in the stomach. With a mouth that foul, have you been eating? Shit, you're just a waiter, yet you dare to spread filthy lies about a customer. Who gave you the nerve? Just because this salon is good, you think you're something special? I pinned the waiter down and punched him repeatedly in the face. The waiter covered his head and screamed incessantly. Liu Ruyan stared in astonishment at the scene before her. She never expected that not only did I not stand by and watch the show, but I also stepped up to vent her anger for her. She thought to herself, could it be that I really misunderstood him? Just then, hearing the commotion outside, all the tawny stylists in the salon rushed out. The scene instantly descended into chaos, but I ignored everything else and continued to punch the waiter repeatedly. But in the end, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. I was restrained by a group of stylists. "You brat, you've got some nerve, daring to hit me. Drag him into the bathroom and pry his mouth open. I am gonna give him a hot one. See if he dares to cause trouble here again." However, before they could even carry me into the shop, the owner came scrambling out the door. He was seen landing a heavy slap across the lead waiter's face. "Which motherfucker gave you the nerve to touch him? Hurry up and let go of the Liu family's young master." The lead waiter held his swollen red face and said doubtfully, "Brother-in-law, did you get the wrong person? Look at the way he's dressed. He's clearly a nouveau riche. How could he be the young master of the Liu group?" I sneered. "How I dress? Do I have to report it to your barbershop?" "Of course not, young Master Liu. It was our staff who failed to recognize you, young master, and inadvertently offended you. It was all just a misunderstanding," the owner said fawningly. Hearing the owner's words, the expressions on the faces of the stylists were more colorful than if they had eaten shit. Yes, sorry. Young Master Liu, we didn't know anything. It was all his instigation." "That's right. If we knew your identity, we wouldn't dare to lay a hand on you even if it meant death." I snorted coldly. "So what you mean is, if it were an ordinary person, you could bully them as you please. Is that right?" Hearing my words, the stylists' backs broke out in a cold sweat. They looked pleadingly at the owner. "What are you looking at me for? Hurry up and kneel down to apologize to young Master Liu." After the owner finished speaking, all the stylists knelt down on the ground in unison, and one by one, they started slapping their own faces. Tease. These dogs who bully people with borrowed power finally got their comeuppance. I heard that a simple haircut at their shop costs at least 10,000 yuan. Now that they've offended the young master of the Liu family, I am afraid no one will dare to come here anymore. Hearing the schadenfreude from the surrounding crowd, I glanced at the Muse sign in astonishment. 10,000 yuan for a haircut. Is this hair made of gold? The manager followed my gaze towards the shop's entrance and let out a sigh. "Young Master Liu, this is 5 million yuan. It's my fault for my poor management today, letting these people offend you. I hope you can forgive me." 5 million yuan, I said in astonishment. If I knew I could get 5 million yuan from a single slap, I would wish I could hang myself up to be beaten right now. The manager thought I felt it was too little, and gritted his teeth as he took out another card. "There's over 3 million yuan in here. It's all my savings from the last 10+ years in Jiangcheng. I hope you'll be merciful." I hurriedly stuffed both cards into my pocket, looking as if I was afraid the manager would change his mind. "I'll exchange all the money on these 2 cards for gold, and then find a place to hide it. Even if the Liu family goes bankrupt later, this 8 million yuan will be enough to live on." Just as I thought of this, I suddenly tensed up and looked up, searching through the crowd for Liu Ruyan's figure. Liu Ruyan was hiding behind a potted plant at the entrance. I ran over to her and scratched my head shyly. "If I said I didn't do it on purpose, would you believe me?" Liu Ruyan looked at me deeply. "Although I believe that today's incident was just an accident, the video and rumors have already spread. I am a little tired. Can you take me home?" Liu Ruyan asked cautiously. I shook my head and refused decisively. "Of course not. Today isn't over yet. Besides, I let you get caught up in this mess, so I must compensate you properly." I turned back and glared at the manager. If it weren't for these attack dogs, I would have already built a good relationship with Liu Yan, without giving Liu Ruyan a chance to react. I pulled Liu Ruyan's arm and walked towards another hair salon. As soon as we entered, the girl at the reception desk greeted us enthusiastically. "Hello, you two handsome people. Do you have a preferred hairstylist?" Liu Ruyan glanced at me and whispered, "Is it very expensive to get a haircut?" "Here, ma'am, this is our price list. You can take a look first," the receptionist said with a smile. Liu Ruyan's face flushed as she took the price list to look at it. "Here, the cheapest haircut by the director costs 128 yuan. How about we go to a different salon? I usually get my hair cut on the roadside. 10 yuan is enough." Liu Ruyan stood on her tiptoes and whispered in my ear. I gave a mischievous smile. "Let's just get it done here. Money isn't an issue. Call me brother once, and I'll get you a membership card. How about that?" Liu Ruyan's face flushed with embarrassment, and she angrily gritted her teeth, turning to leave. "This jerk keeps bullying me, and he even wants me to call him brother. In his dreams," she thought to herself. However, a sweet brother still echoed in the hair salon. The receptionist looked shy, gently bit her lip. Her sparkling eyes were filled with tears. "Brother, you just said you wanted to get a membership card for your little sister. You can't go back on your word." I was stunned for a moment, then raised an eyebrow at the receptionist and said, "Arrange for the head stylist to give her a haircut, and then style it. Do everything to the highest standard." Without waiting for Liu Ruyan to refuse, a hairstylist led her to a chair. Your boyfriend is really good to you. Liu Ruyan gritted her teeth. He's not my boyfriend. He's a jerk. The hairstylist looked at Liu Ruyan's expression, then looked at me doubtfully. Soon after, an understanding look appeared on his face. The two lovebirds must be having a quarrel. He gave me a thumbs up in front of his chest and nodded vigorously. An eye contact exchange between men. I immediately understood the hairstylist's meaning. He was saying, leave it to me. I leaned against the reception desk, pointed at Liu Ruyan and asked, how much does a session like this cost? A haircut and styling, if there's no hair dyeing, just a simple perm. It's about 1,500 yuan, the receptionist said. I nodded. Then top up 100,000 for me. All the hairstylists immediately stopped what they were doing, looked towards the reception desk and shouted loudly. Thank you, boss, for topping up the membership card. May your business prosper, boss. May money flow in like water. The corner of my mouth twitched. The receptionist couldn't help but chuckle. Brother, I see your hair is quite messy now too. Your sister's haircut will still take some time. Let me tidy you up a bit too. I thought for a moment, then nodded. It's a good chance to experience what's the difference between a 1,000 yuan haircut and a 20 yuan one. When I lay on the shampooed chair and could only see half of the ceiling, I immediately understood. One hair wash, the receptionist's white shirt was half wet, and I was almost suffocated by the facial cleanser. Brother, please go over there to have it blow-dried, the receptionist said, pointing to the chair next to her. She gently stroked my hair, helping me create a simple and neat hairstyle. I only felt a soft sensation on the back of my neck, and my initial suspicion turned into understanding. Expensive things are indeed worth the price. After my hair was dried, I got up and walked over to Liu Ruyan. After the haircut, Liu Ruyan's stunning beauty was no longer hidden by her thick hair. She looked both beautiful and cool. I stuffed the topped-up membership card into Liu Ruyan's hand. Come here for your haircuts from now on. Whenever you want to come, just let me know, and it'll bring you. Liu Ruyan was stunned for a moment. She lowered her head and pressed her lips together, her eyes fixed on the black and gold membership card in her hand. Getting a haircut here, she wouldn't have her hair pulled hard by a comb full of tangled hair. The shampoo water was always warm, and the hairstylist's movements were very gentle. Her hair was also very neat after the cut, not like it had been chewed by a dog. An unprecedented feeling arose in her heart. She felt a tickle in her heart. If he doesn't bully me anymore in the future, then it wouldn't be impossible for me to call him brother, Liu Ruyan thought to herself. Leaving the hair salon, I pulled Liu Ruyan by the wrist to the front of a clothing store. The clothing store was called Tailor, quite well known in the luxury goods circle. Looking at the huge logo on the sign, Liu Ruyan leaned in and whispered in my ear, how about we go to another store to buy clothes? It's rare to be a nouveau riche for once. Of course I want to stroll around and have a look. We're already here, aren't we? Let's go in and pick a few outfits first. In case you have to go out with mom and dad someday, you can't just wear your uniform. Liu Ruyan hesitated for a moment and nodded slightly. Then just pick one outfit. Entering the store, a middle-aged woman in a suit walked towards them with a smiling face. This woman's name was Huang Ling, a salesperson at this store. She looked the two of us up and down, and the smile on her face immediately vanished. The clothes here are very expensive. If you're not buying, don't come in. If you accidentally dirty them, you couldn't afford to compensate even if we sold both of you. Hearing Huang Ling's words, Liu Ruyan hid behind me, gently tugging at the hem of my shirt. How about we go buy clothes at a street-side shop? The quality of the clothes there is also very good. There weren't many customers in the store, so Liu Ruyan's words reached Huang Ling's ears clearly. She sneered and said, you two should leave quickly. Look at the way you're dressed. The ladies who see you will think, some beggars have come into our shop. Liu Ruyan's face immediately turned bright red. Mustering all her courage, she grabbed my arm and gently pulled me back. I glared fiercely at Huang Ling. Is this how you treat your customers? Get your boss out here. Hearing the argument over here, another young woman walked over to them. Hello, I am the manager of this. My name is Zhao Heiyan. Huang Ling, you go attend to other customers first. She gave us a slight bow, revealing a professional smile. I am very sorry for giving you two a bad shopping experience. I will now change the salesperson for you. Xiao Li, come over and serve the customers. After speaking, she turned to leave. Wait, is this how your store just brushes things off? I questioned. Zhao Heiyan glanced at the two of us and sneered contemptuously. Do I have to say it bluntly? Paupers like you are not our customers at all. You just come here to take pictures, to satisfy your vanity a little. It's already nice of us not to kick you out. She went over to the security guard and instructed him. Keep an eye on them. Don't let them dirty the clothes. Liu Ruyan bit her lip and whispered in my ear, let's go to another store. At most, I'll spend a day going out with you next week. I glanced at Liu Ruyan in surprise. I nodded and said with a smile, then it's a date. Don't go back on your word next week, but I can't be humiliated for nothing either. Let's go outside first. I'll make a phone call. Just then, a young girl walked up to them. Yan, is that you? The girl said in surprise. Sister Nian. Thu, why are you here? Liu Ruyan's voice held a hint of joy. Following Liu Ruyan's gaze, I saw a girl with a high ponytail. She is Lei Nian Thu, my senior from middle school. She's also studying at Jiangcheng High School now. Lei Nian Thu nodded at me and said hello. She linked arms with Liu Ruyan. Is this your boyfriend? I didn't expect you, little girl, to have a crush already. Liu Ruyan's face blushed slightly as she shook her head. He's not my boyfriend. For a moment, she didn't know how to explain the relationship between us. Lei Nian Thu looked me and Liu Ruyan over, her expression clearly showing disbelief. Liu Ruyan changed the subject. Sister Nian Thu, aren't you in the 12th grade? Why are you here? To earn some extra living expenses, and also for college tuition. During my breaks, I come here to work part-time. Don't you know the clothes here are super expensive? Lei Nian Thu sighed. She was suddenly stunned for a moment, and then asked, you two didn't actually come here to buy clothes, did you? Liu Ruyan glanced at me, and nodded slightly, whispering, just buying one outfit. Lei Nian Thu raised her eyebrows, and smiled. Then let me show you the clothes in the store first. You're so beautiful, you'll definitely look good in anything you wear. She glanced around to see no one, and whispered, it's okay even if you don't buy anything. The money for one outfit here can buy a lot of clothes outside. Lei Nian Thu walked up to me, and said with a chuckle, let me borrow your girlfriend for a moment. I scratched my head shyly. If I say she's not my girlfriend, would you believe me? She's actually my little sister. Lei Nian Thu nodded, revealing a motherly smile. I get it. You two are brother and sister. I let out a sigh, and shook my head helplessly. I am going out to make a call for a bit. Help me see what kind of clothes she likes. After speaking, I walked out of the store. I took out my phone, found a number and dialed it. This clothing store is on the first floor of the Jiangcheng Plaza, and the entire Jiangcheng Plaza is a property of the Liu family. The person in charge of operating Jiangcheng Plaza is a middle-aged man named Wang Mao Kai. The phone rang, and Wang Mao Kai quickly answered. His voice was fawning. Hello, young master, are you visiting Jiangcheng Plaza today? I'll have them lower the difficulty in the arcade area a bit. I snorted coldly, and said in an unfriendly tone, Uncle Wang, does our Jiangcheng Plaza just let any random cat or dog set up a business here? I am at the tailor clothing store on the first floor of the plaza, and I was scolded by their salesperson. You call their store owner to come over. I want to see what kind of boss can train such arrogant employees who bully people with borrowed power. Hearing about what happened to me, Wang Mao Kai cursed angrily. Damn it, how dare they bully our young master. I'll call that store owner right now. If he doesn't give a satisfactory explanation, I don't think his store needs to stay open anymore. The call ended, and Wang Mao Kai flipped through his contacts, finding the store owner's number. As soon as the call connected, he started yelling, Qian Shou, damn it. What kind of employees did you hire? They even dared to scold the young master of our Liu family. If you can't get to the store at Jiangcheng Plaza in 20 minutes, don't even think about opening your store tomorrow. Qian Shou stared blankly at his phone screen, Wang Mao Kai's words still echoing in his head. My employees scolded the young master of the Liu family. The Liu family in Jiangcheng is famous for being overprotective of their own, especially towards that useless, untalented young master. They dote on him to an indescribable extent. Just thinking about the possible revenge tactics of the Liu family, he couldn't help but tremble all over. No way. I have to get there quickly. How many minutes are left? On the other side, after I finished my call, I went back into the store, with Lei Nian Thu's recommendation. Liu Ruyan had changed into a short black dress. Her already cold and aloof aura made her look like a noble black swan in this outfit. When I saw her, I couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. I told you this outfit would definitely suit you. Look, even your boyfriend is stunned. Lei Nian Thu teased. Liu Ruyan noticed my gaze, and her cheeks immediately flushed. She hid behind Lei Nian Thu. I gave them a thumbs up. This outfit is gorgeous. It's rare that we're here. Pick a few more outfits. Lei Nian Thu excitedly pulled Liu Ruyan's hand, and took her to the fitting room. One outfit after another was brought over, from a cool senior to the girl next door. Every single style Liu Ruyan could pull off with ease. Seeing Liu Ruyan continuously trying on clothes, but not buying any, Huang Ling stepped forward to mock her. TSK, what a bunch of poppers. Have you never in your entire life worn such beautiful clothes? Be careful when you're changing. If you damage the clothes, you won't be able to afford it, Lai Nianfu quietly retorted. Sister Huang, they said they would buy one outfit. Huang Ling sneered. If they didn't say that, how would they get the chance to try on our clothes? I've seen plenty of people like them. In the end, they'll definitely find some lame excuse and leave. Zhao Haiyan walked up to Li Nianfu with a cold expression. 500 will be deducted from your salary this month. Li Nianfu lowered her head, looking a bit flustered, like a child who did something wrong. I frowned. On what grounds are you deducting her salary? Zhao Haiyan glanced at me contemptuously. Just on the grounds that these clothes are now tainted with your stench of poverty, making them harder to sell. Deducting 500 yuan from her is already lenient. Don't you want to stand up for her? If you've got the guts, then buy all these clothes. Useless trash who can only talk big. She looked at Lai Nianfu. Don't think I don't know you know each other. Using our store's goods to act like a good person, I think you shouldn't even get your salary this month. If they don't buy, you can leave tomorrow. Hearing Zhao Haiyan's words, Lai Nianfu's eyes immediately turned red. Her shoulders trembled uncontrollably. Liu Ruyan hugged Li Nianfu with a pained heart and patted her on the shoulder. Don't be afraid. I will definitely help you. She turned her head and looked at me with an almost begging gaze. I am begging you. Please help Sister Nianfu. As long as you can help her, I'll listen to everything you say today. However, before I could say anything, Huang Ling suddenly appeared in front of Liu Ruyan and pulled her over by the shoulder with one hand. Manager Zhao, look at this. The shoulder of her dress is wet. This has affected the resale of this outfit. We must make her buy it. Hearing Huang Ling's words, Li Nianfu no longer cared about her sadness and stared blankly at Li Ruyan's shoulder. Indeed, there was a small spot wet with tears. Sorry. She quickly apologized. Manager Zhao, it's all my fault. Such a small stain, it won't be visible once it dries. Can you please let it go? Manager Zhao sneered. The material of our clothes is very special. It gets ruined if it touches water. If you want to help her, then you can pay for this 39,800 yuan outfit. Security, block the door. Before they gather enough money, don't let them run away. I snorted coldly, stepped forward and grabbed Huang Ling's wrist and slapped her fat face. I gently pulled Liu Ruyan's wrist, shielding her behind me. Go and comfort her. I'll handle this. You stinking rogue. How dare you hit me? If you don't compensate me 500,000 today, don't even think about leaving. Huang Ling said angrily, holding her face. I casually waved my arm and said with a cold laugh, are you sure you want me to pay? You hit someone and you ruin the clothes in our store. What's wrong with making you pay? Today, it's not just that set of clothes. All the clothes you've tried on, we don't want them anymore. You have to buy them all. All right. I took a bank card out of my pocket and said with a smile, swipe the card. Charge this fat woman's medical fees to it as well, but swiping my card is easy. It'll be difficult for you to return the money to me then. Just thinking about the 500,000 she was about to get, Huang Ling sneered. We'd have to be crazy to give you the money back. Haiyan, hurry up and swipe the card. Don't let it turn out there's not a single penny in it. When the successful transaction notification appeared, everyone except Liu Ruyan was stunned. This kid actually has so much money, Huang Ling said in astonishment. Immediately after, an almost crazed smile appeared on her face. Quick, transfer your 500,000 to me. Getting slapped in exchange for 500,000, she could wake up laughing from her dreams about this deal. Zhao Haiyan looked at the bank card in her hand and recalled what I had just said. She vaguely felt that something wasn't right. She carefully sized me up again. A gold chain, a big gold watch, an air of new money that was plain to see. Probably some second-generation rich kid who got a lot of compensation money, taking that compensation money out for a spending spree. As soon as she thought of this, the unease in her heart immediately vanished. She even felt a little secretly pleased. The clothes I bought are worth 500,000. Her commission would be a full 50,000. Lin Nianqiu wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and looked blankly at Liu Ruyan, saying in astonishment, is your boyfriend that rich? Liu Ruyan pouted. His father is Liu Jianguo. He even gave him a supplementary card. Forget 1 million. Even if it were 10 billion, he could swipe it right away. I walked up to the two of them and said with a raised eyebrow, Miss Lai, I've bought so many clothes. Aren't you going to help me wrap them up? Only then did Lai Nianqiu react. I'll wrap them for you right away. While Li Nianqiu was away, I asked Liu Ruyan, a good friend? Liu Ruyan was stunned for a moment, then nodded. At my adoptive parents' house, I basically never got to eat my fill. Sister Nianqiu often brought me nice food. Besides, her academic performance is very good. She often tutors me. She paused for a moment and asked, can we help her? Call me brother. I raised an eyebrow. Brother, Liu Ru Yan called out decisively. Hearing her tone, which sounded like she was heading to the execution ground, I showed a look of disdain. The way you say brother, I thought I was being sworn into a brotherhood. If her grades are good, have her come and tutor me from now on. Liu Ru Yan gave me a few strange looks. If you dare bully sister Nian Chu, I will definitely not let you off. I flicked Liu Ru Yan on the forehead. I don't know what this girl is thinking about all day. Seeing Liu Ru Yan's reaction, Lai Nian Tiu is extremely important to her, in case she turns evil later. Perhaps because I once took care of Lai Nian Chuo, she might still remember our old ties, and leave me a few million for my retirement. How can romance be as appealing as this massive fortune? Go talk to her about the situation first. She shouldn't work here anymore. As for her salary here, they wouldn't dare to shortchange her, I said. Liu Ruyan nodded, and hurried over to Lai Nian Qiu's side. To tell her about this, I took out my phone, and called Wang Mao Ke again. Uncle Wang, this store just extorted 1 million from me. They're absolute bandits, young master. Please wait a moment. It'll be there in 2 minutes. Wang Mao Kai said, panting. As soon as he hung up, he ran here as fast as he could. That won't do. I have 2 beauties waiting for me here, and it's almost lunchtime. Uncle Wang, I am hanging up now. After hanging up, I walked over to Liu Ruyan and Li Nian Chou. Let's go quickly, or we'll be stopped. Without giving them a chance to react, I grabbed both of their wrists, and hurriedly ran out of the clothing store. Less than 2 minutes after we left, Wang Mao Ki rushed into the store. All right, just leave the rest to Uncle Wang, I said with a smile. Liu Ruyan didn't know Wang Mao Kai, but seeing my confident expression, she knew I definitely wouldn't let myself be taken advantage of. In the store, seeing Wang Mao Kai walk in, Zhao Haiyan hurriedly went forward to greet him. CEO Wang, how is it that today you have the time to visit our store? Please have a seat first. I'll go make you a cup of tea, Wang Mao Kai said. Irritably, I told him 20 minutes. He had to be at the store. Why isn't he here yet? Seeing Wang Mao Kai's attitude, Zhao Haiyan smiled awkwardly. The boss is probably stuck in traffic. I'll call and urge him right now. Before she could dial the boss number, Qian Shou had already rushed into the store. He grabbed Zhao Haiyan's shoulders and shook her hard. Where is the young master? Where is the young master of the Liu family? Looking at Qian Shao's frantic state, Zhao Haiyan said, trembling, Boss, what? Young master of the Liu family? We didn't see him. Wang Mao Kai snorted coldly. Qian Shou, you've trained your staff so well. First, they insulted our young master. Then they extort 1 million from our young master. I am giving you half a day. If you don't handle this matter well, I'll see to it that you're finished. Qian Shou nodded and bowed, saying, Rest assured, CEO Wang, I will definitely apologize properly to the young master. Hearing 1 million, Zhao Haiyan's pupils dilated, and her whole body froze. Seeing Zhao Haiyan's reaction, Qian Shou knew she had remembered. Speak, what exactly happened? He roared. Boss, we didn't know. He didn't tell us he was the young master of the Liu family. Zhao Haiyan said with a sob. Qian Shou's eyes immediately turned bloodshot. A resounding slap landed on Zhao Haiyan's face. Does the young master of the Liu family have to announce himself when he enters a store? Are you an idiot? Zhao Haiyan held her face and shook her head frantically. It was Huang Ling who kept insulting the young master of the Liu family. Not only did she force the young master to buy 500,000 worth of clothes, she also extorted 500,000 from young master Liu. Qian Shou glared at Huang Ling before he could even walk over. Huang Ling immediately knelt on the ground. She started slapping her own face, slapping it repeatedly. Boss, I really didn't know he was the young master of the Liu family. If I had known, even if you gave me 800 times the nerve, I wouldn't have dared to say a single bad word about him. Qian Shou kicked her in the chest, sending her tumbling to the ground. I am not listening to your explanations. Now, you'd better go find young Master Liu for me. Whether you have to slap yourselves or kneel and kowtow, you must obtain young Master Liu's forgiveness. If I end up in jail, don't you think you'll get to live peacefully either? Get out, all of you. Hearing Qian Shou's words, Zhao Haiyan and Huang Ling hurriedly ran out of the store, chasing in the direction I had left. Qian Shou took a deep breath, calming himself down. He casually picked up from the counter a leather belt and handed it to Wang Mao. Cai, saying with a fawning expression, CEO Wang, did young Master Liu reveal to you where he was going next? Wang Mao Ki took the belt and said slowly, seeing that you are also sincere in apologizing to our young master, I'll give you a little clue. He mentioned just now that he was with 2 beauties, and it's almost lunchtime now. Qian Shou nodded repeatedly in thanks. Thank you, CEO Wang. I'll go find the young master to apologize right away. I will definitely let him see my sincerity. I took Liu Ruyan and Lai Nian Ko to a Western restaurant, taking the menu from the waiter. It was all in English inside. Just one look gave me a headache, so I closed it. What do you girls want to eat? Liu Ruyan and Lai Nian Q flipped through the menu, occasionally looking up at me. Every dish on the menu was at least several thousand yuan. They had never eaten such expensive food before. Suddenly, they saw a picture of beef with the number 50 next to it, and said to the waiter, "We'd like 2 portions of this steak." "Anything else?" the waiter asked. The two of them hesitated for a moment, looked at the menu again, pointed at a line in English with the price of 100, and said, "And one of these." The waiter nodded, and looked towards me. "Sir, have you decided what to eat?" I grinned widely. "I'll have the same." "Yes, sir." "Sir, well, prepare it for you right away." The waiter bowed slightly. Not long after, the waiter came over pushing a food trolley. On the trolley was a piece of beef with snow-like marbling. "This is premium Wagyu beef from the land of cherry blossoms. How much would you like us to cut?" Seeing that the 3 of us didn't react, the waiter asked again. "1 finger thick for the 2 young ladies, and 2 fingers thick for this gentleman. Would that be all right?" Liu Ru Yan and Lai Nian Shou looked at me and asked, "Is that okay?" I waved my hand. "Let's do that." The waiter used a knife to cut 3 pieces of beef and place them on an electronic scale. The 3 steaks total 600 grams. At 50 yuan per gram, the total is 30,000 yuan. "Sir, and ladies, how would you like your steaks cooked?" Hearing that the steaks cost a whopping 33,000, "Sir, have you decided how well done you'd like them?" the waiter asked again. "Medium well," I reacted and said. Liu Ru Yan and Lai Nian Cho asked in low voices, "Can we have ours well done?" "Yes, of course." 2 well-done steaks, and 1 medium-well steak. The waiter nodded, and pushed the food trolley back to the kitchen. Hearing well-done steak, sounds of mockery arose from around the restaurant. "Looks like he's just some nouveau riche. Doesn't even know how to order a steak. If you want a well-done steak, why not just go buy some stir-fried beef to eat? Wasting such a fine piece of premium Wagyu beef. What a complete waste." Li Nianqua and Liu Ruyan looked at each other. "Should we get medium-well steaks instead?" "It's all a matter of personal taste. I've never had a well-done steak before. We can swap later and try each other's, and see what the difference in taste is between the different levels of doneness," I said to the 2 of them in a low voice, then looked towards the source of the sound, and suddenly said loudly, "That's right. How can you eat such delicious beef well done?" I usually, just as the sun hits the cow, grab its butt and take a bite right there. Hearing my joke, Liu Ruyan burst out laughing. Li Nianqiu said enviously, "Your boyfriend is so good to you." "He's not my boyfriend," Liu Ruyan corrected her again. All right, he's not your boyfriend. He's my boyfriend, okay?" Li Nianqiu said helplessly. She didn't understand. They clearly seemed to have a good relationship, but they vehemently denied it. "But the beef here is so expensive. Such a small piece costs more than my salary for a whole year," Li Nianqiu complained. Liu Ruyan also nodded nonstop. "It's really expensive." She looked at Li Nianqiu's expectant expression and pleaded with me in a low voice, "Can you not leave early today?" "Leave early?" I frowned in confusion. Then I suddenly realized. I remembered that the original owner had once taken Liu Ruyan to a high-end restaurant to eat. Halfway through the meal, the original owner made an excuse and left, leaving Liu Ruyan all alone, lonely in the restaurant. The owner almost called the police on her for dining and dashing. Liu Ruyan just hoped that I wouldn't play a prank on her in front of her friend. I sighed, and pushed a bank card in front of her. "This card should be enough for you to use." Liu Ruyan looked at me doubtfully and asked, "Why?" "Because you seem so insecure." Liu Ruyan, with a conflicted expression, thought for a long time, but in the end, she still pushed it back. "I am sorry, this is too much. I can't accept it." I rolled my eyes. "You just said you'd listen to everything I say. If you won't accept it, then just hold on to it for me. In case any special situation comes up, you can use it first." Li Nianqiu looked at the card being pushed back and forth, and asked curiously, "How much is in it?" "There's only a little over 200 inches it," I said. Yan, just accept it. 200 isn't even enough to cover our meal today. Just be a little nicer to him in the future. Your boyfriend probably doesn't care about this little bit of money. At worst, just consider it my finder's fee for you introducing me to a job. I won't take money. For the first time I tutor him." Li Nianqiu said generously. Liu Ruyan looked at my wicked smile, and helplessly tugged on Li Nianqiu's sleeve. "It's not 200 yuan in here, it's 2 million. Li Nianqiu swallowed and asked, "Could it be that his mother disapproves of you two being together, so she's giving you a breakup fee?" Liu Ruyan's face immediately flushed red. She explained, "He really isn't my boyfriend. He's my brother." "Then a brother? Why would he give her so much money?" Li Nianqiu asked. "He's my brother." Liu Ruyan repeated with dissatisfaction. Looking at the straightforward Li Nianqiu, I said sincerely, I've done too many horrible things to Ruyan in the past. I want to make it up to her a little. You're her best friend. You'll help me, right? Looking at my eyes, Liu Ruyan pouted and reminded her, Sister Nianqiu, don't be fooled by him. He only likes pretty girls with a nice figure like yours. I think he wants to use this opportunity to get close to you. When you're tutoring him, you must be on your guard. Lin Nianqiu thought for a long time and asked in a low voice, So how much breakup money does your brother usually give his ex-girlfriends? Hearing Lin Nianqiu's words, I suddenly remembered the plot point about her. The company founded by Liu Ruyan was able to grow rapidly, the key being its extremely insane cost control, and the person in charge of managing the company's production and operation costs was precisely someone named Li Nianqiu. The moment I thought about how the future Li Nianqiu would become Liu Ruyan's right-hand woman, without any hesitation, I decided to poach her first. I cleared my throat twice and asked, Are you very short on money right now? Li Nianqiu pouted. My mother's health hasn't been very good lately. She can't work the money at home. There probably isn't much left. I nodded and said mockingly, So you plan to deceive the feelings of a pure young man like me? To make my mother fork out 5 million, to force you to break up with me? Li Nianqiu couldn't help but start imagining it. She joked, If your mom really forks out 5 million, it'll say I am pregnant with your child. The baby needs 5 million too. Seeing the two of them joking around, alarm bells rang in Liu Ruyan's heart. She knew I could easily come up with 5 million. She gently pulled Li Nianqiu's hand, shielding her behind her back, and warned, If you dare bully Sister Nianqiu, I'll tell Mom and Dad. I raised an eyebrow. A consensual relationship can't be considered bullying, can it? Lin Nianqiu also joked, If you really give me 5 million, even if the other woman gets pregnant, I'd even be willing to take care of her during her confinement. At this moment, the waiter pushed the food trolley in front of the three of them. Sir, miss, your steaks are ready. Before I could say anything more, Zhao Hai Yan and Huang Ling suddenly ran into the restaurant and knelt down right in front of me. Young Master Liu, our boss has been looking for you like crazy. Please, come back with us just this once. The two of them exchanged a look and resolutely began slapping their own faces non-stop. The crisp sounds of slapping echoed continuously throughout the quiet restaurant. Hearing this, I just wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Why can't I seem to shake this clothing store today? Isn't this the same as using the bathroom in public? The people who were looking down on us earlier were now laughing even more mockingly. Looks like he stole his dad's money to go out and pick up girls. He was so arrogant just a moment ago. I bet his butt will be beaten black and blue when he gets home. I shrank back, so embarrassed I didn't dare to make a sound. Liu Ruyan looked at my deflated appearance and couldn't help but cover her mouth to stifle a giggle. Li Nianqiu also linked arms with Liu Ruyan, laughing so hard she was shaking. Go on and laugh. If it wasn't to vent your anger, do we have to be this shameless? I protested in a low voice. My eyes darted around. I said to Zhao Haiyan and the other woman, Apologize to them. Only speak after they've forgiven you. The two of them were stunned for a moment. They turned around and shouted loudly, Miss, it's all our fault. We really didn't recognize your identities. Otherwise, even if you gave us 100 guts, we wouldn't dare treat you like that. Liu Ruyan and Li Nianqiu hurriedly lowered their heads, raising their hands to cover their foreheads. Looking at the two embarrassed girls, I grinned widely. They've been apologizing for so long. Are you two going to forgive them, or not? The two of them shot me a fierce glare. Xiao Li, can you help me beg young Master Liu? If we don't get his forgiveness, we'll be fired. Every month, I still have to pay my mortgage and car loan. Zhao Haiyan pleaded. That's right, we were the ones who hired you. You wouldn't be so heartless, right? Huang Ling chimed in. Hearing their words, Lin Nianqiu, who was still a student, immediately softened. She looked at me hesitantly. Stop, I spoke first. They deducted all of your salary. What's the damn point of them giving you a job? Hearing my words, Li Nianqiu finally came to her senses. I clearly did everything in the store. Every day, inventory checks, cleaning, sanitation, and serving customers were all done by me. On what grounds did you deduct my salary? Recalling her work experience of over a month, she couldn't help the rims of her eyes turning red. Zhao Haiyan showed an embarrassed expression. I'll transfer it to you right now. I'll transfer it this instant. Looking at the message notification for receiving 2,000 yuan, Li Nianqiu wiped the corners of her eyes. Thank you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten my salary back. Xiao Li, see, can you help me persuade young Master Liu now? Zhao Haiyan asked. Li Nianqiu looked at me again. She couldn't make the decision for me. I snatched her phone and glanced at the payment notification. Look at your manager Zhao. What a cunning person. She returned the salary that was rightfully yours, yet she made you think you owe her a favor. I handed the phone back. You don't have any commission. Did you not sell a single piece of clothing? Lai Nian-Qiu shook her head. Not counting your clothes, I've already sold 200,000 yuan worth of clothes this month. I stretched. I am full. I am going out for a walk to digest. I turned my head to look at Zhao Haiyan and the other woman. When you two have truly repented, then we'll talk. Liu Ruyan remembered the experience of being abandoned before. She suddenly grabbed the hem of my shirt. Don't go. That's right. Young Master Liu, please stay a little longer. Our boss is on his way here now. I raised my hand and gently placed it on Liu Ruyan's head. Then let's go pay first. After speaking, I led Liu Ruyan to the counter. I asked curiously, what is this 100 yuan item? I feel like besides the steak, I didn't eat anything else. Sir, this is the violin piece you requested. Heartache, the waiter explained. Hearing the waiter's words, all three of us fell silent. After paying, I looked towards Liu Ruyan. I'll put these clothes in the car and then find you. 2. Go pick out a few more sets of clothes for her as a uniform, so that mom and dad won't criticize her when she's tutoring me. Liu Ruyan was stunned for a moment. She knew I was finding an excuse to give clothes to Lai Nian-Qiu. If I gave them directly to Lai Nian-Qiu, she definitely wouldn't accept them. She might even pay back the money for the clothes. If it's a work uniform, then she can't refuse it. She looked at me suspiciously. She felt that after I woke up, I seemed to have become a different person. She looked at Li Nian-Qiu again. High-level beauty, a great figure, an outstanding academic performance, known as the school belle of Jiangcheng High School. Recalling my unusual behavior, she immediately had a guess in her heart. She reminded her in a low voice, Sister, you absolutely must not be fooled by him. He's a complete scumbag through and through. Li Nian-Qiu nodded. Don't worry, the person who can fool me hasn't been born yet. I just got paid. I'll treat you to some milk tea. She pulled Liu Ruyan's hand and walked towards the milk tea shop by the road. On the other side, I was carrying large and small bags and walked with the clothes to the outdoor parking lot. At this time, 2 young women were frantically taking selfies in front of the Lamborghini. Both girls were students at Jiangcheng University. Their names were Xiang Lan and Fang Qin. They were considered minor internet celebrities. They had no shortage of suitors at school. Anyway, since there was nothing important to do, I decided to wait for the 2 girls to finish taking pictures. It's rare to see a luxury car. The 2 girls sat on the hood of the Lamborghini, posing in all sorts of sexy positions. They would occasionally look at the photos they took and let out bursts of excited screams. Sis, you look so beautiful. This picture makes your legs look so long. It's absolutely top tier. This shot is super beautiful too. This car is so photogenic. I wonder whose Lamborghini this is. Maybe later we can even get in the car to take a few shots. Suddenly, Xiang Lan saw me nearby. She frowned. Has he been standing there this whole time? Following Shang Lan's gaze, Fang Qin also noticed me standing nearby. That's right. It seems like he's been standing there for a long time. Look at the way he's staring. It's so disgusting. Even his clothes are baggy. He has no sense of style at all. I bet he wants to come over and ask for our contact information. Hurry up and shoo him away. I still have many poses I want to try. The 2 of them exchanged a look and came up to me. They said with annoyance, Can you not look at us with that disgusting gaze? I scratched my head awkwardly. Just now, I was just admiring the black stockings, long legs, and wavy hair. I had no idea what kind of expression I was making. I coughed lightly twice. Excuse me, are you 2 done taking pictures? The 2 girls immediately burst out laughing mockingly. Don't tell me you want to take a picture with the car too. Do you even know what kind of car this is? What if you accidentally damage it? Can you afford to pay for it? Hearing the girls' words, I raised an eyebrow and said with a cold smile, Are you sure you want me to get lost? What else? You think we'd ask you to stay? Don't tell me you think pretending to be some domineering CEO is charming? We've met plenty of guys like you who want our contact information. Such a turnoff. At the same time, a man in a suit, a middle-aged man with a beer belly, came up to the Lamborghini. He used the rearview mirror to smooth his balding Mediterranean hairstyle. He took out his phone and stood beside the car. The 2 girls' eyes immediately lit up. See, the car owner is here now. This kind of car can only be afforded by someone like him. A successful person, a loser like you, couldn't afford it in your entire life. After saying that, the 2 girls hurriedly ran. In front of the middle-aged uncle, Xiang Lan suddenly grabbed the uncle's hand, pressed it against her full chest, and said coquettishly, Uncle, are you here to have fun today? Feeling the softness from the back of his hand, the uncle looked at the 2 beautiful girls in front of him. Then he looked at the car behind them. He immediately understood what was going on. Are you two beauties out to have fun too? The uncle smoothly put his arms around the two girls' shoulders. The girls struggled symbolically a few times. Then they pressed their entire bodies against the uncle. Uncle, this car is so beautiful. Can you take us for a ride? Fang Xingxing said poutingly. The uncle confidently pulled the car door handle. After realizing he couldn't open it, he fumbled around his body for a moment and said with an embarrassed expression, I must have left the key for this car at the villa. He hugged the two girls and walked towards another BMW. That car is also mine. You two don't mind, do you? From a 20 million Lamborghini to a 300,000 BMW. Xiang Lan and Fang Qingqing couldn't hide the disappointment on their faces, but thinking that as long as they maintained a good relationship with this uncle, they might still be able to visit the villa and ride in a luxury car, they said gently, Uncle, how could you think of us like that? We're not approaching you because of your money. The uncle was delighted in his heart. Then I'll take you for a ride. The night view from the nearby 5-star hotel is also very beautiful. We can enjoy it together. The girls' faces turned red, watching the night view at a 5-star hotel. They naturally understood the uncle's implication, but they still nodded gently. Just as the uncle was hugging the two beautiful girls and walking towards the BMW, I suddenly blocked the path of the three of them. The uncle frowned. He was now afraid that the owner of this Lamborghini would come back and make the duck in his hands fly away. Where did this beggar come from? Why are you blocking my way? Get lost, he said with an unfriendly tone. You loser, give up that idea. We already told you. We won't give you our contact information. Why are you so persistent? The two girls chimed in. The argument here attracted the attention of many passers-by. They looked at me and said mockingly, Buddy, these kinds of women are not for you to covet, even if they go back to their hometown to find an honest man. It won't be you. I ignored their words. My gaze fell on the middle-aged uncle. I asked, Is this car yours? The middle-aged uncle snorted coldly. It's not mine. Could it be yours? Stay away from my car. If you leave a single scratch, you won't be able to pay for it in your entire life. I said nothing. I silently took out from my pocket the Lamborghini car key. The bull logo on the key under the sun was blinding to their eyes. Holy crap. This kid actually has the key. Could he be the real owner? How is that possible? He couldn't afford it even if he started earning money from the womb. Do you know how much this car is worth? It must be a lighter he bought online somewhere, used specifically to trick naive young girls. The gazes of the passers-by were full of contempt for me, as if looking at a scammer. I didn't expect this kid to be so well prepared with his props. There are too many scammers these days. Probably after he tricks you two into a hotel, he'll start talking about a failed project that needs investment. Let's not waste our time with this kind of person, who scams both love and money. A new Japanese restaurant just opened in Nanchang. I'll take you to try it, the uncle said. As soon as they heard Japanese food, the two girls' expressions became even more ecstatic. What's there to show off with a fake keychain? Scammer. I can't believe that today, the real car owner has exposed your lies. I said nothing. I just gently pressed a button on the key. The Lamborghini's lights immediately flashed twice. The originally noisy scene instantly fell silent. I hummed a little tune and pulled open the car door. I took the large and small bags I was carrying and threw them all into the car. The two girls stared blankly at my actions. They suddenly felt that my action of closing the Lamborghini door was so cool. It struck them right in the heart. They struggled out of the uncle's arms and glared fiercely at him, questioning him in a cold voice. Didn't you say that car was yours? Xiang Lan even took a step forward and slapped the uncle across the face. You're a disgusting rogue. The uncle, being in the wrong anyway, just snorted coldly and said, You think you're anything good? You're just two bitches who get starry-eyed at the sight of money. After the middle-aged uncle left, the crowd of onlookers pointed at the two girls. These two are gold diggers. When they found out the Lamborghini didn't belong to that man, they changed their tune faster than flipping a book. They're dressed so revealingly. You can tell they're not decent people. They even want to use their bodies to seduce others, the way they treated that young brother just now. I didn't expect the young brother to be the real hidden tycoon. Hearing the curses around them, the two girls ran crying in front of me. Big brother, we were tricked. It hurts so much. I hope you're not. No wonder just now. You kept stopping that man. It turns out it was to protect us. I sized up the two of them, thought for a moment, and spoke up. Actually, I am not the owner of this car either. Big brother, don't trick us anymore. If you're not the owner of this car, then how do you have the key? We're not gold diggers. It's mainly because, just now, big brother, the way you closed the Lamborghini door was so cool. It made my heart flutter instantly. I am the young master's driver, just a valet. The young master is shopping outside. He told me to bring the things back to the car first. Hearing that, the two girls' expressions became uncertain. They sized up my clothes and said in disbelief, Are you really not the owner of this car? I tugged at my clothes Have you ever seen a rich person wear such ill-fitting clothes? Hey, big brother, contact your young master. Tell him to come over quickly. Xiang Lan ordered. If we get together with your young master, we'll give you a big red envelope then. Fang Qin also chimed in from the side. Just then, Qian Shou arrived with Zhao Haiyan and Huang Ling. They hurriedly ran towards the outdoor parking lot. Qian Shou was about 30 years old. He usually works out at the gym. His skin was also very well maintained. He was wearing a sharp suit at the moment. He had quite the aura of a domineering CEO. This time, it must be him. He must be the owner of the Lamborghini. Look at his aura. You can tell he's a perfect match for this car. I know who he is. He's the owner of the luxury clothing store, Taylor. The owner of Taylor. Then no wonder he can afford this kind of luxury car. Xiang Lan and Fang Qin exchanged a look. They smoothed their hair and went up to Qian Shou. Big brother, can we get to know you? Your car is so beautiful. We want to see the interior and take a few pictures inside. Is that okay with you? As long as you agree, we can also agree to one of your requests. Qian Shou waved his hand. This car isn't mine. He raised his head and searched the crowd. Finally, he saw my figure. Young Master Liu. I am Qian Shou, the owner of the Taylor clothing store. It's because I didn't manage my employees well that I let them offend you. He looked towards Zhao Haiyan and Huang Ling. You two bastards. Kneel down and apologize to young Master Liu right now. Zhao Haiyan and Huang Ling immediately knelt on the ground and slapped themselves twice. Young Master Liu, it's all our fault. I leaned against the Lamborghini and asked, so, do you know where you went wrong? We shouldn't have been so blind as to look down on others. The customer is God. We are service staff. We shouldn't discriminate. What else? Huang Ling and Zhao Haiyan looked at each other with troubled expressions. What other mistakes did you make? Hurry up and confess to young Master Liu, Qian Shou said angrily. He brought them here to apologize to me, yet these two were still hiding things from him. I shouldn't have skimmed off the employee's salary and given her all the dirty, hard work. Zhao Haiyan confessed. It seems I still visit the store too infrequently. Do you think this store is yours? Since when was deducting salaries up to you, a shift manager, to decide? How many other stupid things have you done behind my back? Qian Shou took a deep breath and calmed his emotions. Young Master Liu, regarding them hiring staff on their own and skimming salaries, I had no idea at all. But since it happened in my store, I will take responsibility. I will pay the employee's salary in full, not a single cent missing, including the commission and bonuses she deserves. Here is 10 million yuan. It's a token of my sincerity. His gaze turned back to Zhao Haiyan and the other woman. He said through gritted teeth, as for them, I will deal with them later. Hearing Qian Shou's words, Zhao Haiyan and Huang Ling's hearts instantly turned to ash. I happily accepted the bank card that was handed to me. Boss Qian is generous. Qian Shou breathed a sigh of relief. I had accepted his money, which meant the matter was over. What he feared most was me not taking the money, and insisting on pursuing the matter to the end. He earned 10 million yuan just like that. He got scolded a few times and earned 10 million yuan. Why does my boss scold me every day, but I only get 3,000 a month? If someone gave me 10 million yuan, forget scolding me, they could beat me half to death, and it'd be fine with it. The crowd of onlookers said admiringly. I coughed lightly twice, and said in a cold voice, Boss Qian, your store is in our Jiangcheng Mall. Once a bad rumor appears, our Jiangcheng Mall will also be implicated. Do you understand what I mean? Qian Shou nodded repeatedly. From now on, I will be stationed at the store. I will absolutely not let a similar incident happen again. Seeing Chen Xiao's good attitude in admitting his mistake, I made a phone call to Wang Mao Ki. Uncle Wang, the matter is resolved. As for Boss Qian's side, you should find him for tea more often when you're free. I am at the outdoor parking lot of Jiangcheng Mall. Send a 4-seater car over for me, and then drive my Lamborghini back to the villa. The Lamborghini I drove today is a sports car. It only has 2 seats. Switching to a 4-seater means I can also take Lai Nian Q home. After receiving my call, Wang Mao Sai readily agreed. He knew this meant I was very satisfied with his efficiency, driving the Lamborghini back to the mansion. When he returns the car keys, he can also make an impression on the chairman. In the future, if there are any promotions or raises in the company, just based on this experience, he'll already have an advantage over other competitors. On Qian Shao's face, a look of joy also appeared. Although Wang Mao Ke asking him for tea was a form of supervision, an ordinary person wanting to meet Wang Mao Ke even once would be extremely difficult. If others knew that he only spent 10 million to connect with Wang Mao Kai, they would surely die of envy. If Wang Mao Ke casually let a small project slip his way, it would be enough to earn back this entire 10 million. I casually tossed my Lamborghini keys to Qian Shou. you help me hand the car keys over to Uncle Wang here. After a brief pause, I continued. The employee who was driven out by those two sold 700,000 worth of clothes. Don't forget to pay him his commission. Qian Xiao nodded repeatedly. Young master, rest assured, the commission and the severance pay. I won't short him a single penny. For him to be able to sell so many clothes, it proves he's a capable person. If he still needs a job, I can hire him directly as a shift manager. I shook my head and said with a smile, Boss Qian, don't compete with me for talent. Stretching, I prepared to go to the pedestrian street to find Liu Ruyan and Linian Qiu. Young master, can we have your contact information? Xiang Lan asked in a small voice. I waved my hand. Go find Boss Qian. Taking pictures in the car, it's 100 yuan per session. Xiang Lan and Fang Qingqing showed delighted expressions. They immediately turned to find Chain Shou. They had already lost all face in front of me. They didn't dare to bother me further. Arriving at the pedestrian street, I easily found Liu Ruyan and the other girl. The two of them were already strikingly beautiful. Right now, quite a few people were gathered around, asking them for their contact information. Liu Ruyan hid behind Linian Qiu, her expression extremely flustered. Linian Qiu had a cold expression, shaking her head like a rattle drum, constantly rejecting the people around them. I even saw one particularly persistent guy. He had clearly been rejected, but he was still trying to persuade them. Endlessly. Hey, buddy, they didn't give you their contact info, so don't bother them anymore. I patted the guy's shoulder and said, Buddy, I don't think you get it. I really like these two girls. They must be testing me. As long as I can show them my sincerity, they'll definitely agree. I pushed through the crowd and glanced at the two girls. Let me show you my pickup skills. I can make both of them follow me with just one sentence, believe it or not. You? They just rejected so many people. Don't embarrass yourself. If you can do it, I'll let you kick my head like a soccer ball. I smiled and walked up to the two of them. I held out my hand to them. Let's go. Li Nian Qi's eyes curved, filled with a radiant smile. She took my arm. In Liu Ruyan's eyes, there was fear mixed with anticipation. Like a drowning person grabbing a large log, she used both hands to grab my wrist, letting me lead her away. I raised an eyebrow at the guy from before. Buddy, we're leaving. After breaking free from the crowd, Liu Ruyan looked at the direction I was heading and asked, Brother, are we going home? She didn't even realize that she no longer resisted calling me brother. I nodded. After we take Sister Nan Q home, well, go to the hospital for your checkup. I'll also go find third sister for a bit. My third sister, Liu Xiaoxuan, is a doctor at the Jiangchang Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Although she's young, her acupuncture skills are already superb. In the original story, today, the Jiangcheng Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine will have a VIP arriving for emergency treatment. During the acupuncture process, Liu Xiaoxuan failed to notice the patient's internal organ damage, causing the patient to nearly die. At that critical moment, the male lead, Long Aotian, stepped in to help. Although the patient's life was saved, he was left with a permanent disability. Because of this, the Liu family had to pay a huge price, just to quell the anger of that VIP. To thank Long Aotian for his help, they also gave him a lot of money. And my third sister, Liu Xiaoxuan, in order to learn Long Aotian's medical skills, eventually became one of Long Aotian's harem members. In the outdoor parking lot, I took the Bentley keys from Wang Maokai's hand. Uncle Wang, sorry to trouble you today. Wang Maokai flashed a fawning smile. Young master, your business is my business. How could it be any trouble at all? I pulled Liu Ruyan's hand and introduced her. This is my younger sister, Liu Ruyan. Yan Yan, this is the person in charge of the Jiangcheng shopping center. You can just call him Uncle Wang like I do. If you need help with anything in the future, you can also find Uncle Wang. Uncle Wang. Liu Ruyan hid halfway behind me and called out timidly. Does this mean I can't look for you anymore in the future? She asked in a low voice. I was stunned for a moment, then patted her head. This girl is just too adorable. I really don't know what the original owner's brain was made of. You can look for whomever you want. Liu Ruyan's face turned slightly red as she lowered her head, but the corners of her mouth curled up unconsciously. If this jerk could also be like this every day, that would be great, she thought to herself. Wang Maokei glanced at me, then looked back at Liu Ruyan. He took a business card from his pocket and said with a smile, Miss Ruyan, if you need any help in the future, please don't hesitate to ask. I took the business card and placed it in Liu Ruyan's hand. Waving to Wang Maokai, Uncle Wang, we'll be leaving now. Driving the car, the group quickly reached the city outskirts, an old residential area at the junction. Li Nianqiu's rented house was here. Liu how about you just drop me off here? Li Nianqiu said, my house is just nearby. It's just a few minutes walk. I glanced at Lai Nian Chu Au. She was probably afraid I would see her dilapidated old house. Although she was usually carefree, her family's circumstances made her a little insecure. Maybe we should just drop her off first. Liu Ruyan clenched her hands into fists. She still remembered when she was first found. I had also come and seen her house in the countryside. The moment I stepped out of the car, I looked at the yard full of chicken and duck droppings, and the house built of mud, and showed unconcealed disgust. She was afraid that I would inadvertently show a look of disgust that would hurt her friend. Is it very close? I asked. Lin and Qiu nodded. It's a 2-minute walk to my house. After parking the car, I headed to the convenience store next door. When I came out, I was carrying 2 boxes of milk and some fruit. Yan, help me see if for a first meeting with the parents. Bringing these things is enough. Liu Ruyan looked at Linian Qiu as if asking for help. How did she not know? I also had such a roguish side. Linian Chu burst out laughing. It's not like you're asking for my hand in marriage. Why are you preparing all this? Isn't it because I think she's too pretty, and I am afraid she'll be wooed away by someone else in college? Then I'd just have to be single forever, I joked. Lai Nian Qi's face immediately flushed red. She bit her lip. Then let me say this first. You're not allowed to criticize my house. I nodded repeatedly and blurted out, don't worry. A dog doesn't scorn its poor master. As soon as the words left my mouth, I regretted it. Hearing this, Li Nian Chu and Liu Ruyan doubled over with laughter. The 3 of them walked into a small alley. After 2 right turns, they finally arrived at Li Nian Chia's house. It was a 2-story wooden house. The height of each floor was less than 2.5 meters. With just a little effort, one could climb straight up to the 2nd floor. Li Nian Chu and Liu Ruyan both looked at me nervously, trying to read the emotions in my eyes. Looking at the house before me, a nostalgic look appeared in my eyes. I remembered when I was very young. On summer nights, my grandmother would hold me and sit in the yard in front of the door, fanning me with a palm leaf fan. I wiped away the tear about to fall from the corner of my eye, and noticed that Liu Ruyan and Lai Nian Chu, the 2 of them, were still looking at me. What are you 2 looking at me for? Is there a flower growing on my face? Seeing that there was no look of disgust on my face, Li Nian Q's mood suddenly lightened for some reason. Liu Ruyan also tugged on the hem of my shirt and said thank you to me. I patted Liu Ruyan's head again and softly said sorry. The belated apology still brought tears to Liu Ruyan's eyes. She sniffled and said with a choke, brother, can you not go back to how you were before? Can you be like this forever? Even if mom and dad don't like me, and our sisters don't like me, it doesn't matter. Brother, as long as you can be good to me, that's enough. I helped her wipe her tears and comforted her. You are mom and dad's biological daughter, and our sister's biological sister. How could they not like you? They just don't know how to show it. Be good, don't overthink it. Let's go visit Auntie first. Liu Ruyan rubbed her eyes and composed herself. Let's go in together. As they walked in, she kept glancing at me and finally mustered the courage to hold onto my arm. Entering Lai Nian Chiu's house, the room's layout was very simple. The first floor of the house was the kitchen, with only a table and a stove. The stove was a rural-style earthen stove that required burning firewood to start a fire for cooking. The 2nd floor was the bedroom for Lai Nian Qiu and her mother. Seeing me and Liu Ruyan enter, Li Nian Qiu's mother, Liu Sheng, greeted us warmly. You must be Nian Qiu's classmates, right? There isn't anything to eat in the house. Let Auntie fry an egg for you. I sized up the middle-aged woman before me. She must have already been diagnosed with cancer by now. Every day, she had to endure the torment of her illness. I placed the milk and fruit I brought on the floor. Hello, Auntie. My name is Liu Hao. Liu Ruyan peeked out from behind me. Auntie, I am Liu Ruyan. It's enough that you came. You're all classmates. Why bring things? Liu Xian chided. Remember to take them with you when you leave. I shook my head and said with a smile, Auntie, it's because I have a favor to ask of you that I specifically brought some gifts. I hope you won't mind. Liu Xiang looked doubtfully at Lai Nian Qiu, then back at me, saying warily, tell me what you want to do. See if I can help. Hearing my words, Lai Nian Qiu couldn't help but tense up. Isn't it just about tutoring him? Why make it seem so formal? I pulled Liu Ruyan out from behind me. Auntie, my sister is in the 11th grade now, but her academic performance isn't very good. Sister Linian Qiu's academic performance is always in the top 3 of her grade. I want to ask her to tutor my sister. Liu Ruyan stared at me blankly, surprised that I could say something so absurd. Ever since starting high school, she had always maintained the top rank in the entire grade, while I turned in a blank paper for every exam, consistently ranking last. Li Niankai tilted her head in confusion. Didn't you say you wanted me to tutor you? Then she had a sudden realization. Tutoring sessions in the evening would run quite late. If it was tutoring a boy, she was afraid her mother would. Hearing that it was for tutoring, Liu Xiang's brow relaxed, but she still refused. My Nianqiu is now in her critical 12th grade year. In half a year, she'll have her college entrance exams. I am afraid she won't have time to tutor her. In the original story, Liu Xiang, not wanting to disrupt Li Nianqiu's studies, never told Li Niantiov about her illness. When I made the request, I knew Liu Xiang would refuse, but I still tried to persuade her. Auntie, this place is quite far from the school, and the environment isn't great either. I have a house opposite Jiangcheng High School that's usually empty. I was thinking of having her move in there directly. She can use the time saved from commuting to tutor my sister. Liu Yuyan knew I wanted to create a better learning environment for Sister Nianqiu, so she chimed in. Auntie, it definitely won't take up Sister Nianqiu's time. Besides, tutoring me can also help Sister Nianqiu reinforce her knowledge from 10th and 11th grade. Liu Xiang wavered for a moment, but her gaze turned towards me. She was worried I was a bad person, trying to trick her daughter into living with me. I noticed Liu Xiang's expression, and knew she was hesitating, so I said, Auntie, actually, the favor I wanted to ask of you is to invite you to move in with Sister Nianqiu. When my sister is being tutored, I hope you two can also look after her a bit. Li Nianqiu looked at me in astonishment. I hadn't mentioned this on the way here. Liu Hao, I can't keep taking advantage of you like this. How is it taking advantage? The rent will naturally be deducted from your tutoring fees, I said righteously. I heard that Auntie has been resting at home recently. We also have a hospital that's short a clerical worker to handle express deliveries. Auntie can also work there. If she ever feels unwell, being in the hospital will be convenient. Liu Xiang gave me a deep look. Her worries were completely dispelled. With her there next to her daughter, I couldn't do anything out of line. Since you've put it this way, it would be a bit ungracious for me to refuse again. I smiled and said, then you and she can start packing first. Tomorrow, I'll arrange for people to come help you two move. I still have things to do over here, so I won't bother you any longer. Seeing me head for the door, Li Nianqiu finally came back to her senses. She walked me out. The three of them walked through the small alley. Li Nianqiu occasionally glanced at me, reproachfully. Why didn't you tell me about wanting us to move near Jiangcheng High School? I rolled my eyes. If I had told you, would you have let me meet your mother? Nothing was said along the way. They quickly reached the end of the alley. The silhouette of the Bentley came into view. Li Nianqiu mustered all her courage, and suddenly took a step forward. Throwing her arms around me, she buried her head in my chest, and whispered, thank you. I wrapped my arms tightly around Li Nianqiu. Sister, my heart hurts so much right now. What's wrong? Did I use too much force? Li Nianqiu immediately tried to pull away from my embrace. I was just thinking about how I bought you so many beautiful clothes, only for Liu Ruyan to benefit. And my heart started to ache. Li Nianqiu's face turned red. She stood on her tiptoes, and whispered in my ear, then, when we have some free time, I'll wear them just for you. On the drive to the hospital, I recalled the hug from earlier, the soft feeling pressing against my chest. It was harder to suppress the corners of my mouth than an AKS recoil. Next, I just need to maintain my relationship with Li Nianqiu, and then cure her mother's illness. Once she graduates, I'll recruit her directly into the Liu group. I glanced at Liu Ruyan. This little girl definitely doesn't know that I've already cut off her right arm. Noticing my gaze, Liu Ruyan shot a glare back. For some reason, seeing my dazed expression now made her a little angry. Half an hour later, the two of them finally arrived at the entrance of Jiangcheng Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine. The Jiangcheng Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine consists of a main area and the Hoa Tuo Hall. The main area is for. Hearing that it was for tutoring, Liu Xiang's brow relaxed, but she still refused. My Nianqiu is now in her critical 12th grade year. In half a year, she'll have her college entrance exams. I am afraid she won't have time to tutor her. In the original story, Liu Xiang, not wanting to disrupt Li Nianqiu's studies, never told Li Nianqiu about her illness. When I made the request, I knew Liu Xiang would refuse, but I still tried to persuade her. Auntie, this place is quite far from the school, and the environment isn't great either. I have a house opposite Jiangcheng High School that's usually empty. I was thinking of having her move in there directly. She can use the time saved from commuting to tutor my sister. Liu Ruyan knew I wanted to create a better learning environment for Sister Nianqiu, so she chimed in. Auntie, it absolutely won't take up Sister Nianqiu's time. Besides, tutoring me can also help Sister Nianqiu reinforce her knowledge from 10th and 11th grade. Liu Xiang wavered for a moment, but her gaze turned towards me. She was worried I was a bad person, trying to trick her daughter into living with me. I noticed Liu Xiang's expression, and knew she was hesitating, so I said, Auntie, actually, the favor I wanted to ask of you is to invite you to move in with Sister Nian Chueu. When my sister is being tutored, I also hope everyone will take care of her. Li Nian Kaiyu looked at me in surprise. I never mentioned this on the way here. Lo Hao, I can't just keep taking advantage of you. How are you taking advantage of me? The rent will naturally be deducted from your tutoring fees, I said righteously. I heard Auntie is also resting at home recently. I have a hospital over there. Looking for an office worker to handle express deliveries. Auntie can also work there. In case she doesn't feel well, being in the hospital is also convenient. Liu Xiang looked at me with a profound gaze. Her worries were completely dispelled. With me by her daughter's side, I wouldn't be able to do anything too outrageous. Since you've put it this way, it would be a bit ungrateful for me to refuse. You said with a smile. Then Auntie, and you should pack up first. Tomorrow, I'll arrange for someone to come and help you move. I still have things to do, so I won't disturb you any longer. Seeing me go out, Lin Yan Q finally came back to her senses. I'll walk you out. The three of us walked through the small alley. Lin Yan Q occasionally glanced at me. She said resentfully, Why didn't you tell me that you wanted us to move to Jiangcheng High School? I rolled my eyes. If I had told you, would you have let me see Auntie? Nothing was said for the rest of the way. We quickly reached the end of the alley. The silhouette of the Bentley came into view. Lin Yan Chio mustered up her courage. She suddenly took a step forward and hugged me tightly. She buried her head in my chest and whispered, Thank you. I wrapped my arms tightly around Lin Yan Chiu. Senior, my heart hurts so much right now. What's wrong? Did I use too much force? Lin Yan Chio immediately wanted to pull away from my embrace. I just thought about how I bought so many beautiful clothes for you, only for Liu Ruyan to benefit from them. My heart hurts again. Li Nian Q's face turned red. She stood on her tiptoes and whispered in my ear, Then, when we have time, I'll wear them just for you. On the way to the hospital, I recalled the previous hug. The soft feeling from my chest. The corner of my mouth was harder to suppress than an AK. Next, I just need to maintain my relationship with Li Nian Q, then cure her mother's illness. After she graduates, I'll directly pull her into the Liu group. I glanced at Liu Ruyan. This little girl definitely doesn't know that I've already cut off her right-hand man. Noticing my gaze, Liu Ruyan glared back. For some reason, seeing my dumbfounded expression now made her a little angry. Half an hour later, the two of them finally arrived at the gate of the Jiangcheng City Traditional Chinese Medicine Hospital. The Jiangcheng Traditional Chinese Medicine Hospital consists of a main area and the Huatuo Hall. The main area serves the general public. Everyone can come here for treatment. Although Huatuo Hall is also open to the public, the registration fee alone is at least 100,000. Ordinary people simply can't afford it. After getting out of the car, I directly pulled Liu Ruyan's hand and led her to Huatuo Hall. I wanted to remind Liu Xiaoxuan a little. When performing acupuncture on the patient, be sure to check if the patient's internal organs are damaged. Liu Xiaoxuan's skills were undeniable. It's just that this patient's condition was complicated. There was a foreign object in his body, which led to a deviation in her acupuncture. Just as Liu Ruyan and I were walking towards Huatuo Hall, two medical staff members next to us ran past, carrying a stretcher. On the stretcher was an elderly man wearing a gray sun Yatsen suit. Make way, make way. The patient is in critical condition. It's an emergency. Please make way. Looking at the unconscious man on the stretcher, I knew this was the big shot from Haicheng. The man's name was Xie Zhan. He is one of the founding heroes of the Daxia nation. He had made glorious achievements for the establishment of the Daxia nation. Although he had retired from the front lines, his influence in the military was still immense. I took Liu Ruyan's hand and sped up towards Huatuo Hall. The medical staff carried the stretcher into Huatuo Hall. A sturdy middle-aged man shouted loudly into the hall, Hurry up and call your best doctor out here. The middle-aged man's name was Xie Hu. He was Xie Zhan's son. He also currently held a position in the military. In the corridors on both sides, old Chinese medicine doctors yawned and came out of the consultation rooms. Among the old Chinese medicine doctors, a young woman wearing rimless glasses and a white coat stood out. This person is my third sister, Liu Xiaoxuan. Who was your best doctor? My father is unconscious now. Hurry up and treat my father. The old Chinese medicine doctors looked at each other. They only needed to look at Xie Zhan's and Xie Hu's attire to guess that their backgrounds were not small. Xiaoxuan, take a look at this patient first and see if you can treat him, an old Chinese medicine doctor said. Liu Xiaoxuan nodded. Carry him to the bed over here. Such a young girl, can she even understand? The old man's illness has relapsed many times. We've seen many doctors and none of them had a solution, Si Hu said with a frown. Liu Xiaozuan hated it the most when people used gender and age to judge. She glared at Xi Hu and said coldly, I am taking the patient's pulse now. Please be quiet. After taking the pulse, she said to Xiu with a cold face, with a few needles for this illness, the old man can wake up. But to completely cure him, he will need a few more visits. The other old Chinese medicine doctors also came forward and took the patient's pulse. They nodded at Liu Xiaoxuan. The results they inferred were the same as Liu Xiaoxuan's. I am sorry, little girl, I underestimated you just now. Please perform acupuncture on the old man. Xiu apologized. Just as Liu Xiaoxuan was sterilizing the silver needles, a middle-aged woman ran over. Elder brother, where's our father? How is he now? The woman's name was Xiu Xing. She was Xi Zhan's daughter. She was also a top jewelry merchant in Jiangcheng. Dad is unconscious. The situation is very dangerous. The doctor is about to perform acupuncture on him now. Xiu pointed at the person sterilizing the silver needles, Liu Xiaoxuan, and said, seeing such a young doctor, Xiu Xing couldn't help but frown. Is such a young girl trustworthy? She immediately stepped aside, making way for a young man behind her. Elder brother, I just came from Jiangcheng City, no. One People's Hospital. I met this young man. I saw him use only 3 needles to cure a patient that the hospital had been treating for years, with no progress. Hearing that Dad's illness had relapsed, I hurriedly invited him over. Since Dad hasn't had acupuncture yet, why don't we let this young man handle it? The young man had sharp eyebrows and bright eyes. He cupped his hands towards Xihu and said, hello sir, my name is Long Aotian. MS. Yu Xing was too kind just now. The patient's body, under the doctor's care, had already recovered by more than half. I merely activated the medicinal properties accumulated in the patient's body. Even without me, the patient would have recovered sooner or later. Xiu nodded, very satisfied with Long Aotian's modest demeanor. His gaze shifted hesitantly towards Liu Xiaoxuan. But before he could speak, a group of old Chinese medicine doctors stood up and criticized in unison. What do you mean by this? Bringing a little brat here to cause trouble? We've all said we can cure him. If you change doctors now, are you doubting our traditional Chinese medicine hospital? Brat, who's your master? And how many years have you studied medicine? I see you haven't even grown all your hair yet. What the hell do you know about Chinese medicine? Liu Xiaoxuan's face also turned cold. If you don't believe me, then, so be it. You can borrow this consultation room, but I won't be treating him. Seeing Liu Xiaoxuan's cold face, Long Otian's eyes immediately lit up. Liu Xiaoxuan looked like a young woman full of vitality. Noticing Long Aotian's gaze, Liu Xiaoxuan glared at him in disgust. She pulled her white coat tighter around herself. Make a decision quickly. The patient's condition cannot be delayed, she said coldly. Xiu looked at Liu Xiaoxuan, then at Long Aotian. For a moment, he didn't know which to choose. Just let them treat him first. After all, he's already been brought to their medical hall. If they can't cure him, I can take the patient's pulse again, Long Aotian said humbly. Hearing Long Aotian's words, Liu Xiaoxuan snorted coldly. You won't have that chance. She looked at Xiu and said, undress the patient. The clothes were taken off. Xi Zhan's body, riddled with knife, scars, and gunshot wounds, was revealed to everyone. These wounds were all proof of what he had been through. They were also his merits. Although she was a little dissatisfied with Xi Ho, Liu Xiaoxuan immediately felt a deep sense of admiration for Xi Zhan. Just as she was concentrating on preparing for acupuncture, I burst into the consultation room, panting. Interrupted once again, Liu Xiaoxuan immediately glared towards the door. Seeing me standing at the door, she frowned unhappily and said, what are you doing here? In the original story, Liu Xiaoxuan disliked the useless original owner, who also caused trouble all day long, especially with their parents' preference for sons over daughters. Even though they knew I wasn't their biological son, they still favored me without reason. She grew to dislike this younger brother even more. Can't you see I am treating a patient? You just burst in like that. If you make me hit the wrong acupuncture point, do you know how dangerous that would be? The patients who come to our Watuo Hall for treatment are either rich or noble. It's not like every time you cause trouble, our Liu group has to pay the price for you. Don't forget your status, Liu Xiaoxuan scolded. I pouted and silently complained in my heart. The amount of money the original owner squandered over a dozen years is not even equal to the compensation for this one needle of yours. I showed an apologetic expression on my face and said apologetically, I am sorry, third sister. I didn't mean to disturb you. I just saw that the old man has many wounds on his body, and suspect his internal organs might be damaged. There might still be shrapnel or something left in his body. How about we take the old man for an X-ray first? The surrounding old Chinese medicine doctors naturally recognized my identity, but hearing that I wanted to use Western medical examination equipment, they all frowned. Young master, our Chinese medicine focuses on observation, listening, questioning, and pulse taking. That's enough to grasp the patient's condition. Relying on those machines will instead interfere with our judgment. That's right. Young master, this is a treasure left to us by our ancestors. You haven't even studied medical theory, so don't interfere with our diagnosis anymore. I glanced at this group of people. Actually, if they just spent a little more time taking the pulse, they would naturally discover the clues. But the old man's condition was urgent, and there was a long OTN watching from the side. They naturally wanted to cure the patient as quickly as possible. All right, just shut up and stay on the side. Don't make any noise. The patient's condition cannot be delayed. If any problems occur because of you, tell mom and dad to kick you out. Liu Xiao Xun said coldly. I gave Liu Xiaozwen 2 thumbs up. Then I turned around and walked out of the consultation room. Even a clay figure has 3 parts anger, let alone me, who isn't made of clay. Anyway, since Liu Xiaoxuan and these stubborn people couldn't be reasoned with one by one, they had to taste some suffering first. This is called respecting the fate of others. Walking out the main door of the clinic, I angrily gritted my teeth. If she hadn't almost killed Xie Zhan with acupuncture this time, and ended up compensating 100 billion to settle the matter, I wish I could leave the hospital and go straight home right now. The 100 billion compensation was transferred from Liu Jianguo's card. Liu Jianguo's secondary card is now in my hands. Rounding up, it's equivalent to me spending 100 billion to pay the price for Liu Xiao. Xuan. Liu Ruyan noticed that my mood didn't seem very good. She fearfully and gently pinched the corner of my shirt. She was worried that my actions today were just a momentary whim, and that's why I was treating her so well. Now that I was in a bad mood, everything would go back to the way it was. I looked at Liu Ruyan's timid appearance, and reached out to rub her head again and again. Brother, if you're unhappy, you can take it out on me. You taking care of Sister Nian Chu. I am already very happy. She raised her head, and gave a reserved smile. I scratched my head sheepishly. I patted your head just now, because I thought you were too cute. I couldn't help it. If you don't like it, then I won't do it anymore. I like it. Liu Ruyan lowered her head. A faint blush appeared on her cheeks. I gently pinched her cheek. After third sister is done with the patient, go find her and borrow a comb to fix your hair. Liu Ruyan excitedly clenched her hands into small fists. She felt the emptiness in her heart was being filled bit by bit. After that, I led Liu Ruyan to start peeking through the crack of the door, watching Liu Xiaoxuan's acupuncture process in the clinic. Xie Zhan's body was covered in all sorts of wounds. The skin on some of the wounds had hardened. It required a lot of strength to insert the needle. Xiao Xuan's acupuncture technique is getting better and better now. Her speed is much faster too. The new generation surpasses the old. I am afraid in another 2 years, once the girl has a bit more experience, she'll be able to surpass me. Miss Liu is indeed the most talented person I've ever met. The onlooking Chinese medicine doctors praised her in low voices. Seeing Liu Xiaoxuan's professional acupuncture technique, Xieou and Xiu Xing both breathed a sigh of relief. Long Aotian's gaze was burning hot. He openly looked Liu Xiaoxuan up and down, especially when Liu Xiaoxuan bent over slightly. I could even see his feet slightly tiptoeing. I curiously tapped Liu Ruyan's head with my chin, and asked, "What do you think of that man?" Liu Ruyan held her head, and pouted in dissatisfaction. She looked in the direction I pointed. She shook her head. He's peeking at third sister. Moreover, he keeps staring at third sister's chest and butt. Should we remind third sister? In the original story, Liu Ruyan, with her heaven-defying beauty, had attracted Long Aotian's attention. Long Aotian both coveted Liu Ruyan's beauty and despised Liu Ruyan's past. He only maintained a physical relationship with Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan had never been loved. She misunderstood that Long Aotian's occasional concern was the love she yearned for. In the end, the lie was exposed, and Liu Ruyan frantically took revenge on Long Aotian. From then on, she became the biggest villain in the entire story. Third sister is performing a treatment. We can't disturb her, I said. Liu Ruyan nodded, immediately showing a worried expression. I noticed her expression, and said helplessly, "Don't make any noise." I pulled Liu Ruyan's wrist and walked into the clinic, blocking the view between Long Aotian and Liu Xiaoxuan. Long Aotian frowned, a flash of anger on his face, but seeing that Liu Ruyan's beauty seemed to be a notch higher, his gaze began to appraise Liu Ruyan's back. Is this guy a demon among lechers? Noticing Long Aotian's gaze, I couldn't help but think to myself. I pulled Liu Ruyan in front of me. One hand pulled Liu Ruyan's wrist, the other placed on her shoulder. Liu Ruyan was stunned for a moment. She secretly took a step back and leaned her head against my chest. I was focused on the silver needle in Liu Xiaoshuan's hand and didn't notice Liu Ruyan's small movement. At this time, the acupuncture had entered its final stage. Xi Zhan's hands and feet had already twitched twice. Only his eyes opened a small slit. Liu Xiaoshuan wiped the sweat from her forehead and took out the last silver needle. The last acupuncture point was in the center of the chest. As long as she inserted it, the patient would also fully awaken. She aimed at the acupuncture point and slowly inserted the silver needle. Suddenly, she felt that the sensation of the silver needle entering the acupuncture point was a bit off. It seemed to be blocked by something hard inside. She doubtfully checked the acupuncture point again and found that she hadn't hit the wrong spot. Before she could think further, Xi Zhan's eyes suddenly flew open. He spat out a large mouthful of fresh blood. The silver needle on his chest also was slowly pushed out. The wound from the silver needle gushed with blood. What happened? How could this be? Didn't you say you could cure him? Xi Hu said in astonishment. I don't know. The acupuncture point I hit shouldn't be wrong. Liu Xiaoshuan's face also instantly turned pale. She wanted to take the patient's pulse again, but Xiu Xing slapped the back of her hand. You're so young. Do you even know what acupuncture is? Are you using my father to practice your skills? Is this how your Liu family treats patients? Xi Hu reached out to help Xi Zhan cover the wound on his chest. He scanned the group of old Chinese medicine doctors before him and roared, If my father dies today, I want your entire Liu family to be buried with him. Who among you will come and treat him? The old Chinese medicine doctors looked at each other, speechless. No one dared to take a step forward. If Xi Zhan died now, this medical accident would be Liu Xiaoshuan's responsibility alone. But once they took over, then they would also have to bear half the responsibility. They had also taken Xi Zhan's pulse just now. Liu Xiaoshuan's method of treatment, they also thought there was no problem with it. It could only be said that perhaps the patient's constitution was special, and Liu Xiaoshuan just happened to be the unlucky one. Can you let me take the old man's pulse again? Tears welled up in Liu Xiaoshuan's urgent eyes. The Liu group was the life's work of 3 generations of the Liu family. If she killed someone and ruined everything because of herself, she would have no face to continue living. Get lost. It's all because of you, you bitch, that my father ended up like this. You damn rich families. You just love using these professional experiences to gild your daughters, to make it easier to cling to richer people. Gilding is one thing. Why must you insist on killing my father? What on earth are you trying to do? Xiu Jing roared. I didn't. I am begging you. Please give me one more chance. Liu Xiaoshuan pleaded. Xiu Jing snorted coldly. Give you another chance? So you can kill my father? You truly are a vicious woman. Get out of my sight. According to the original plot, next, Long Aoshin will step forward to save the day and save Xi Zhan's life, but he held back a little, not completely curing Xi Zhan. Instead, he caused Xi Zhan to suffer from paralysis in both legs. After that, he used the excuse of treating Xi Zhan to frequently visit the Xi family's home and get close to the Xi family, Liu Xiaoshuan, because she was rescued by Long Aoshin, developed feelings for him. She constantly approached him under the guise of discussing medical techniques, although she almost killed someone this time, which gave her severe psychological trauma. She never dared to treat a patient again. This time, it was a medical incident. Please give me a chance to fix it. Liu Xiaoshuan gritted her teeth, preparing to kneel down on the ground. At that moment, Long Aoshin took a step forward. Actually, her acupuncture just now was fine. It might be that the patient's constitution is special. Let me check his pulse first. Liu Xiaoshuan looked at Long Aoshin gratefully. Unexpectedly, after the incident happened, the old traditional Chinese medicine doctors of Hua Tuo Institute avoided her like the plague. Only Long Aoshin was willing to speak up for her. Long Aoshin took Xi Zhan's pulse and said with a frown, because of the recent incident, the old man, although he might wake up, I am afraid he will be left with paralyzed legs. Hearing that he could still be saved, Xi Yujing and Xiu looked towards Long Aoshin and hurriedly begged, please save my father quickly. As long as you can save the old man, being paralyzed is fine. Long Aoshin nodded. His gaze swept over the old traditional Chinese medicine doctors of Jiang City's TCM hospital. He sneered contemptuously. Should I give you lot of old men another chance to diagnose him? The old doctors looked at each other, their heads bowed low to their chests. Right now, Even if they were 80% sure they could cure Xie Zhan, they wouldn't dare to step up and check his pulse, afraid of ruining their reputations in their old age, and having to bear responsibility for this medical incident. I've never studied under a famous master. I've only been fumbling around on my own for a few years. You have studied medicine for many years, inheriting from prestigious schools, and this is all your medical skill amounts to. You've really wasted your long lives like dogs, Long Aoshin said disdainfully. Liu Xiaoxuan bit her lip gently. She glanced at Long Aoshin with admiration. At this moment, she was also a little dissatisfied with this group of cowardly old doctors hiding in their shells. Noticing Liu Xiaoxuan's gaze, Long Aoshin glanced over, and even raised an eyebrow at her, smirking wickedly. Suddenly, a sudden scoff rang out in the quiet examination room. Treating someone until they're crippled, and you still have the face to mock others. With a face that thick, it's a waste not to use it as a garbage bag. It can really hold anything. I yawned, and walked in front of Xie Zhan. What on earth do you want to do? Get back here. Don't delay the patient's treatment. It's one thing for you to mess around on normal days. Mom and Dad spoil you. The Liu family is our ancestors' 3-generation legacy. If it goes bankrupt because of you, I won't forgive you even in death. Liu Xiaoxuan scolded angrily. That's right, young master. We can't treat this patient anymore. We should hand him over to someone else now. This is a matter of life and death. We can't delay the patient's treatment. A group of old doctors also chimed in to persuade me. They knew I usually just fooled around, but now was not the time to mess around. Hand him over to Long Aoshin for treatment. As long as the old man is saved, the Liu family can just pay some compensation then, and this matter will be considered over. If the old man dies here, then even the Liu family might not be able to withstand the wrath of these people. Long Aoshin looked at my youthful appearance with even more contempt. If you're not convinced, then let me treat him. But let me remind you, the old man's pulse is already very weak. He can't handle me delaying any longer. You knew the old man was about to die, and yet you were still blabbering on just now. Were you waiting for the old man to die, so you could falsely accuse us, saying we delayed your treatment? Turns out you're just a fame-seeking fraud too, I said, rolling my eyes. As I spoke, I reached out and took the old man's wrist. Just as Long Aoshin said, the old man, due to excessive blood loss, his pulse was already extremely weak. If not treated in time, he could die at any moment. You're the fraud. You saw with your own eyes that he saved someone. Could that be fake? What does this snot-nosed kid like you know? Get out of my way. Make way for the miracle Dr. Long. Xiu Jing commanded. Liu Xiaoxuan took a step forward, ready to pull me away. You're a useless loafer. You've never studied medicine. How could you possibly know how to treat a patient? After all, you're not Mom and Dad's biological child. On what grounds did you enter our Liu family's hospital? Now get out of my sight. I paused my movements, and looked deeply at Liu Xiaoxuan. Suddenly, I smirked. Third sister, the money I've squandered over the years is nothing compared to what you've lost this time. After speaking, my gaze shifted to Xie Zhan's chest. I clenched my fist, and gently punched Xie Zhan in the heart area. Seeing my action, everyone present was stunned, their jaws dropping. Kid, are you looking to die? Xie sprang up from the bed with a whoosh. He grabbed my neck, intending to slam me against the wall. I pressed an acupoint on Xie's hand, escaping from his grip on my neck. However, under the strong force from Xie, I still fell to the ground. Xiu rubbed his slightly numb hand, and continued to rush towards me. Liu Ruyan spread her arms to shield me. Don't you hit my brother. Although her body trembled slightly with fear, her voice was incredibly firm. Get out of the way. I don't hit women. My dad is dying, and this bastard dared to hit him just now. Xiu said angrily. Seeing Liu Ruyan shielding me, Liu Xiaoxuan also took a step forward. Ruyan, the trouble this bastard caused himself should be his to bear alone. Have you forgotten all the terrible things he has done to you? Liu Ruyan shook her head. I don't care. He's changed now. Silly girl. He only wants our family's money. That's why he's deliberately trying to please you. We sisters all know what he's like. Only Mom and Dad still defend him. Otherwise, we would have kicked him out long ago. Do you know what his actions just now are called? It's called intentional homicide. The patient is so weak, that punch of his could have killed the patient on the spot. Long Aoshin added fuel to the fire at the right moment. I was just thinking how a beautiful girl like you could have such a vicious-hearted younger brother. Turns out he's an adopted bastard from the outside. It seems he probably knows that he can't get any more money. So, he wants to destroy your Liu family. Liu Xiaoxuan looked at me and said with a sigh, I originally thought you were just a little mischievous and hard to handle. I never expected that even murder is something you are capable of. When I get back, tell Mom and Dad to kick you out of the Liu family. Liu Ruyan shook her head. and said stubbornly, "Don't call me sister. You've never cared about me. If brother leaves, then I'll go with him." Liu Xiaoxuan sneered, "An adopted bastard, and a country bumpkin. It's good that the two of you are leaving the Liu family." I rubbed Liu Ruyan's head like she was a little lion cub. The little girl. I lowered her outstretched hands. This little girl really didn't disappoint my affection for her. In that situation just now, the people around wouldn't give me the chance to slowly treat Xi Zhan. I could only use a risky move and directly use strong medicine so they could see the treatment's effect. Only then would they shut up. My gaze turned cold. I glared at Liu Xiaoxuan. "Stop your nagging here. That little mouth of yours is like it's been soaked in poison, trying to use hysteria to cover up your own mistakes. You can stop dreaming. Even if I killed this old man with one punch, don't forget that you were the one who put the needle in him first. If the Liu group goes bankrupt, it'll be your fault." I glanced at the murderous-looking Xiu again. "Are you sure you don't need my help to treat the old man?" Xiu snorted coldly. "What the hell do you know about treatment? If the old man dies, I'll make you be buried with him today." I shrugged and said nonchalantly, "Well, it seems you don't need me to intervene then." My gaze shifted to the old doctor beside me. "Find me a comb." The old doctors looked at each other. Their eyes involuntarily glanced at the grim-faced Liu Xiaoxuan. During the argument just now, Liu Xiaoxuan had revealed that I wasn't a biological child of the Liu family. They couldn't risk offending Liu Xiaoxuan to get a comb for me. I sighed softly. A tiger in the plains is bullied by dogs. A phoenix without feathers is no better than a chicken. I pulled Liu Ruyan's wrist and gestured with my chin towards them. Liu Ruyan understood and nodded. She said to the old doctor, "Find a comb for me." The old doctors looked at each other. Both were young ladies of the Liu family. Neither was easy to offend. Just as the atmosphere became tense, Xiu Yujing suddenly shouted, "Big brother, look, our father has stopped bleeding." Just now, everyone's eyes were focused on me. Only now did they notice with surprise. Not only had Xi Zhan stopped bleeding profusely, but his complexion had also become a little rosier. Wasn't the young master treating the patient just now? Has anyone heard that the young master studied medicine? Isn't it said that the young master is a useless person who causes trouble all day? So how can he cure an illness that even the third young lady couldn't cure? Could this be the patient's final rally before death? A group of old doctors guessed one after another. Liu Xiaoxuan looked at Xi Zhan in astonishment, wanting to check his pulse again. But before she could step forward, Yujing's glare stopped her. "Little miracle, doctor, help me see if the old man's condition has improved," Xi Yujing asked, looking at Long Aoshin. Long Aoshin took the pulse for a moment, and found that Xi Zhan's pulse was indeed a little stronger than before. He looked at me in surprise. After a long hesitation, he still nodded slightly. I smiled at Liu Xiaoxuan and said, "Can you get me a comb now?" Liu Xiaoxuan's face was grim. "If you have a way to cure that patient, then hurry up and cure this patient now. Don't you forget, everything you have was given to you by the Liu family. If the Liu family goes bankrupt, don't even think about living peacefully." I shrugged. "Didn't Dr. Liu say it? You should bear the consequences of your own mistakes." The young master clearly just wanted to help the third young lady. He just got scolded to his face. Who would feel good about that now? Didn't the third young lady also say the young master wasn't part of the Liu family, and even wanted to kick him out of the Liu family? The young master is so pitiful. His kindness was taken for ill intent. A group of old doctors whispered softly. Liu Xiaoxuan's expression flickered between bright and dark. She glared fiercely at these old doctors, causing them to shut up immediately. Hearing that the old man's condition had improved, Xiu walked up to me, scratching his head awkwardly. "Sorry, little brother. I was too agitated just now. If you wanted to treat the old man, you could have just told me beforehand. We wouldn't have had such a big misunderstanding, right?" I couldn't help but laugh coldly. "Are you crazy? You want to treat him? Have you forgotten how you treated me just now?" I pointed to the camera in the corner of the wall. "If you've forgotten, this thing can help you remember. Let me declare again, you didn't misunderstand me just now. Was just checking to see if the old man was sturdy enough. After all, the quack doctor you brought can also treat the old man. At worst, he'll just be bedridden. It's not like you can't afford to hire a nurse." Hearing my words, Long Aoshin glared fiercely at me. He was also perfectly capable of curing Xi Zhan. It's just that he wanted to get close to the Xia family in High City, so he didn't want to cure him all at once. Hearing my sarcastic words, Xiu and Xi Yujing's faces once again showed surprised delight. "Little brother, do you mean you can completely cure the old man, right?" I snorted coldly and didn't answer. I gently took Liu Ruin's hand and said with some apology, "I accidentally messed up your hair again just now. If there's no comb here, then let's go home first." seeing that the two of them really intended to leave. Xie hurriedly stepped forward to stop them. Little brother, it was all my fault just now. I'd beg you to save my father, as long as my father is cured, within my capabilities. I can agree to any of your conditions. Xie Jing, also from her bag, took out a jade comb, and placed it in Liu Ruyan's hand. Such a beautiful little sister. Consider this comb a meeting gift from your auntie. Liu Ruyan's gaze shifted to me. It's not that she didn't understand, but if I didn't agree, she wouldn't accept the gift from the woman before her. You decide, I said gently. Liu Ruyan thought for a moment. Although they didn't treat us well just now, they really love their father. Brother, can we help them? I took the jade comb from Xie Jing and placed it in Liu Ruyan's hand. Later, after I finish the acupuncture, I'll help you comb your hair again. Why is your hair so messy? It's not like usual. Liu Ruyan huffed lightly and complained softly. Isn't it because you messed it up? I looked back at Liu Xiaoxuan and said coldly, prepare a set of acupuncture needles for me. Get him a set of acupuncture needles. Liu Xiaoxuan gritted her teeth and ordered the old doctor beside her. In her impression, I was a good-for-nothing loafer who only knew how to cause trouble all day. But today she discovered that not only did I know medicine, but it seemed my skill level might even be higher than hers. This was something she found completely hard to accept for a moment. A set of acupuncture needles was quickly sterilized and handed to me. I briefly inspected it and began preparing to perform acupuncture on Xie Zhan. When I picked up the needle, I hesitated for a moment and suddenly stopped my hand's motion. What's wrong? Is there a problem, little brother? Do you have any other requests? Just say it, as long as I can do it. I will definitely do my best to help you, Xie said worriedly. I shook my head. I looked at Liu Xiaoxuan and said, so you can accept your defeat. Come over and take the patient's pulse. Liu Xiaoxuan had long wanted to take Xi Zhan's pulse to see where exactly she had gone wrong with the needle. It's just that Xie and Xie Jing suspected that she had worsened the old man's condition, so they were always wary of her. Her gaze hesitated as she looked towards Xie and Xie Jing. Although the two of them looked displeased, neither of them stopped her. Little brother, already told you to go take his pulse. What are you still standing there for? Xie said with a cold snort. Look at your brother's good intentions. You insulted him like that just now, and yet he still thought of passing on medical skills to you. With a brother like that, you don't even know how to cherish him. You even want to kick him out of the house. If your Liu family doesn't want him, our Xie family can adopt him. Xie Jing snapped. I shook my head. Thank you for your kindness, Aunt Yu Jing. My parents treat me very well, as long as they don't kick me out. I won't leave the Liu family either. Liu Xiaoxuan took Xie Zhan's pulse again. Aside from the pulse being a little weaker than before, there was no significant difference. During the pulse taking, she suddenly recalled what I had said when I poked my head in. At that time, I saw many scars on the patient, and reminded her to pay attention to the patient's internal organs, and whether there was any shrapnel left in his body. Liu Xiaoxuan's eyes suddenly lit up. She reached out and felt the old man's body. At the location of the last needle insertion, she felt a hard object, very small, inside the old man's body. That hard object was extremely small, only slightly larger than the tip of a needle. She immediately had an epiphany. No wonder when performing acupuncture just now, the feeling in her hand when inserting the last needle into the old man was off. Recalling her scolding of me just now, her cheeks flushed red with embarrassment. Sorry about just now, she said in a low voice. After knowing the reason, she was now completely confident she could cure this old man. I paid no attention to her apology. I just held the needle over the old man's body and pointed to a few acupoints. I looked at Long Aotian and asked, should I insert the needles in these spots? Little quack doctor, do you have any better ideas? Long Aotian frowned, not knowing what I meant. Xie Jing thought that I was discussing a better treatment plan with Long Aotian. She looked at Long Aotian anxiously. Little miracle doctor, is that right? Do you have a better treatment plan? Long Aotian shook his head. If it were me, I would insert them the same way. Xie Jing felt relieved. If they both agreed, it proved that this acupuncture method was definitely the best solution at the moment. Next, before I inserted each needle, I would first ask for Long Aotian's opinion. This gave everyone the impression that I had some ability, but not a lot. Until the last needle was inserted, the old man's eyes slowly opened. Xie immediately knelt before Xie Zhan. His eyes were red with excitement. Dad, how are you feeling? Are you feeling better? Xie Xing also squatted by the edge of the bed, with a worried expression. Dad, what on earth is wrong with you? Just now, I heard from Big Brother that you were in a coma. I was scared to death. Although Xie Zhan was weak, his eyes were dignified without needing to be angry. He yelled at Xie What kind of a grown man cries like this? When you get back, do a 30-kilometer weighted march for me. But when speaking to Xeu Xing, his voice softened considerably. It's just my old ailments. A moment ago, I saw your mother. She asked me how you kids are doing now. I told her that my son is still as useless as ever, and my daughter is becoming more and more like her. His gaze was gentle, as if he were seeing someone else's shadow through Xeu Xing. Suddenly, he felt something was wrong. He frowned slightly and looked down at his legs. Dad, what's wrong? The two of them noticed the old man's abnormality. It's just that my legs have no strength. It feels like they're paralyzed. I'll probably get my strength back after eating some meat at home, Xie Zhan said. Xie Ho looked towards me and asked doubtfully, didn't you say you could completely cure the old man? My gaze turned towards that quack doctor, Long Otian. I could even cure his earlier coma. This is just removing some bruised blood from his legs and clearing the meridians a bit. Can't you treat it? Long Aotian gritted his teeth, his hands clenched into fists. Now he finally understood why. Just a moment ago, I kept asking him how to perform the acupuncture. The previous acupuncture treatment was also his plan. If he said he could treat it now, wouldn't that prove he had the complete treatment plan for the old man? Then his earlier statement that the old man would end up disabled, wouldn't that expose his intention to use this favor to latch onto the Xia family? He took a deep breath and gently shook his head, saying shamefully, I am a nameless practitioner without a sect. I've only been fumbling on my own for a few years. There are some symptoms I haven't studied yet. Liu Xiao Xuan looked at Long Aotian, her eyes showing unconcealed disgust. To people like Xi Hu and Xeu Xing, they might feel that every profession has its own specialty. But to someone like her who studied traditional Chinese medicine, the old man's current condition could only be considered basic knowledge. As a young lady from a wealthy family, she immediately understood the scheme behind it. As long as the old man wasn't cured, Long Aotian could continuously demand benefits from the Xia family, and the Xia family would have no choice but to let Long Aotian bleed them dry. She really wanted to expose this villain on the spot, but she knew her words held no weight right now. Just as Liu Xiaoshuan had predicted, Xie Hu and Xeu Xing didn't feel anything was amiss. They looked towards me and said, young brother, we'll have to trouble you to put in more effort again. I shrugged and said to Xie Xing and Xi Hu, it's no trouble. The rest are just a few minor ailments, all basic knowledge in traditional Chinese medicine. Everyone here can treat the old man. Auntie Yu Xing, in the future, you can't just trust any of these miracle doctors you find on the street. Getting scammed out of money is one thing, but delaying treatment can be deadly. Xeu Xing glanced at Long Aotian, now feeling a little suspicious. She began to wonder if Long Aotian had just happened to encounter a patient straight out of a textbook, which was why he was able to cure him, or if Long Aotian was actually holding back his skills, wanting to use this opportunity to latch onto the XY family. Seeing that Xie Xing had begun to suspect Long Aotian, I added more fuel to the fire. I took Liu Xiaoxuan's arm and pushed her forward. The mistake she just made, let her atone for it. Liu Xiaozhuan looked at me in surprise, not expecting me to be willing to give her a chance to prove herself. Xie Xing and Xie frowned, clearly not particularly trusting of Liu Xiaoshuan. I looked towards Xie Zhan and asked, old sir, the fact that there's still shrapnel in your chest, do your children know? Xie Hu was stunned. He asked doubtfully, Dad, you still have shrapnel in your chest? Xie Zhan snorted coldly. What's the use of telling you? So many famous doctors have looked at it and said it can't be removed. Even if you knew, could you take it out? Xie Hu shrank back. Dad, I am just concerned about you. I don't need your concern. My health is still perfectly fine. Just train well, and serve the country soon enough. Don't bring shame to our Xie family. Xie Zhan yelled. I looked at Xie Zhan and yelled back in dissatisfaction. Even your own son doesn't know about your health condition. As a result, you fell into a coma, and no one informed us. Do you know how many medical incidents are caused each year because patients conceal their medical records? If you die, so be it. You're old anyway. But do you know what a huge psychological scar it leaves on a doctor when a patient dies? Because of you, you almost destroyed the hope of our great Sia's future medicine. Hearing my explanation, Xeu Xing, and Xie Hu finally understood. It wasn't that Liu Xiaoxuan's medical skills were poor, but that their father's body had a special problem. Liu Xiaoshuan lowered her head and bit her lip lightly. She hadn't expected me to not only explain for her, but also to show concern in my words about whether this incident would leave her with a psychological scar. A deep sense of guilt welled up in her heart. I wasn't thinking that deeply. I just wanted to clarify Liu Xiaoshuan's responsibility in the old man's medical incident. After all, any compensation would be my hard-earned money. I paused for a moment, then continued to complain tearfully, "You were the ones who concealed the medical records, leading to a medical incident, and your son even threatened to make our entire Liu family be buried with him. Our Liu family has provided Jiang Cheng with millions of jobs. If our Liu family collapses, are you going to make these millions of people go out and starve?" Xie Zhan's face turned red from the scolding. He turned his head to look at Xie Hu and scolded him angrily, "You've got some nerve, you little rascal. If I don't hit you for 3 days, you'll start tearing the roof down, and you even dare to threaten others." He looked left and right, as if looking for something. Xie Hu awkwardly shrank back, pleading, "There are outsiders here." I chimed in at the right time. "Sir," he mentioned using his belt, "spare the rod, spoil the child. If a son is disobedient, a few beatings will set him straight." As if enlightened, Xie Zhan held out his hand towards Xie Hu. Xie Hu gave me a resentful look. He didn't expect this kid to hold such a grudge. He silently unbuckled the belt from his waist and handed it to Xie Zhan. His belt was made of genuine leather, very flexible. It whistled as it cut through the air. "Sir, let me put some disinfectant on the belt for you. It wouldn't be good if we hurt our son while hitting him. But you're from a military family, so you absolutely cannot spoil your children and let them develop the habit of bullying others with their power. We're in a hospital. These are the best doctors in Jiangcheng. You just need to leave him with one breath, and we can save him," I said with glee. Xie Zhan nodded. The belt whistled through the air, lashing across Xie Hu's back again and again. Xie Hu gritted his teeth, not making a single sound. At this moment, his gratitude towards me had vanished into thin air, leaving only a heart full of resentment. This kid has such a black heart. "Dad, you haven't fully recovered yet. Don't tire yourself out. Big brother just made a mistake because he was worried," Xie Xing advised. I also felt the lesson was almost enough, so I chimed in. "Sir, you should calm down first. It's not convenient for you to exert force while sitting. Wait until your legs are cured. It'll be more convenient for you. Look at my big brother. He didn't make a sound just now. He's clearly not convinced. He still hasn't admitted his mistake. This child will be ruined if he's not beaten anymore." Hearing my words, Si Hu's jaw dropped in astonishment. He had undergone professional anti-torture training. Even if he were captured as a prisoner of war, he would absolutely not reveal any information. This iron-willed fortitude of his was being slandered by me as a sign of defiance. Xie Zhan tossed the belt aside, clutching his heart and panting. He looked at me and asked, "You said that little girl can cure my legs?" I nodded. "Let me introduce you. That is my third sister, Liu Xiaoshuan. The little medical skill I have was also learned from observing her." "All right then, that little girl, please come over and take a look for me," Xie Zhan said. Liu Xiaoshuan stepped forward and carefully took the old man's pulse again. Her initial confidence had been worn down by the recent incident. Before inserting each needle, she would glance at me as if for confirmation. I looked back twice, then decisively brought a stool over and started combing Liu Ruyan's hair myself. Liu Ruyan seemed to be in a very good mood. Sitting on the stool, her slender legs swayed gently in the air. Her head would also sometimes sway along uncontrollably. Seeing that I was ignoring her, Liu Xiaoshuan let out a soft sigh. She knew I was still angry now. It was just that for the sake of the bigger picture. I didn't shame her in front of outsiders, but just a moment ago, she had taken my face and dignity and trampled them on the ground. I must find a way to make it up to Xiao Hao later. In a few days, I'll make a trip home and ask Mom and Dad when exactly Xiao Hao learned medicine. I'll also find out what Xiao Hao actually likes. With each silver needle that was inserted, Xie Zhan felt a tingling sensation in his legs, and they quickly regained feeling. Seeing Liu Xiaoshuan remove the last silver needle and nod at him, he held onto the bed frame and slowly stood up. Seeing his father cured, Xie Hu was moved to the verge of tears. He quickly stepped forward to support him. Xie Zhan tremblingly picked up the belt that had just been set aside. He angrily scolded, "You little brat. The older you get, the thicker your skin becomes. How dare you remain defiant when I am teaching you a lesson?" After another round of tough love education, Xie Hu had learned his lesson now. Every time Xie Zhan swung the belt, he would let out a soft groan, as if he wanted to endure it, but really couldn't. Xie Zhan struck him twice, then felt a little heartbroken, so he threw the belt aside. "Sooner or later, this little brat is going to anger me to death," he snorted coldly. Xie Hu put on a fawning smile. "Dad, you have to live a long and healthy life. Don't say such unlucky things." Xie Xing from her purse that she carried with her took out 2 checks. She looked at Long Ao Tian and thanked him. Young miracle doctor, thank you for the trouble of coming with me from the First People's Hospital to the traditional Chinese medicine hospital. This is a small token of our appreciation. I hope you can accept it. Looking at the check for only 100,000 yuan, Long Ao Tian's eyebrows twitched slightly, then immediately returned to normal. Sister Yu Xing, I didn't actually treat the old man. How could I accept your payment? Xiuyu. Xing had been observing Long Ao Tian's expression. Long Ao Tian's small action naturally did not escape her eyes. A trace of displeasure immediately arose in her heart, but she still smiled and said, I can't let you accompany me on a trip for nothing. Long Ao Tian wanted to say a few more words to get closer to the Xia family, but Xiu Xing didn't give him this chance. She turned and walked up to me. I heard them say, your name is Liu Hao. If you don't mind, I'll call you Xiao Hao. My big brother was indeed a bit hot-headed just now. I apologize to you on his behalf. Thank you for saving my father. This is 10 million. Please accept it. Xiu Xing said sincerely. After speaking, she also observed my expression and demeanor. A smile immediately appeared on my face, as if the earlier displeasure had never happened. Oh, this is too much. Although my mouth said that, my body was very honest. I reached out and grabbed the 10 million. After taking the check, I even waved it in front of Liu Ruyan, and said with a proud look, I earned 10 million. Do you think I am cool? Liu Ru Yan looked at me with an admiring expression, a sweet smile also appearing on her face. I seemed to remember something, and walked up to Xiu Xing. I handed the 10 million check back. Auntie Yu Xing, could you help me exchange this for 5 million checks? Xiu Xing was stunned for a moment, but she still took out her checkbook, and wrote me 5 million checks. I took the checks, and stuffed one into Liu Ruyan's hand. I patted Liu Ruyan's head. Now you're a little rich lady too. Looking at my behavior, Xiu Xing couldn't help but laugh. It's better for children to act like children. She glanced at Long Ao Tian. He was clearly the same age as Liu Hao, yet he called her sister, compared to Liu Hao naturally calling her auntie. Long Ao Tian seemed too worldly and mature. At this moment, Long Ao Tian was grinding his teeth in hatred. Originally, that 10 million, and the relationship with the Xia family were all his. He didn't expect a Cheng Yaojin to pop out of nowhere. I had snatched it all away. I didn't pay any attention to these things. Looking at the check in my hand, I looked at Xia Zhan again, and said hesitantly, Sir, how about I take the shrapnel out of your chest for you? Otherwise, I won't feel at ease taking this money. When Xiu and Xiu Xing heard this, their faces were filled with shock. Can you really help my father remove the shrapnel from his chest? The two of them said in unison. They knew that with their father's status, if it was said it couldn't be removed, it meant that all the great famous doctors in the country had seen it, and jointly concluded that it was impossible to remove. Si Zhan said in surprise, Kid, removing this shrapnel requires surgery. The old physicians of Huatuo Hall also chimed in to persuade me, while winking at me. Young master, this surgery is NT like acupuncture. Just a small mistake can kill someone. Saying you're self-taught in traditional Chinese medicine is one thing, but this surgery requires a lot of practical experience. Liu Xiaojuan pulled my shoulder, stood on her tiptoes, and whispered in my ear, being able to wake the old man from his coma has already made them owe the Liu family a sky-high favor. If the old man dies during the surgery, not only will this favor be lost, but you might even make enemies of them. It's not worth it. I only felt a soft area pressing against me, and a warm, numbing breeze blowing by my ear. I have to say, Liu Xiao Xuan, whether in terms of looks or figure, is a masterpiece, even a bit more beautiful than the current Liu Ruyan. I took 2 steps back, widening the distance from Liu Xiao Juan, and said to Xiu Hu, take the old man for an X-ray first. Ultimately, it's for the old man to decide anyway. There's a first time for everything. Don't worry, I won't be nervous. Xiu's face showed hesitation. He asked, if it's not removed, how much longer can my father live? I took Xia Zhan's pulse and said, about 3 years. His body probably won't be able to take it anymore. In the original story, Si Zhan dies after 3 years. Then in 3 years, I'll bring your father to have the shrapnel removed, Xiu said bluntly. I let out a soft sigh. My gaze turned towards Xia Zhan. Xia Zhan's old face flushed red. He snorted coldly and said, take me for an X-ray. It's rare to meet someone brave enough to operate on me. Other doctors see my condition and just walk away. Even if I die, I accept it. None of you are allowed to give them a hard time. Hearing Xia Zhan's words, I praised. The old sir is magnanimous. I looked towards the group of old physicians, then glanced at Liu Xiao. Zuan shook my head and said, A timid soldier fears alone. A timid general makes the whole army fear. The director should resign. Replace him with someone who dares to act. I know you all want to play it safe, but whether to treat or not, and how to treat, should be up to the patient to decide. After speaking, I went to the medicine cabinet, grabbed a few doses of Chinese medicine, and casually handed them to an old physician. Brew this medicine. Add lots of honey and cane sugar. Xie Jean frowned. This old man. I've endured hardship for half my life. I don't need honey and cane sugar. This is for my little sister to drink. I explained with a smile. I suddenly seemed to remember something, and instructed the physician who took the medicine, prescribe a few doses of qi and blood tonifying medicine for the old man. The old man isn't afraid of bitterness, so add a lot of coptis. It clears heat and detoxifies. Xie Jean gritted his teeth. Although I am not afraid of bitterness, there's no need to deliberately seek it out. With me leading the way, Xie Jean got his X-ray film half an hour later. From the film, one could see that there were still 3 pieces of shrapnel left in his body, all in his heart and lungs. Moreover, the locations were extremely dangerous. Such wounds, if they were on someone else, even just 1 piece, would be enough to be fatal. The old man had actually endured it 3 times, and was still able to survive. It was truly a miracle. Seeing the film, Liu Xiaoxuan couldn't help but frown in admiration. The doctors of Huatuo Hall also shook their heads. These 3 locations were indeed not easy to handle. The risk of the surgery is extremely high. Actually, the patient just needs to remain calm and avoid strenuous exercise, then he could probably live for another 2 years. Xiu asked impatiently, so can you take it out or not? What are the chances of a cure? No one said anything. They glanced at each other, and then shook their heads one by one. This wasn't about playing it safe, but because their medical skills were insufficient. Considering the location of the shrapnel, wanting to remove even 1 piece would be nothing short of a miracle, and such a miracle would need to happen 3 times in a row. Seeing everyone's frowning faces, Xie Zhan also gave a bitter smile and shook his head. Forget it. Just forget it. This old man accepts his fate. Xiu Xing clenched her fists, and looked unwillingly towards me. Xiao Hao, can the shrapnel be removed? I frowned, and asked the old man. Right now, when you breathe and your heart beats, it must be very painful. Right. Hearing me say this, everyone's gaze turned to me. This is a matter of life and death. Who would still care about whether it's painful or not? When Xie Zhan heard me, he couldn't help but laugh instead. At first, when everyone saw him, with shrapnel remaining in his body, their eyes were filled with sorrow and sympathy. He didn't expect that only this kid would be concerned about him. I heard you're not the Liu family's biological son, he asked. Hearing Xie Zhan's words, Liu Ruyan and Liu Xiaoxuan warily moved closer. Liu Ruyan even gently linked her arm with mine. At home, her brother was the only one willing to be kind to her now. If her brother left, she would have to return to those days of darkness, without any light. I raised an eyebrow, and said with a smile, Old man, don't you try to stir up trouble. My parents are very good to me. Even though I skip school every day to flirt with pretty girls, they still believe I am a good kid. I grabbed Liu Ruyan's wrist, raised it and shook it twice. You see, my family can't bear to be apart from me. Hearing me call her family, Liu Ruyan blushed slightly, and nodded gently. She felt a warmth spreading in her heart. Is this what it feels like to have a family? Xie Zhan pouted. If their family relationship was bad, he could still say something, but since their relationship is harmonious, he couldn't do something like break up someone else's family. I rolled my eyes, and suddenly said with a laugh, Mr. Xie, I have an idea. Since my grandfather has already passed away, how about you adopt my father as your godson? Adopt 1, get 7 free, and they're all as adorable as I am. What do you think? The Xie family's upbringing is very strict. It was hard enough for me to transmigrate once. I absolutely cannot enter the Xie family. If every day is about regular schedules, balanced nutritional structures, studying diligently, and making progress every day, then what's the point of revenge? When Xie Zhan heard me call him grandpa, he was secretly a little happy, but after hearing my next words, his face immediately darkened. This trick of finding a father for my own father is truly one of a kind. Mr. Xie, my grandfather was a soldier, and in this life, my father respects military men the most, not to mention someone like you, a legend with glorious achievements. I added, Xiao Hao, don't make things difficult for the old gentleman anymore, Mr. Xie, but Xiao Hao is not wrong. In this life, my father respects military men the most. If we have this honor, I hope we can invite you all to our home. Liu Xiaoxuan interjected. Xie Zhan thought for a moment. Then I'll wait until this old man recovers before I come to bother you. I sighed softly, feeling it was a bit of a pity. In the original novel, An important reason for the Liu Corporation's bankruptcy was the lack of a strong backer. After long AOT connected with the Xie family, he used the Xi family's connections to invest in Liu Ruyan's company. Liu Ruyan crazily devoured the Liu Corporation, but the Liu Corporation had no way to fight back effectively, and could only watch step by step as its entire business was snatched away, ultimately ending in bankruptcy. Alright, then, old man, prepare for the surgery first, then sign 3 copies of the life and death waiver. 1 for the hospital's records, 1 for backup, and 1 for you to keep. Film another video, to avoid you denying it later, and coming to cause me trouble, I said. The corner of Xie Zhan's mouth twitched. He didn't expect this kid to change his tune faster than flipping a book. Just a moment ago, he called me Mr. Xie, and the next, it turned into old man. He gnashed his teeth in anger, and glared at me fiercely. Although he really liked this grandkid, he was also truly skilled at provoking people. I, on the other hand, casually handed over the 3 surgical risk consent forms, and even took out the latest pineapple phone to record a short video. After confirming the video and handwriting were clear, I waved my hand. Alright, let's get ready for anesthesia and surgery. As Xie Zhan was leaving, Liu Xiao Xuan came close again. Xiao Hao, have you performed surgery before? I frowned, and said in a distant tone, Dr. Liu, I am merely a bastard child, unworthy of standing beside a young lady like you. After speaking, I told Liu Ruyan not to wander off, and also began pre-operative preparations. Liu Xiao Xuan bit her lip. Looking at my departing figure, waves of bitterness welled up in her heart. She took a deep breath, and silently vowed in her heart that she must obtain my forgiveness. On the other side, Xie Zhan's status was astounding. The traditional medicine hospital had assembled all of its most professional medical staff to serve him. When they saw that the chief surgeon was a young man, they couldn't help but frown. However, I quickly won everyone over with my professional skills. Liu Xiao Xuan, as the assistant nurse, watched in astonishment from within the operating room. My entire surgical process. My thinking was incredibly clear, and even my hands were extremely steady, as if I had performed tens of thousands of surgeries. Outside the operating room, Xie Hu paced back and forth anxiously, unable to stop for even a moment. Little sister, do you think our father's injury can be healed? Xie Yu Xing's eyes were red-rimmed. She said, choking up, I just sent Dad's X-rays to a doctor friend of mine abroad. He said that based on the location of these 3 shrapnel pieces, not touching them is the best option. With current medical technology, it's fundamentally impossible to remove the shrapnel, but if he lives, the patient will have to endure pain that ordinary people can hardly imagine every single day. Xie stood there in a daze. He couldn't bear to watch his father die, but he also didn't want to see his father continue to suffer. His eyes immediately turned red as well. He knew that when his father decided on surgery, he had already made his choice. Liu Ruyan sat with her back straight, on a chair in front of the operating room door. Seeing the sorrowful expressions of Xie Yu and Xie Yu, she hesitated for a moment, and took out 2 candies from her pocket. Auntie, uncle, this is for you to eat. My brother bought this for me. My brother said their grandfather's illness can definitely be cured. Liu Ruyan comforted them. Xie took the candy. The tears in her eyes had already started to fall. Elder brother, Xiao Hao can definitely cure our father. Xie sighed and said. The location of the shrapnel in Xie Zhan's body was very specific. When removing it, if even an extra millimeter of damage was caused, it could cause the patient's death. Every time I held the scalpel, I was extremely careful. Following that, came 3 clinking sounds. 3 pieces of shrapnel the size of a child's fingernail were removed and placed on the tray. The most difficult part of removing the shrapnel was over. Next was just stitching the wound. I also didn't expect that performing a surgery could be this tiring. The suturing speed was very fast. It was as if I had done it tens of thousands of times. To everyone's amazement, I quickly finished the battle. Clang. The light in the operating room finally went out. I was panting heavily and slumped to the ground. When Xie Hu and Xie Yu Xing saw the operating room door open, they rushed into the room. Xie Hu's eyes were red-rimmed. He knelt directly beside the old man and sobbed quietly. Liu Ruyan searched for my figure in the operating room. Seeing me drenched in sweat and sitting on the floor, she took out a tissue to help me wipe my sweat. Brother, are you okay? She said with some heartache. I shook my head and said with a mischievous smile, quick, help me up. I want to record this scene of a filial son and loving father. Xie Hu was slumped over Xie Zhan's operating table, at first suppressing it, then he began to sob quietly. I held my phone, capturing everything from wide shots, to close-ups, to extreme close-ups, recording all of Xiu Hu's movements and expressions. Xiu Xing was also very heartbroken at first, but seeing my actions, she glanced doubtfully at the equipment beside the operating table and saw that the patient's heart rate hadn't stopped. A look of joy appeared on her face. Xiao Hao, was my father's surgery successful? I made a shushing gesture and nodded gently. Seeing my reaction, Xiu Xing's mouth fell open in shock. The doctor friend she had found was internationally renowned. If he had basically pronounced a death sentence, then there was no chance of survival. Just then, Liu Xiaojuan brought over the tray with the shrapnel. Xiu Xing stared blankly at the tray. On it were 3 thumb-sized pieces of shrapnel, and her tears couldn't help but fall. She couldn't imagine if these pieces of shrapnel were in the body, what kind of torment he must have endured every moment. Yu Xing. The position of these 3 shrapnel pieces was far more dangerous than it appeared on the X-ray. Just the slightest slip-up, and the patient would have died on the spot. My brother performed this surgery from beginning to end. He created a miracle in medical history, Liu Xiaoxuan said admiringly. As she spoke, her eyes were filled with admiration as she glanced at me. After collecting enough video material, I finally remembered to give Xiu a heads up. I patted Xiu's shoulder. Elder brother, in just 2 more hours, our uncle will be able to see with his own eyes. You mourning for him? Should I go buy you 2 belts as backup? Xiu wiped his tears and looked up at me, bewildered, thinking to himself, how can I understand every word he says? But when put together, it doesn't quite make sense. He looked towards Xiu Xing again, only to see that although Xiu Xing's eyes were still teary, her face wore a gloating smile. Elder brother, our father is fine. According to Xiao Hao, he should wake up in 2 hours. Xiu Xing said with a smile. Hearing Xiu Xing's words, Xiu excitedly threw his arms around me. Thank you. Thank you. The old man has suffered so much in his life. It wasn't easy for him to finally see the day our nation is strong and prosperous. I grimaced in pain. I just finished surgery. These old bones of mine are about to be crushed by you. Confucius said, men and women should not touch hands when giving or receiving. Don't you know that? Xia, who let go of me, scratched his head and said, my bad. I was just too excited. The old man still needs to be hospitalized for observation for a few days. I'll come again when I have time in the next few days, I said. I looked up at the sky. It's not early anymore. You all should go eat soon too. After speaking, I changed out of my surgical scrubs, walked up to Liu Ru Yan, and asked, are you hungry? Liu Ru Yan shook her head, took out a piece of milk candy from her pocket and placed it in my hand. I tossed the milk candy into my mouth and casually flicked Liu Ru Yan's forehead, instructing her, from now on, don't eat too many snacks before meals. If you don't eat properly, you won't grow tall. Liu Ru Yan was a bit malnourished right now. Her figure was a little thin. Her delicate and frail appearance was heart-wrenching. Liu Ru Yan held her forehead, nodded, and said with a light smile that she would listen to her brother. Let's go. I'll take you to eat, and then go home, I said. I had just lectured Liu Ru Yan about needing to eat properly, but Jiangcheng at night wasn't exactly a place for proper meals. The roadside barbecue stall was bustling with people. The aroma of beef and mutton grilling over charcoal wafted out, and directly captivated me. My gaze wavered a little. After hesitating a few times, I still decided to stop the car. I cleared my throat and said, today, I'll take you out for a big meal first. Eating properly, well, start tomorrow. I paused for a moment and continued, starting with you first. After saying that, I pulled Liu Ru Yan's wrist to the roadside barbecue stall. I have to say, although the grilled beef here isn't as high quality as steak, and the environment isn't as good as in a restaurant, barbecue has to be eaten on the sidewalk, feeling the night breeze. Occasionally inhaling a few mouthfuls of car exhaust is what makes it authentic. If you add a glass of 82 ice soda, all the worries and anxieties of the day can disappear in an instant. Ding. Altered the original plot of the book. Healed Xiao's injuries. Reward. Top-tier musical talent. In my mind, as I was gnawing on a secret recipe chicken leg, such a message suddenly appeared. I glanced at the time, and guessed the old man had probably woken up. Could it be that changing other people's plot lines can also yield rewards? I casually shook my head. Anyway, having money is my biggest highlight. Everything else is just a bonus. As a top second-generation rich kid in Jiangcheng, a notorious playboy, I don't need to learn any skills to please others. It's always been others who flatter me. After finishing the barbecue, it was around 9 p.m., which was also the busiest time for this food street. A young man with long hair was carrying an old wooden guitar, walking among the barbecue stalls. A wooden sign hung from his chest that said song requests, 10 yuan per song. Liu Ru Yan took small bites of her grilled vegetables but her eyes kept looking towards that young man. I frowned. In the original story, Long Ao Tien also knew how to play many instruments, and his skill was not low. I don't know what this girl liked about the male lead. Like him? I asked. Liu Ruyan blushed slightly and gently shook her head, but she kept stealing glances at me and said softly, I just think, if you knew how to play the guitar, brother, you would definitely be very cool. I raised an eyebrow. I just happen to have received a top-tier music skill. It's just playing a guitar. What's the big deal about making my sister happy? I waved the young man over. Hey buddy, 10 yuan. Let me borrow your guitar to play a song. How about it? The young man glanced at my hands and asked, do you know how to play? If I didn't have the diamond, I wouldn't have taken on this porcelain job. Otherwise, making a fool of myself in front of such a beautiful little sister would ruin my tall and mighty image, I said with a laugh. The young man glanced at Liu Ruyan and decisively handed the guitar to me. I took out my phone and gave it to Liu Ruyan. Here, help me record a video. I took out a mask and put it on. I gently strummed a few notes on the guitar, and a melodious tune floated through the air. I looked at Liu Ruyan behind the phone and said with a smile, an original song, Jiang Cheng, dedicated to my dear sister. What brought me to tears wasn't just last night's alcohol. In this small, drizzly city, I have never forgotten you. The only thing Jiang Cheng can't take away is you. After finishing a verse, a crowd had gathered around. They took out their phones one by one to record, and quite a few people also turned on their flashlight function, swaying gently to my singing. I took the phone back from Liu Ruyan and found she hadn't stopped recording. The last scene on the screen was her blushing face, with sparkling lights reflected in her eyes. I quietly took a screenshot and saved it as my screen wallpaper. A few shy girls came up to me and asked, excuse me, can I have your contact information? I raised an eyebrow. I guess I now know why rich people like to do all these flashy things. Conquering someone with talent and crushing someone with money are two different feelings. But I shook my head and gently placed my hand on the back of Liu Ruyan's hand. My social circle is full of a lavish life with luxury cars and villas. If they saw this, I am afraid their affection would no longer be so pure. Although the girls were rejected, their mood became even more excited. Wow, not only does he sing well, but he's also so affectionate. I am in love. I am in love. He's really super handsome. Have you guys heard this song before? Never. It seems he said this was a song he wrote himself. At this moment, Liu Ruyan's face was so red, it looked like water could drip from it, her burning gaze fixed on the hand covered by mine. Although she knew I was using her to reject others, she felt an inexplicable tickle in her heart. A nearby uncle brought over finished barbecue skewers and authoritatively placed them on their table. Even the owner brought us a skewer of grilled meat and a large bottle of soda. I kept shaking my head to refuse, indicating I really couldn't eat anymore, but I truly couldn't resist the enthusiasm of the people around me. I had no choice but to grab Liu Ruyan's hand and flee in a panic. The road was bustling with traffic. The surrounding streetlights were brightly lit. Liu Ruyan's gaze was fixed intently on my back. It was as if following me was the only way to escape this noisy world. We finally ran to the car. I panted as I looked behind me to see if anyone was following. Liu Ruyan couldn't stop in time and bumped right into me. You're too hasty. I ruffled her hair. I opened the car door. By the time we got home, it was already almost 10 p.m., although the original owner often stayed out all night at nightclubs. But I had just thought about living with my parents. Coming home after 9 p.m. requires caution. Xiao Hao, or you're back. Hearing the door open, Zhao CD looked up at the door, failed to sneak in. I awkwardly shrunk back, like a child who did something wrong. I walked into the living room. Dad, Mom, you two aren't asleep yet. I greeted them. Dad, Mom. Liu Ruyan tugged at the corner of my shirt and whispered. Zhao CD saw Liu Ruyan's expression and couldn't help but frown. All day, you don't even think about studying. You only know how to go out and fool around, just like a wild child. You come home and don't even know how to greet us. You have no manners at all. She then looked at me and said in a gentle voice, Xiao Hao, were you tired from playing outside today? I'll have Auntie Wang heat up a glass of milk for you. Drinking some milk will help you sleep better tonight. Liu Jianguo looked up and said to Xiao Hao, the incident you encountered at Jiangcheng Square today. I've already heard about it from Wang Mao Kai. Jiangcheng Square serves everyone in society. We absolutely cannot tolerate employees discriminating against customers. You handled this matter very well. You are worthy of being my Liu Jianguo's son. He took off the Patek Philippe watch from his wrist. Didn't you say you liked this watch of mine last time? Seeing as you've grown up, I am giving this watch to you. Zhao Cd also nodded repeatedly, then she glanced at Liu Ruyan with disgust. Look at your brother. Even when he goes out to play, he knows how to help the family, handling oversights and grassroots management. Then look at yourself. Besides fooling around, you don't know anything else. I took the watch and put it on. I gently shook it in front of the two of them. Dad, Mom, doesn't it look good? I told you this watch suits me more than it suits you. Dad. Zhao Cd nodded repeatedly. She pouted and said to Liu Jianguo, Right. I told you a long time ago that you should give this watch to Xiao Hao, but you kept holding onto it like a treasure. I put the watch away. I guiltily took Liu Ruyan's hand. Liu Ruyan was currently looking down at the floor. It seemed like the good mood she had all day had completely vanished. Go upstairs and take a shower first. Go to bed a little early tonight. I'll take you to school tomorrow. If I am not up yet, remember to wake me up. Hearing me agree to take her to school, Liu Ruyan happily nodded. A radiant smile bloomed on her face. Back in my room, after I washed off the smell of barbecue, I immediately went back to the living room. Xiao Hao, why aren't you asleep yet? Zhao Cd asked curiously. When I was out today, I specifically found a traditional Chinese medicine doctor to learn some massage techniques. These past few days while I was in a coma, he worked so hard taking care of me. Mom and Dad always work so hard. I want to give you two a relaxing massage, I said. I glanced at the Patek Philippe on my wrist. Even for someone like me who doesn't know watch prices, I could tell at a glance that this watch was very expensive. In the original story, Liu Jianguo and Zhao Cd always favored the original owner. Even when the Liu Corporation went bankrupt, they still worried about how the original owner would live afterward. Anyway, I am not as heartless as the original owner, to be able to comfortably enjoy their sacrifices, without showing them any kindness in return, at least when my parents are at home. I want to do a good job of the things a full-time son should do. Zhao Cd and Liu Jianguo looked at each other in surprise. They asked cautiously, You didn't get into some huge trouble again today, did you? I shook my head repeatedly, and said with a serious expression, I swear to God, I didn't cause any trouble at all. The two of them sighed softly. I must have caused some trouble again, and just wasn't ready to talk about it, but they were my parents. After all, no matter the circumstances, they would always support me. Then massage me first, Zhao Cd said. I told Zhao Cd to lie face down on the sofa. I sat next to her and started the massage. After the massage, Zhao Cide's cheeks were flushed. Her whole body was limp on the sofa. Honey, Xiao Hao's skills are truly amazing. It's more relaxing than any massage I've ever had. Liu Jianguo glanced at me, seeing that I still hadn't said anything. It seems the trouble I caused today is not small. It can't be resolved unless I personally step in. He lay down on the sofa. His expression was heavy. As my massage progressed, his expression gradually softened. He even let out occasional groans. Dad, your shoulders are so stiff. Work must have been very tiring recently. I started the conversation. Liu Jianguo sighed softly and said, I am used to the company's matters. Xiao Hao, just say it. What do you want me to do? Otherwise, I'll keep worrying and won't be at ease. I shook my head and said, It's really nothing. It's just that I feel that having a father in the house to lead the family is really so wonderful. Xiao Hao has finally grown up. Liu Jianguo sniffled. He felt his eyes getting a little teary. I sighed softly and said, It's a pity Grandpa is no longer with us. You don't have a father anymore. There's no way for you to feel what I am feeling. Having a father is the best thing in the world. A child without a father is like a weed. If Grandpa is watching from heaven, seeing how sensible you are now, he would surely feel very comforted. Liu Jianguo sighed softly. After I said that, he also started to miss his own father. I nodded. To let you re-experience a father's love. To experience what I feel. So I deliberately found you a godfather. Pef, ow, ow, ow. Mom, why didn't you stop Dad just now? I cried out in grievance, right after I said I wanted to find a godfather for him. Liu Jianguo immediately grabbed my leg. I couldn't run. I couldn't escape at all. I remembered the times before when the original owner caused trouble. Liu Jianguo would do the same thing. He would grab the original owner's leg in one go, but even though I got hit, Liu Jianguo didn't hit me hard. Moreover, he would always help the original owner settle everything properly. Who told you to be so mischievous, daring to do such an outrageous thing? Wanting to find a father for your father, Zhao Cd said with a laugh. I shook my head and said seriously, this godfather of yours was carefully considered. I guarantee Dad will like him. Moreover, he can even make our Liu Corporation reach a new level. Pop, I only have one father. How could I possibly accept someone else as my godfather? Liu Jianguo yelled from outside the door. Dad, you said it. Don't you regret it. Wait until you meet him. I'll tell him that you don't like him. I said loudly. Do you think your father doesn't have that much backbone? How could I run off and accept someone else as my father? You can call him right now, Liu Jianguo said firmly. Then don't beg me to speak up for you then, I huffed and said. Liu Jianguo muttered a few words under his breath, and angrily returned to his bedroom, although I didn't cause any trouble for the family this time. Bringing home a father is also not okay. I had piqued Zhao Si's interest. She gently patted my bottom. Xiao Hao, what does your godfather do for a living? I gently pushed Xiao Si's shoulder. Mom, you should go back to your room and sleep too. In 3 days, when the old gentleman is discharged from the hospital, I'll bring him home for a visit. If I tell you now, how can I watch Dad lose face then? Zhao Cd nodded. Then you have to know your limits. If that person is too terrible, I won't be able to stop your father. I waved my hand, and saw Zhao Cd to the door. I wished her a good night. Just as I lay down on the bed, there was a light knock on my door again. Puzzled, I got up and opened the door. Liu Ruyan had changed into a pair of pink bunny pajamas. She stood nervously at the door. Her face was flushed. She suddenly reached out and hugged me. Brother, thank you. Good night. After saying that, she immediately ran back to her room. I scratched my head, but the corner of my mouth couldn't stop curling up. This little girl is so cute. I really don't know what the original owner was thinking. Lying on the big, soft bed, I took out my phone and edited the video a bit that I had filmed in the evening. Then I posted it on my social media account on the Douyin platform. Then I hugged my pillow and went to sleep. I didn't know that on Douyin that night, the video of me singing had already gone viral. Everyone was offering a huge reward, wanting the full song clip. Wow, what song is this? It's so good. It's a shame there's only a short clip. Does anyone have the full version? I remember there was a young lady who recorded the whole song. The entire internet is offering a reward to find that girl. Are there any police officers here? I lost something there. Can I please see the surveillance footage from there? As I posted the video, my account's follower count instantly shot up to 500,000. Is this the video that girl filmed? This boyfriend point of view is amazing. The guy is so handsome. And he's even wearing a mask. Heavy breathing. This song is so good. My ears are about to get pregnant. Hey handsome, I am a 36D. Can I take a walk with you on the streets of Jiangcheng? At the same time, inside the Daxia Medical Research Institute, more than 10 doctors were watching a video over and over again. It was a video extracted from the operating room's surveillance camera. The entire surgical process for Xie Zhan. A miracle. Truly a medical miracle. His technique is too exquisite. Even if you gave me another 10 years, I couldn't master it. If he can remove the shrapnel from General Xie's body, could the illnesses of the other generals also be cured? Do you think he's a god? The other old generals are relying on Chinese medicine to stay alive. Every profession has its own specialty. Without more than 10 years of practice, it's fundamentally impossible to have such a masterful technique. Where would he find the time to study traditional Chinese medicine? Those are all generals who have made glorious contributions for our Dasha. How can we let an amateur treat them? But I heard, this head surgeon is only 17 years old. He has a sister who works at the traditional Chinese medicine hospital. I happen to know his situation. How old? 17 years old. Early the next morning, I was awakened by a light knock on the door. I grabbed my phone and ruffled my messy hair. I groggily went to open the door. Today, Liu Ruyan was wearing a light pink shirt. Below it was a school-style pleated skirt. Her two long, slender legs were like chopsticks, clearly visible right before my eyes. The bangs on her forehead were clipped to one side, with a small flower hairpin, revealing her fair forehead. Brother, good morning. Her face was flushed. She said timidly. She was afraid that after a night's sleep, I would revert to my old self. I raised my hand to pat Liu Ruyan's head, but then I remembered she had to go to school today. She had clearly put a lot of effort into getting ready, so I pulled my hand back. However, Liu Ruyan bowed her head and gently took a step forward. I patted the little head that had moved closer. Let's eat breakfast together. After we eat, well, go to school together. I stepped aside to let Liu Ruyan into the closet to help me pick out clothes. After yesterday's experience, I knew I shouldn't pick my own clothes. A top-rich second-generation kid in Jiangcheng was dressed by me to look like a nouveau riche. Liu Ruyan, blushing, entered my walk-in closet. She picked out a white shirt with a tie and black pants in a school style. After changing, standing next to Liu Ruyan, it had a bit of a couple outfit vibe. Arriving at the dining room, the maid didn't expect Liu Ruyan to come for breakfast too. She hadn't prepared any breakfast for Liu Ruyan at all. I scratched my head in embarrassment. Before, it was because the original owner said he didn't want to eat with Liu Ruyan, which led to Liu Ruyan, after returning to the Liu family, always having to eat our leftovers. Sometimes the original owner would even throw away all the leftovers, leaving Liu Ruyan to go hungry in her room. Liu Ru Yan looked down and pursed her lips slightly. She stood awkwardly to the side. Auntie Wang, from now on, please make an extra portion of breakfast for Ru Yan. Also, heat up the traditional medicine I brought back yesterday. Take it with me. Later, I pulled Liu Ru Yan's wrist and sat her down at the dining table. I pulled the lavish breakfast to the middle of the table between us, signaling for Liu Ru Yan to eat with me. However, Liu Ru Yan was worried I wouldn't have enough to eat, so she didn't pick up her chopsticks. I frowned and decisively turned Liu Ru Yan's head towards me and fed her breakfast. A flicker of panic appeared on Liu Ru Yan's face. Her cheeks flushed red. I can eat by myself. I looked at Liu Ru Yan and said with a smile, "Oh, my silly, straight a little sister. You have to eat a lot, train hard, stay healthy. You're useless, good for nothing. Older brother will have to rely on you in the future." After breakfast, I switched to a brand new Ferrari and drove Liu Ru Yan to school. Yesterday, I only remembered to buy clothes for Liu Ru Yan. The school bag she was carrying now had small holes visible on both bottom corners. Liu Ru Yan shamefully hid her school bag to the side. She sat upright in the passenger seat drinking her traditional medicine. Even though I had added a lot of cane sugar and honey to my medicine, it still had a strange taste when she drank it. While waiting at a red light, I took out a few lychees from my bag and stuffed them into Liu Ru Yan's hand. I knew the traditional medicine would be hard to drink, so I brought this for you, I said with a smile. Looking at the lychees in her hand, Liu Ru Yan gently bit her lip. Is this what it feels like to be cared for by someone? She peeled a lychee herself and put it in her mouth. The sweet juice burst out. The distinctive fragrance of lychee immediately filled her mouth. This was the first time she had ever eaten a lychee. She peeled another lychee during the red light and poked my hand. I took the lychee and put it in my mouth. My eyes immediately lit up. In my previous life, the type of lychee I ate most often was the Phasixiao lychee. Its taste varied greatly. Sometimes it was so sweet it was bitter, and sometimes it was sour and astringent. But the sweet taste of this lychee carried a hint of osmanthus fragrance. The flesh was thick and crisp, juicy, and the seed was extremely small. This is the most delicious lychee that I've eaten in both of my lives. Do you know what kind of lychee this is? We can ask Mom to buy some more later and keep them in my room, I asked casually. Liu Ru Yan thought for a moment and said, I think it's called Guai Lu. I've heard Mom mention it. My hands on the steering wheel trembled. Guai Lu is known as the Rolls-Royce of lychees. I remember in my past life seeing a Guai Lu lychee being auctioned off for the exorbitant price of 500,000. I swallowed hard and said, did I just eat half a house? Liu Ru Yan also looked at the lychee in her hand in astonishment. She took out her phone to check the price. She breathed a sigh of relief and said, this one is about 1,000 yuan per kilogram. The kind Mom buys is probably of a slightly better quality, so the price might be a bit higher. I nodded and said through gritted teeth, damn capitalism, give me another one. Let me see if a lychee worth several dozen yuan can make me ascend to heaven. In total, we brought out 6 lychees. I ate 2. Liu Ru Yan ate 2. She saved the other 2 to give to a classmate. The Ferrari quickly drove to the gates of Jiangcheng High School. I greeted the security guard at the gate and drove straight onto the school grounds. The security guard looked at me in surprise. This young master used to only come to school around lunchtime. It was only 7:40 now. After I parked the car, I yawned and walked with Liu Ru Yan towards the classrooms. Liu Ru Yan's class was class 1, while my class was class 10. The 2 classrooms were on floors above and below each other. I patted Liu Ru Yan's head, said goodnight, and turned to go into my classroom. Just as I slumped onto my desk to take a nap, my deskmate knocked on my desk and said cheerfully, How Jay, was the person who just dropped you off at class your girlfriend? Such a beautiful girl. How come I've never seen her before? Dropping off your girlfriend at school. No wonder you came so early today. I looked up doubtfully at the slightly chubby deskmate in front of me. I thought about the plot points related to him. The chubby kid's name was Cheng Yuan. In the original story, he was one of the few people who, after the original owner's downfall, still chose to help the original owner. But Cheng Yuan's family wasn't well off when he helped the original owner. The original owner always thought he was being insulted and treated him coldly. Sometimes he even gets physical. I raised an eyebrow. Just kidding, fatty. That's my biological sister. Don't you dare get any ideas about her. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Cheng Yuan laughed awkwardly. Brother Hao, I thought you'd finally given up on Liang Wanwan. Mentioning Liang Wanwan's name, I suddenly remembered. The reason the original owner went to school every day was just to see Liang Wanwan. I couldn't get up in the morning, so I gave Cheng Yuan some money and told him to help bring breakfast to Liang Wan every day. In the original story, Liang Wan always looked down on the incompetent and useless original owner. Every time the original owner wanted to give her a gift, the original owner had to smile obsequiously for a long time before she would accept it. If she had just rejected him outright, it would have been fine. But Liang Wan would occasionally give the original owner a glimmer of hope, encouraging the original owner not to give up. Over the past year, the things the original owner gave to Liang Wan, big and small, added up to more than 500,000. Fatty, how much of my money do you still have? I asked. The original owner was a simp, but there's nothing wrong with me. The money I worked hard to earn by being a son. On what basis? Should I let her spend it like I am her grandson? Cheng Yuan pulled out a wad of cash from his brother. How? This is all the money that's left. I frowned. I counted the money. There was about 2,000 left. I gave you 30,000 at the beginning of the semester. How has it only been half a semester? And you've already spent over 20,000 just on breakfast? Does she eat gualu, lychees every morning? Cheng Yuan looked at me with a puzzled expression. He asked in a low voice, Brother Hao, do you really not like Liang Wan anymore? Like hell, I said angrily. I suddenly saw the breakfast in Cheng Yuan's drawer. I snatched it with one hand. My sister hasn't even eaten her fill this morning, and yet she's eating quite well. After saying that, I stood up and went upstairs. There were still 10 minutes until the morning self-study session. Most of the students were eating breakfast while studying. Next to Liu Ruyan sat a girl. She was breaking off half a steamed bun to give to her. I snatched the bun and shoved it straight into my mouth. I laughed and said, So this is what you usually eat for breakfast? The girl frowned. Her sparkling eyes glared at me. Brother, why are you here? Liu Ruyan said in surprise. She looked at the girl beside her and introduced us. Brother, this is Jiang San. Jiang San looked at Liu Ruyan doubtfully. She had no idea Liu Ruyan had an older brother. I nodded at Jiang San. Let me treat you two to a nutritious breakfast. I placed a sandwich with lettuce, bacon, an egg, pork loin, and meat floss on the desk. A rich aroma immediately spread throughout the classroom. Everyone's eyes were drawn to it. Jiang San looked at the sandwich and couldn't help but swallow. You two eat up. Don't disturb other people's studies, I instructed. Liu Ruyan nodded. She pushed half of the sandwich into Jiang San's hands. Before, she never had breakfast. It was always Jiang San who shared half of her own breakfast with her. Today, she could finally repay Jiang San. I took the 2,000 yuan from Fatty. I stuffed the cash into Liu Ruyan's hand. This is your allowance. If you don't want to use the card I gave you, then use this for now. This afternoon, I have to go help Sister Nian Kiao move, so I can't have lunch with you. I pinched Liu Ruyan's cheek. Treat your friend to something nice for lunch today. Don't be afraid to spend money. If you're too stingy, don't blame me for punishing you tonight. Liu Ruyan's face immediately turned bright red. She lowered her head and nodded gently. I know. After speaking, I turned around and went back to my classroom. Before I even reached the door, a commotion immediately reached my ears. Cheng Yuan, didn't we tell you to bring breakfast? What kind of job are you doing? Are you trying to starve us to death? We gave you one simple task and you couldn't even do it. Believe it or not. Well, just tell Liu Hao, and tell him to cut ties with you. I stood at the classroom door, and coughed loudly twice. I shouted, What the hell are you all doing? Your class is the noisiest in the entire building. Don't you have any sense of shame? Have you completely lost face? At this moment, all the students in the class looked up at me. They all had expressions of astonishment. Did the sun rise in the west? Since when can you see Liu Hao in broad daylight? Seeing that the classroom had fallen silent, I quietly returned to my seat. I woke up too early this morning. I couldn't help but yawn again. All the students then nodded in realization. So he came to school to catch up on sleep. That's why he didn't want them to be too noisy. Hey, Liu Hao, are you going to do something about this? The task I gave Cheng Yuan, telling him to bring us breakfast every day. But he didn't bring it this morning. Does he want to starve us to death? If Liang Wan doesn't eat enough, what if she can't concentrate in class this morning? A girl with a rat-like face sternly questioned. The girl's name was Zhang Shiting. She was Liang Wan's best friend. She usually relied on her relationship with Liang Wan to get a lot of benefits from me. She looked at Cheng Yuan and ordered, There are still 5 minutes. Hurry up and go buy us some breakfast from outside the school. We want the rice balls from the stall outside school. Get 2 assorted ones. Cheng Yuan glanced at me and sighed softly. He stood up, intending to walk towards the classroom door. I held his shoulder back with one hand and questioned Zhang Shiting. Why do I remember you only saying to buy breakfast for Liang Wan? You've got a lot of nerve. Why do you want a free meal? If you don't have money for food, kneel down and kowtow to me twice. Maybe I'll be merciful. and grant you a couple of bites to eat. Choked by my words, Zhang Shiting's face immediately flushed red. She tried to argue. Wan is watching her figure. She eats very little. I just don't want to be wasteful, so I help her finish the rest. I had an epiphany. So you're just someone who eats leftovers from other people. I slammed the desk and stood up. I shouted, Cheng Yuan is my brother. Who the hell are you? What nonsense were you barking just now? Do you really think I, Liu Hao, don't have a temper? Being yelled at by me like that, Zhang Shiting's already flushed face now looked as if it was about to drip water. She gritted her teeth and threatened, Liu Hao, don't even think about me helping you pass messages to Wan anymore. I snorted contemptuously. If it were the original owner, he might have cared. But I just want to get back everything that belongs to me. After all, that's 500,000. Based on my salary from my previous life, I probably couldn't have saved that much in 10 years. Who had been staying out of it? Liang Wan frowned unhappily and said, Liu Hao, Zhang Shiting is my best friend. You treat my best friend like this. How can I believe that you'll be good to me in the future? I think we shouldn't contact each other anymore. And to think I thought you were a good person. I was even considering trying to date you after graduation. I sized up Liang Wan from head to toe. Her skin was fair and translucent. Her features were delicate. In terms of appearance, she was indeed beautiful. But she wasn't as pretty as Lai Nian Qiu. Compared to Liu Yu Yan, the difference was like night and day. Moreover, Liang Wan's figure was rather modest. Compared to Lai Nian Qiu's curvy figure, she was far too lacking. Noticing my eyes were on her chest, Liang Wan was disgusted and covered her chest, taking 2 steps back. Liu Hao, I am talking to you. Are you listening? Hurry up and apologize to my best friend, then buy her a little gift as compensation. Otherwise, I won't speak to you for a week. Looking at Liang Wan in front of me, I slapped myself in the face. If I didn't have top-tier medical skills, I would have wanted to go to the hospital for a brain scan to see if a tumor had grown. That was a loud slap. Is Liu Hao apologizing so sincerely? The young master of the Liu group is slapping himself to apologize. Wan's charm is really something else. All the students stared at me in amazement. Cheng Yuan grabbed my wrist. He thought I had come to my senses. But unexpectedly, I was still a lovesick fool. Brother Hao. At worst, well be late for the first period. I'll go buy those rice balls from that stall right now. I held Cheng Yuan's shoulder with one hand. The original owner would have trampled on the friendship between you two. But I won't. Now I'm wondering if I should take Cheng Yuan to get some revenge, in case something unexpected happens in the future. I'll also have a hidden trump card. I turned back to look at Liang Wan again, remembering the money I'd spent on her over the past year. I saw her as a walking 500,000 yuan. I feigned deep affection and said, Wan, you know I've liked you for a very long time, but you've never given me an answer. I don't want to wait anymore. I am afraid you'll leave me after the college entrance exams. I want to get engaged to you first. When we grow up, well, get married. Hearing me say this, everyone looked over in astonishment. Liang Wan and I are only in the 11th grade, and yet we're already talking about marriage. Liang Wan's face immediately grew hot. She sighed. Her tone was disappointed. Liu Hao, although there isn't a big age gap between us, I've always seen you as an older brother. At our age, the most important thing is to study hard and make progress every day. How can we be in a relationship so early? You're making me very disappointed in you. I acted like I was going crazy. I kicked the desk in front of me and questioned her. Liang Wan, what do you mean by this? At the beginning of this semester, I gave Cheng Yuan 30,000. It's only been a little over a month, and you've already spent it down to just 2,000. For over a year, I've spent 400,000 or 500,000 on you for various things. I bought you so many clothes and bags, and yet you tell me you only see me as an older brother. I angrily kicked the desk in front of me again. You're not a gold digger, are you? Always maintaining an attitude that's neither intimate nor distant, just stringing me along to get money. Liang Wan's eyes turned red. She sniffled and said chokingly, This semester, for my studies, I only bought a new laptop and a tablet. I am not rich like your Liu family. I just want to rely on studying hard to give myself a better future. Am I wrong? As for the other things you mentioned, I clearly said I didn't need them. It was you who insisted on giving them to me. That's right, Liu Hao. We're all classmates. Do you have to be so harsh? It's obvious that you forced her to accept those gifts. Everyone in the class knows that, and yet you bring this up. Liang Wan did it for her studies. So what? Our Liu family doesn't lack this bit of money anyway. Look at how stingy you are. So he spent money to marry Liang Wan. Her accepting my money doesn't mean she agreed to date me. The classmates in the class, because of Liang Wan's situation, felt indignant. Liu Hao, can't you see how sad Wan is right now? I heard Pineapple recently released its latest phone model. Why don't you buy one for me in 1 won? Maybe I can even put in a good word for you. Zhang Shiting interjected. The corner of my mouth couldn't help but twitch. We've already started arguing, and this person still wants to extort me. Are you kidding me? But thinking of the 500,000 I spent on Liang Wan, I gritted my teeth. I pretended to be sulking and said, I bought you so many bags and clothes. Those bags and clothes were bought for my girlfriend. If you don't want to be my girlfriend, then give me everything back. Liang Wan was always paying attention to my attitude. Seeing me pretend to be calm, she couldn't help but sneer inwardly. She immediately changed her sorrowful expression. If you don't want to be my brother, I will return all the gifts I've received from you over the past year. Hearing Liang Wan's words, I was secretly delighted. Isn't this getting my money back? But at this moment, my eyes were red. My face was a mix of anger, disappointment, and sorrow. Liang Wan, is this what you really want? I suddenly roared. The things you've used are worthless now. Liang Wan snorted contemptuously in her heart. From my attitude and words, she knew I couldn't bear to leave her. The higher the price now, when I regret it later, the more she'll be able to get, she said with a sorrowful expression. Liu Hao, I thought you would always protect me and love me. I never expected, just like other rich young masters, you just want to possess me. Since that's the case, I will return everything you gave me. For the past year, I'll value the gifts at 80% of their price. The remaining amount, I'll write you an IU for it. I, Liang Wan, may not be rich, but I will absolutely not be with you for money. Hearing Liang Wan's words, all the students looked at me. You just have a slightly better background than us. Once we graduate, we will surpass you sooner or later. Do you think money can make us submit? Money isn't everything. Money spent on a girl during a relationship, and you actually want it back. I've never seen anyone so stingy. I was ecstatic inside, so I got all the money back. Thinking of the 500,000 I was about to get, I almost couldn't control my emotions. I tried to think of all the sad things from my past, just to keep myself from laughing out loud. I took out a blank piece of paper and a black pen, and handed them to Liang Wan. I then tossed my phone to Cheng Yuan, and told him to help me record a video. Cheng Yuan sighed softly. He knew that the bigger a scene I made now, the more pathetic I would be when trying to win Liang Wan back. But the moment he unlocked the phone, he saw a girl with flushed cheeks on the screen, her eyes sparkling like stars. His dispirited mood immediately lifted. Brother Hao's lovesick brain for Liang Wan was finally cured. Liang Wan took the paper and pen in surprise. She didn't expect me to actually make her write an IOU. Wasn't she just all talk just now? I bet you were sure Brother Hao wouldn't make you write an IOU. That's why you said those things. I thought you really wouldn't bow down for a pittance. Turns out you were just acting tough. Cheng Yuan mocked. Liang Wan glared at Cheng Yuan. I just don't know how to write an IOU. Before putting pen to paper, she glanced at me again. She only saw my face, filled with sorrow and a hint of reluctance, but I was too proud to apologize. She felt reassured in her heart. Based on her experience, if she just ignores me for 3 days, I'll come running back like a puppy. After writing the IOU, she threw it in my face and said coldly, Are you satisfied? Now, I took the IOU and glanced over it. I angrily tore it in half. Liang Wan, how long are you going to keep making trouble? This IOU only has 9 simple characters on it. Liang Wan owes Liu Hao 500,000. There's too much missing information. It doesn't even have a repayment date. It's completely meaningless. I am not making trouble. It's you who wants to use money to insult my pride. If you want an IOU, I'll write you another one. But if you want to trample on my pride, I absolutely will not allow it. Liang Wan said in an agitated voice. She sneered inwardly. The moment she wrote the IOU to cut ties with me, I couldn't take it anymore. Thinking about it now, I am afraid tomorrow I will be begging her. After speaking, she tore off another blank sheet of paper and started rewriting the IOU. I looked at Cheng Yuan and said angrily, If she wants to write it, find her a template to copy. Cheng Yuan was just wondering if I still hadn't given up on Liang Wan. Now he suddenly understood. So, Brother Hao was taking 1 step back to take 3 steps forward. I've learned something. I took out my phone, found an IOU template, a legally binding one, and gave it to Liang Wan. At this moment, Liang Wan's expression was as ugly as if she were constipated. She vaguely felt that something was wrong. She knew the previous IOU was meaningless. It wouldn't matter even if I took it, but writing according to this template, the IOU would actually be legally binding. She had clearly given me a way out. Wait 2 days for me to yield to her, buy a few gifts to coax her, and she would have also reluctantly yielded. But why did the plot seem to be going in the wrong direction? Cheng Yuan picked up the IOU I had just torn in half. He couldn't help but Sneer. Liang Wan Wan. You should at least write the words IU on it. Even if you lack knowledge, you should at least have some common sense. I think you're just taking advantage of Brother Heo's feelings for you. That's why you're so arrogant. Seeing that Liang Wan Wan still wasn't moving, I feigned deep affection. Wan Wan, I know you definitely can't bear to leave me. You know it. I never liked going to school. I only came to school because of you. Zhang Shiting came closer, and also advised in a low voice. Wan Wan, isn't it just an IO? In 2 days, he'll definitely come back begging you. This time, you absolutely cannot be soft-hearted, and forgive him easily. I saw some new bags that came out recently. They would all suit you very well. Liang Wan Wan nodded. She decisively finished writing the IOU, and even added her fingerprint. Are you satisfied now? Liu Hao, let's not talk to each other anymore. I will never forgive you, she said coldly. Having said that, I decisively sat back down in my seat. She looked at me as if I were a stranger. I looked over the IOU, and put it away carefully. I checked again to see if the video recording was clear. I sent these 2 documents to the corporation's legal department for backup. Of the 500,000 Liang Wan Wan owed, 400,000 would be covered by the gifts the original owner gave to Liang Wan Wan. All the gifts would be used as payment. The remaining 100,000 was to be paid within 10 days. The loss from the depreciation of the gifts, I didn't even think I'd be able to get back. But I didn't plan on being petty about it either. With Liang Wan Wan's spending habits, she absolutely couldn't afford these luxury items. It was all because the original owner was crazy. But since Liang Wan Wan was the one who suggested it, it was a good chance to teach her a lesson. I looked at my watch. There was about half an hour until class started. I remembered Liang Wan Wan's house was near Jiangcheng High School. There was still enough time to go get the gifts. I walked over to Liang Wan Wan's desk. I tapped lightly on Liang Wan Wan's desk. As expected of Liu Hao, that thick skin of his is truly unmatched. I thought he could last for 2 days. I can't believe he couldn't even stand it for 5 minutes. Being a sim to his level is truly incurable. The classmates jeered one after another. Liang Wan Wan snorted contemptuously. She frowned, glared at me, and said, "Classmate, we are strangers now. Don't disturb my studies." The IOU was already in my hands, so I didn't need to act anymore. I said with a cold laugh, "Perhaps you still haven't recognized your own status. You are now my creditor. Do you want to use your status as a creditor to force me to submit? You're disgusting," Liang Wan Wan said with revulsion. I shook my head. "I am just following what you wrote on the IOU, which is to take back all the gifts I ever gave you. You're not planning to renege on your debt, are you? Or were the words I just said all empty talk?" Hearing my words, Liang Wan Wan's mouth fell open in shock. She never expected that I would actually demand back the gifts I had given her. "Liu Hao, if you keep this up, I will really never forgive you," Liang Wan Wan threatened. I couldn't help but frown. Turns out this little girl still thought I was joking with her. She thought for a moment, a flustered look appearing on her face, but then she immediately gritted her teeth and threatened, "My IOU states that you'll return everything I gave you. If not, then you can take the IOU back." My threat was weak and powerless. Liang Wan Wan couldn't help but sneer inwardly. She had originally thought I was out of her control, but now it seemed I was just a little boy throwing a tantrum. He was just trying to cause trouble for her, so that she would keep paying attention to him. No way. I already said we're strangers from now on. If you want the gifts back now, then let's go get them right now, Liang Wan Wan said. I rejoiced inwardly, but I pretended to be sullen, and turned to leave the classroom. Liang Wan Wan followed me. She sat in the passenger seat of the Ferrari. "I am warning you, don't talk to me in the car. Your car doesn't have a back seat, so that's the only reason I am sitting in the passenger seat. Don't get any funny ideas," she said coldly. I pretended to be infatuated, my voice softening. "Liang Wan Wan, how long are you going to keep this up?" Hearing the deep affection in my words, Liang Wan Wan's tone grew even colder. "Do you think you can just trample on my dignity with your money?" "Classmate Liu Hao, our souls are equal." The ride was dead silent. I knew Liang Wan Wan was determined. I was no longer in the mood to act in some cliché idol drama with this girl. Liang Wan Wan's home was near Jiangcheng High School, in a newly built apartment complex nearby. The environment in the complex was very nice. The facilities were complete. It was near a key high school. The housing prices were basically 30 to 40,000 per square meter. The place I arranged for Lai Nian Thu was also in this complex. "You wait downstairs. I'll bring the things down," Liang Wan Wan said. A moment later, she came downstairs carrying 5 handbags. She threw them in front of me. "Take all your stuff and get lost." I looked at these handbags. These were the cheapest items among the gifts I had given to Liang Wan Wan. Their total value didn't exceed 200,000. I frowned, and said with a cold laugh, "Liang Wan Wan, I know you can't bear to part with me. How about this? I sincerely apologize to you and Cheng Yuan, and maybe I can forgive your behavior today." Hearing my words, Liang Wan snorted contemptuously in her heart. His words had already revealed his desire to make up with her, but right now, he was just not apologizing because of his pride. After she ignores him for 2 days, hell naturally come running back to her. Liang Wan gritted her teeth fiercely. "In your dreams, the rest of the bags are all old from use. Even if I took them back, I'd just throw them away." I shrugged and said casually, "Throwing them away is your business. If you really can't bear it, how about you apologize to me properly? I'll ask the principal to reserve the broadcasting room for you. You just wait." Liang Wan angrily turned back upstairs. To prevent Liang Wan from leaving anything behind again, I decisively followed her upstairs this time. "What are you following me for?" Liang Wan said angrily. "I am afraid you'll forget something again. Class is about to start, and it wouldn't be good to delay your studies. After all, you have dreams, ambitions, and the desire to use studying to change your destiny. As for me, besides the 10-figure balance in my card, I have nothing," I bragged humbly. Liang Wan's home was a small apartment in the complex, about 60 square meters. A family of 4 lived there. I glanced curiously inside the house. Although the apartment wasn't even as big as my changing room, it was decorated very cozily. On the sofa in the room, I also saw some children's books and toy trucks. "You have a younger brother?" I asked curiously. Liang Wan didn't answer. She just slammed the door shut. When she opened the door again, Liang Wan had gathered all the gifts that the original owner had given her. Liang Wan was surprised to find that, without the gifts I had given her, her room suddenly became empty. I checked everything once, and asked, "Didn't you also get money from Cheng Yuan to buy a tablet and a laptop?" "Stop." The door was slammed shut once again. "Is that everything?" "Liu Hao, I never thought you were this kind of person," Liang Wan said with disgust. I hesitantly looked Liang Wan up and down. "What do you want?" Liang Wan took 2 steps back. "If you dare try anything funny, I'll scream." The corner of my mouth twitched. I chuckled and said, "Do I look that desperate? But it seems the clothes you're wearing were also bought by me." Hearing my words, Liang Wan no longer looked at me with just disgust, but as if she was looking at a pervert. "I'll return this outfit to you after I wash it," she said, her face slightly red. "It's fine. The original scent is even better," I blurted out. "You're shameless." Liang Wan's face immediately flushed bright red, but at this point, she no longer wanted to get entangled with me. "This time I'll ignore Liu Hao for a whole month," she thought to herself. "Stop." The door was slammed shut once again. When it opened again, Liang Wan threw the clothes she just changed out of right in my face. I have to say, the freshly changed clothes were still warm, and the scent was quite nice. Did I buy you any silk stockings or anything like that before?" I asked. "Pervert, get lost." Liang Wan's face was so red it looked like it was about to drip water. She didn't know when I had become so shameless. She locked her front door and turned to go down the elevator alone. Watching the elevator doors slowly close, I wanted to remind her that the shoes she was wearing were also bought by me. I scratched my head. I thought to myself, forget it. I'll let her keep the shoes. They were only 1,000 yuan anyway. My gaze shifted to the clothes Liang Wan just took off. Thinking back now, it seems I really was a bit of a pervert. But my own clothes were clearly treated with special perfume, so why did I always feel they didn't smell as good as hers? Meanwhile, after Liang Wan went downstairs, she waited for me by the Ferrari with a cold expression. By this time, there were quite a few young girls taking pictures with the Ferrari. They spoke with an annoyed tone to Liang Wan, who had suddenly appeared in their shot. "Little sister, can you stand a bit further away from this car? Don't block the shot. Okay, can't you be a little more considerate?" A sense of grievance welled up in Liang Wan's heart. This was clearly Liu Hao's car, but thinking about it now, she had no relationship with him. They were just ordinary classmates. She bit her lip lightly and looked towards the elevator door. She saw me looking like a thief, with my hands full of bags and the clothes she had just taken off, draped around my neck like a scarf. Seeing the young girls gathered by the Ferrari, I licked my lips, walked over, and asked, "Hey friend, wanna buy a bag? Designer brand, bought at the counter, guaranteed authentic, freshly secondhand. Everything sold at a 20% discount." The girls looked at me, having just come from upstairs, and dressed like this. Whether they were authentic or not, they didn't know. But the source of these items looked questionable. I scratched my head in confusion. Was a 20% discount still too high? I saw that the girls were clearly tempted, but no one seemed to want to buy. So I displayed each bag one by one on the hood of the Ferrari. I opened the Ferrari's door. If you buy now, you get to take 3 photos inside the car. The looking girls glanced at each other. The $10 million Ferrari belongs to me. So the origin of these bags is definitely not a problem. 10 designer bags bought at a 20% discount. Even if they resold them immediately, they could still make a profit. Everyone rushed forward one by one to grab these bags. One girl even stepped forward and took my hand, asking, "Handsome, I want to buy your contact information. How much will it cost?" Seeing another girl approach me, Liang Wan walked over to the two of us and said coldly, "Liu Hao, when are you taking me back to school?" My gaze at this moment was captivated by the girl, in the sports tank top in front of me, a full bust, a slender waist, and endlessly long legs. When the girl spoke, her chest even jiggled lightly like pudding, looking very bouncy. Being suddenly interrupted by someone, I couldn't help but frown. But then I remembered that since I was the one who brought Liang Wan home, I still had to take her back to school safely. I reluctantly said goodbye to the beautiful girls in front of me and took Liang Wan to the Ferrari. Before getting in the car, Liang Wan glanced at the other girls present and let out a provocative little snort. On the way back to school, she suddenly said, "Liu Hao, all those people just now were only approaching you because of your money." Looking at the 400,000 that had just been transferred to my card, I was in a great mood. I smiled nonchalantly. "It's fine. All your big bro has left is money. The Liu Corporation's assets of hundreds of billions, if we can establish a connection with Xi Zhan, could very well reach the trillion level, as long as I don't court death. Keep the villainous Liu Ruyan stable, and secretly eliminate the male lead Long Aotian. I'll never run out of this money. I basically can't spend it all." As we passed by a phone store, I suddenly stopped the car. I bought 2 of the latest pineapple phones, and tossed them into the car. In the morning, when Liu Ruyan looked up the price of Guailu fabric, she had taken out her phone. It was an outdated keypad phone. I don't know how many years old. The paint on the phone's edges had all peeled off, and the symbols on the keypad had completely faded. Liang Wan looked at the 2 latest model phones, and her heart immediately filled with joy. But then she remembered the bags I sold this morning, and she maintained her cold expression. "Don't think a measly phone can make me forgive him," she thought to herself. She kept glancing at the phones, then back at me, reminding herself to stay calm. She had to wait until I couldn't stand it anymore, and brought it up first. But unexpectedly, I stepped on the gas, and successfully got Liang Wan back to class before the bell rang. Liang Wan's mind went blank. Before, I used to drive very slowly, but today was like a race. Furthermore, on the way back, I didn't say a single word to her. She glared at me fiercely, and angrily sat back down in her seat. The first class in the morning was math. After listening for 2 minutes, I slumped onto my desk and fell asleep. I don't know how long I slept. Chang Yuan tapped my shoulder and called out, Brother Hao, I think someone's looking for you." I rubbed my eyes, yawned, and said with a smile, "Don't tell me the news of my fight with Liang Wan has already spread. Another girl has come to confess so soon?" I looked towards the door. I saw a petite girl, her eyes shimmering with tears, standing at the classroom door looking in. I recognized this girl as Jiang San, the one who gave Liu Ruyan a steamed bun in the morning. I shot up from my seat and ran to Jiang San's side. "What's wrong? Did something happen to Ruyan?" Suddenly, I heard the sound of desks and chairs being violently moved, coming from the classroom upstairs. Liu Ruyan's classroom was right above mine. "Fatty, come with me." I yelled to Cheng Yuan, and immediately ran upstairs. At this moment, Liu Ruyan was surrounded by 5 girls. Her desk had been kicked away. She had her head down, helplessly clutching the hem of her skirt with both hands. The lead girl looked at Liu Ruyan's state, and sneered, "No wonder you have money for new clothes today. Turns out you sold your body. Someone already posted about it online. You've completely disgraced our school." She took out a stack of cash from her school bag and threw it in Liu Ruyan's face. "This much money? It should be enough to hire you for one time, right? Hurry up and take off your clothes, so your classmates can also broaden their horizons. You've already done something so shameless. What's there to be afraid of?" Liu Ruyan shook her head repeatedly, explaining with a choked voice, I didn't sell my body. My brother bought these clothes for me." The lead girl snorted coldly, still acting pitiful here. "Brother, sister, my ass. Since she won't do it herself, let's help her." The 5 of them rushed forward together, pulling Liu Ruyan's hair, grabbing her arms, and tearing at her clothes. Beside them, a male student chimed in, "Are you guys even capable? 5 of you can't even strip one person. Lift her skirt. Isn't that much easier than tearing her shirt?" The 5 had a sudden realization, and immediately grabbed for Liu Ruyan's skirt. Bang! A loud noise echoed out. The entire classroom door was kicked open. I rushed in, radiating killing intent. Seeing my murderous aura, everyone's movements paused for a moment. Liu Ruyan looked at me as if an angel had descended. The grievance in her heart could no longer be contained. She struggled free from their grasp, clutched her clothes, and burrowed into my arms. I gently patted Liu Ruyan's back, trying my best to suppress my anger, and asked softly, "Are you hurt anywhere?" Liu Yuyan sobbed uncontrollably, whimpering softly, "Brother, I really didn't sell my body. You bought these clothes for me. Can you help me explain it to them?" I looked at the friend who had just run up behind me, and said in a cold voice, "Fatty, block the back door." I smoothed Liu Ruyan's hair, and comforted her. "I'll help you explain it to them. Oh, this must be the man who paid for you yesterday. I can't believe you found someone from our own school. You're already stuck to each other, and you still call yourselves brother and sister? Such a whore. Yet you pretend to be a saint. Shameless thing," the lead girl sneered. "Hey bro, how much for one night? Is she still a virgin? How was her performance last night?" Another male student chimed in. I held Liu Ruyan tightly, and slowly walked up to the podium. I kicked the podium hard, sending it flying. Another loud noise rang out. The classroom immediately fell silent again. I glanced at everyone present, and said arrogantly, "Your daddy's name is Liu Hao. You dare to touch my person. Now, your daddy will explain it to you. All of you, kneel down and listen." Hearing my words, all the students sneered contemptuously. "Isn't Liu Hao just Liang Wan's simp? I heard he's been simping for over a year, spent a lot of his family's money, but never even got to hold her hand. So now he's given up on Liang Wan and switched to simping for Liu Ruyan. I have to say, after getting dressed up, Liu Ruyan is much prettier than Liang Wan. The corner of my mouth twitched. I didn't expect the original owner to be so famous. I glanced at everyone present, and said with a cold laugh, "I told you all to kneel and listen to my explanation. Didn't you hear me? A bunch of filthy rumor-mongers who also bully their classmates. Have all your studies gone to the dogs? What else is there to explain? The video of her selling herself is already online. She had the guts to do it, so why can't we talk about it? If you have guts, then don't do such a dirty thing." The leading girl mocked. "Liu Hao, this girl is Go Can. She used to mock and bully Ru Yan often, and that male student is Liao Feiwen, is Gu Can's boyfriend." Liao Feiwen saw that Lu Ruyan was very beautiful today, so he kept harassing her. Gu Can couldn't stand it and got angry, so she started bullying Ruyan again. Jiang Shan came to my side and whispered the whole story to me. I nodded, looking at Liu Ruyan in my arms like a little white rabbit, trembling and shrinking. I felt extremely heartbroken. Liu Ruyan was bullied by the original owner at home, and bullied by classmates at school. Her life before was just too dark. No wonder that in the novel, even though she knew the male lead was only obsessed with her body, she still saw him as the only light in her life. Thinking of this, my arms holding Liu Yuyan tightened. I really wanted to rush up right now and fight these bastards, but I couldn't just leave. The panicked Liu Ruyan. I looked at Jiang Shan and said, "Call your homeroom teacher." "Over. Let's see how this will be handled." Jiang Shan looked at me hesitantly. "Do we really have to call her?" I nodded, "Without the indulgence of your homeroom teacher. How could she have raised these bastards? Today, I will deal with everyone who bullied Liu Ruyan." Jiang Shan glanced at me again. In his impression, students couldn't go against teachers, but seeing my cold gaze, he still quickly left the classroom. I picked up a chair and sat down. Liu Ruyan huddled in my arms. Half of my shirt was soaked. I took out my phone and found the principal's number. The principal of Jiangcheng High School is named Huang Deren. In the beginning, he personally arranged for the original owner to study here. As soon as the call connected, Huang Deren's fawning voice came through. "Young Master Liu, are you attending school today? If it's uncomfortable to nap in class, my office has a new sofa. You can come over and rest." I laughed coldly. "I'll give you 10 minutes. Come to class 11 to 1. You come here and see for yourself what kind of principal you are." I didn't care if Huang Deren heard me clearly. I just hung up. Hearing my words, the surrounding students looked at each other suspiciously. Did he just call the principal? How is that possible? Talking to the principal with that tone? Who does he think he is? He even gave the principal 10 minutes, telling the principal to come see him? He's so full of himself. I ignored the mockery from those around me, and made a second call. "Captain Chen, this is Liu Hao. In class 11 to 1, at Jiangcheng High School. There's a serious bullying incident. Send a team over to handle it." The classmates looked at me now, as if they were watching a clown. Who did he call just now? The city guard captain, and he's sending a whole team? Does he think his family owns the city guard? I don't think he even made a call. He's just pretending. Definitely. Otherwise, how could the other person have picked up immediately? Besides, look at his tone. One is the principal, the other is the city guard captain. Can he really order them around? He's really putting on an act. He must have tricked Liu Ruyan this way. I glanced at the students present, and said with a laugh, aren't you going to kneel and listen to my explanation? Liao Fiwen scoffed. You think you're worthy? You're just bluffing. Didn't you say the principal would be here in 10 minutes? Block the door. If the principal doesn't show up in 10 minutes, well, show him the consequences of provoking our class. My face turned cold, and I made one last call. Xiao Dao, bring 30 of our brothers to class 11-1 at Jiangcheng High School. Brother Hao has spoken. Our brothers will be there in 20 minutes. The man called Xiao Dao, whose real name is Liu Dao, is a well-known gangster in this area. Xiao Dao? I am Xiao Pao then. Who did he call this time? And he's calling 30 brothers? You want them to carry you out? The spectating classmates jeered. You said 10 minutes, right? It's been 7 minutes already. If the principal doesn't come, we're going to make our move. Liao Feiwen smiled maliciously. I looked at the weak Liu Ruyan nestled in my arms and couldn't help but lick my lips. Brother, will it be okay? Liu Ruyan's eyes were red. She asked in a small voice. If there's really a problem, you should run first, she said, gritting her teeth. I could feel that as Liu Ruyan spoke, her body was trembling slightly. I wiped the corner of Liu Ruyan's eye and comforted her. As long as I am here, I won't let anyone bully you. Liu Ruyan felt a sting in her nose. She forced a smile and said, I believe you. I gently pinched Liu Ruyan's nose and said with a smile, remember all their faces right now. Later, don't you go soft on them. Noticing my intimate gesture, Liu Ruyan's face turned slightly red, and she whispered, listen to you. Clack, clack, clack. A series of hurried high-heel steps echoed from the hallway. A middle-aged woman with high cheekbones walked into the classroom. What chaos are you all causing? Our class is the noisiest in the entire school. This woman's name is Wu Hui, the homeroom teacher of this class. Looking at the disastrous scene in the classroom, she roared, Who did this? Are you all mute? Suddenly, she saw me in the classroom, and Liu Ruyan huddled in my arms, and angrily scolded. Liu Ruyan, why is it you again? Dressed like a fox spirit today? Who are you trying to seduce? Look at how old you are, cuddling up in a man's arms in broad daylight. How can you be so cheap? And you dare bring your boyfriend to class to cause trouble? A troublemaker like you should have dropped out of school long ago. Get your parents here for me now. I want to see what kind of parents would raise such a morally corrupt person like you. Hearing Wu Hu's barrage of insults, I finally understood why the people in this class dared to bully Liu Ruyan so brazenly. This poor girl clearly didn't say anything. Her clothes were torn. She was obviously a victim. But Wu Hui didn't investigate at all, and directly blamed Liu Yuyan. Liu Ruyan shrank back in fear, burrowing deeper into my arms. My eyes darted around, changing my aggressive demeanor, and with a wronged expression, I said, Teacher Wu, I am her older brother. If you want to find her parents, you can just talk to me. Look, my sister's clothes are torn, and she's also severely traumatized. My sister is clearly the victim here. Wu Hui looked at my weak appearance and said with a cold laugh, It takes 2 hands to clap. If your sister wasn't acting like a slut all day, would others have torn her clothes? Why don't they come and tear my clothes? So young yet already learning bad things, dressing like a fox spirit. Seeing you two so clingy, you're probably no good either. The spectating students couldn't help but laugh even harder. Liu Hao, we prefer your arrogant look from before. Why did you become as timid as a mouse seeing a cat? The moment you saw the teacher, didn't you call the principal and Captain Chen? Hurry up and call them over. I gently pinched Liu Ruyan's cheek and whispered in her ear, I am going to pick a fight, you just sit here. After saying that, I put on the face of someone easily bullied again, and slowly stood up. As I stood up, Liu Ruyan covered her chest with one hand and gently grabbed the hem of my shirt with the other. Seeing me look over, Liu Ruyan said pitifully, Brother, I am scared. I scratched the back of my neck, feeling a bit annoyed instantly. I walked up to Wu Hui and said with an innocent smile, Teacher, you said it takes 2 hands to clap, right? As soon as the words left my mouth, quick as lightning, I slapped Wu Hui hard across the face. Slap. A crisp sound echoed through the classroom. Practice really does reveal the truth, I said with a laugh. Wasn't that quite loud? Wu Hui held her face, looking at me in shock. She never expected to be hit by a student. She stood up, about to charge at me, but I slapped her again from the other side. I am asking you, can one hand clap or not? I sneered. Wu Hui gritted her teeth, about to charge at me. Again, my eyes turned cold, and I said with a cold laugh, if your body wasn't covered in rotten flesh, so disgusting it hurts my eyes to look, I would have stripped you naked and thrown you onto the sports field. After all, according to you, even if I tore your clothes, it would be because you were being promiscuous. A teacher being promiscuous in front of students? You're really cheap. Seeing the cold light in my eyes, Wu Hui didn't dare to move forward. She looked at the students in the class and said angrily, "Are you all a bunch of cowards? Your teacher has taught you for so long, and you just stand by and watch your teacher get bullied by an outsider? He's definitely a thug from outside the school, who snuck in to steal. Hurry up, grab him for me." Liao Fei Wen was already eager to move, and upon receiving Wu Hu's order, he charged directly towards Liu Ruyan. I pulled my little sister over, raised my leg, and kicked Liao Fei Wen in the chest. Bam! A loud noise echoed. Liao Fei Wen was sent flying by the kick, crashing hard into the podium, before rolling onto the floor. Seeing such a miserable sight, everyone's actions couldn't help but pause for a moment. "You useless bunch. What are you standing there for? This thug is holding a hostage, and he's injured a classmate. Aren't you going to rush him all at once?" Cheng Yuan saw I was in danger, his whole body like a heavy tank. He quickly ran from the back door of the classroom to my side. "Brother Hao, when the fight starts, you take your sister and go first," Cheng Yuan said. I looked at my watch and shook my head. No need. If Huang De-ren doesn't appear in the next 10 seconds, then from now on, he doesn't need to show up in Jiangcheng anymore. Just you? You want to make our principal Huang disappear? Wu Hui laughed out of anger. "It's good that the principal is coming. He can expel both of you directly. Our Jiangcheng High School doesn't need the existence of two troublemakers like you." I raised an eyebrow and said with a smile, "Yes, I am a stick, and you are all piles of disgusting, stinking dog shit. Such a sharp tongue. Is this how your parents taught you to respect your teachers?" Wu Hui scolded angrily. Just as she led the students to surround the three of us, from the back of the classroom suddenly came a series of rapid breaths. I saw a man with a chubby, round, kind face leaning against the back door frame, panting as he shouted, "Stop, everyone! For me! Everyone stop for me! Principal Huang, why are you here?" Seeing Huang De-ren, Wu Hu's face immediately blossomed. With a smile as bright as a chrysanthemum, she glanced at me, then explained to Huang De-ren, "These thugs broke into our school, injured a student, and we've surrounded him." Huang De-ren glared at the surrounding students and hurriedly ran in front of me, with the air of an old servant arriving late. "Young master, are you hurt?" Seeing Huang De-ren's reaction, everyone present was so shocked their jaws dropped. Although Huang De-ren had a gentle appearance, he was usually extremely strict, managing the students with extreme severity. In his more than 5 years as principal, the number of misbehaving students he expelled each year was at least 50. After removing these bad apples, the promotion rate and academic discipline of Jiangcheng High School improved significantly. Thanks to that, he earned the reputation of the Steel Principal. Is this still the strict principal that we usually see? Look at his subservient expression. Was he possessed by a eunuch? Shh, aren't you afraid hell expel you? But the principal really seems off today. Looking at the trembling Huang De-ren in front of me, I got a chair and led my little sister to sit down. Resolving this will take some time. "It's okay for me to sit here, right?" I asked. Huang De-ren shook his head repeatedly and said fawningly, "Young Master Liu, it's my negligence. You should pay more attention to resting." I rubbed my forehead. Seeing Huang De-ren like this, I really couldn't get angry. I waved my hand. "All right, hurry up and investigate these matters clearly." Huang De-ren chuckled obsequiously at me, then turned to look at Wu Hui. He really wanted to curse this blind person, but was afraid of startling me, so he suppressed his anger and said, "Speak, what is this about?" Hearing the anger suppressed in Huang De-ren's voice, I spoke up teasingly. "Principal Huang, is this how you handle problems? I feel this isn't like you at all." Huang De-ren took a deep breath. He knew I was not satisfied with his attitude in handling the matter. His fawning just now was misplaced. His voice suddenly became sharp. "Speak. What exactly happened?" Hearing Huang De-ren's stern questioning, Wu Hu's lips started to tremble. Principal Huang, I don't know anything." I peeked out from behind Huang De-ren and said sarcastically, "Didn't Teacher Wu investigate very clearly just now? It was all because my sister was promiscuous. She deserved to have her clothes torn. I think Teacher Wu was very right. After all, it takes 2 hands to clap. If we're in the right, what is there to fear? Or do you know you're in the wrong? And seeing that my sister has no one to back her up, you dared to act so recklessly?" Hearing my words, Huang De-ren roughly guessed what happened. He slapped Wu Hui, sending her flying into the wall. "Let me show you what it takes 2 hands to clap means. Have you investigated the matter before daring to jump to conclusions? I worked hard to build a civilized school, only to nurture a beast in teacher's clothing like you. I've figured it out. You've seen me expel many students over the years, and taking advantage of the fact that students don't want to be expelled, you act like a tyrant in the classroom, right? Let me tell you, the students I expelled Every single one of them had serious problems. I have a clear conscience. Besides, I don't just dare to expel students, I also dare to fire teachers. Now, get the hell out. I laughed coldly and patted the back of the girl in my arms, asking, did she do anything else outrageous to you before? Wu Hu's action of cursing Lu Ruyan upon entering was too practiced. Clearly, this was not a rare occurrence before. Liu Ruyan whimpered a few times and nodded gently against my chest. Wu Hui was truly scared now. She never expected that cursing Liu Ruyan as usual would not only get her slapped several times, but would also cost her her job. She knelt on the ground, hugging Huang Deren's thigh, begging, Principal, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have slandered a student without investigating. I will definitely change in the future. I swear. I will definitely change. Huang Deren looked at me with some hesitation. In terms of teaching skills, Wu Hu's ability was clear for all to see. Wu Hui noticed Huang Deren's gaze and crawled on her knees in front of me. Young Master Liu, I will definitely treat your sister, Ru Yan, well, in the future. Your teacher has taught you for so long, right? Can you help me beg your brother? Liu Ruyan said nothing, only burrowing deeper into my arms. She felt that the safest place in the world right now, besides the corner of her bed in her room, was in my arms. Moreover, my embrace was very warm. Seeing that Liu Ruyan didn't want to get close to Wu Hui, I said in an unfriendly tone, Teacher Wu, even now, you still haven't realized your mistake. If my sister had bullied someone else today, I would definitely have taught her a lesson. You're treating my sister well. Doesn't that mean that in your eyes, students are divided into different classes? Besides, you teaching my sister, isn't that your job? Or did you spend extra time to tutor my sister? The only special treatment you gave my sister was to slander her every time you opened your mouth. Where do you get the nerve to have my sister plead for you? I looked at Huang Deren. Learn to be a person before learning knowledge. Under the teaching of such a teacher, I strongly suspect the character of the students at our school might be problematic. Huang Deren nodded with a forced smile. He yelled at Wu Hui, You are no longer a teacher at our school. Get the hell out of my sight now. Knowing she was fired, Wu Hui quickly scrambled up from the ground and shot Huang Deren a venomous glare. Since I am no longer a teacher at this school, you, Huang Deren, can't control me either. She turned to look at me again, angrily cursing. You and your sister are sneaking around together. You two are definitely having an affair. Your sister dresses so provocatively. Who can she blame for getting her clothes ripped off? She's already a prostitute. Yet here she is, pretending to be innocent. Today, Liu Ruyan was wearing a light pink shirt, paired with a school-style pleated skirt, in a sweet style, which had absolutely nothing to do with dressing provocatively. I narrowed my eyes and said coldly, Wu, you probably don't know this, do you? Intentionally spreading malicious rumors is also a crime. You could be arrested and locked up for several years. Don't think that just because the school can't control you, that no one else can. Wu Hui snorted coldly. My husband works for the city guard. If you are so great, have him come and arrest me. I just called him. This isn't tea over yet. As soon as she finished speaking, a team of city guards arrived at the door. From behind the city guards, Wu Hui spotted her husband's figure and rushed over, wailing and complaining. Zhou Long, your wife is being bullied to death by this bastard. He just slapped me several times. Look, the handprint is still on my face. Even my job was lost because of this bastard. Hurry up and arrest him. Lock him up for 10 or 8 years. Hearing that his wife had been bullied, Zhou Long was furious. Looking in the direction Wu Hui was pointing, he saw his captain enthusiastically greeting me. His neck instinctively recoiled. He asked in a low voice, The person you said was bullying you, it isn't young Master Liu, is it? Wu Hui nodded. She said irritably, Yes, it's that bastard. Honey, hurry, and help me arrest him. Zhou Long quickly covered Wu Hui's mouth. You'll be the death of me. Come with me right now and apologize to young Master Liu. If young Master Liu doesn't forgive us, our whole family is finished. At that moment, with a meaningful expression on my face, I looked over with a smile. Wu, is that gentleman your husband? Didn't you want him to arrest me? Following my gaze, City Guard Captain Chen Fu noticed Zhou Long and Wu Hui standing at the back. He frowned unhappily and said, Zhou Long, since when did the City Guard become your private property? You can arrest whoever you want? Wu Hui stared blankly at me, and Chen Fu standing beside me. Only now did she realize what huge trouble she had caused. Her eyes turned red, and tears streamed down her face uncontrollably. Honey, what do we do now? I know I was wrong. This time, I really know I was wrong. Please help me. Zhou Long stiffened his neck and pulled Wu Hui's hand forward. He bowed deeply to me. Young Master Liu, I know my wife's personality. She is definitely largely responsible for what happened today. I apologize to you on her behalf. I looked at Huang De-ren, pull up the surveillance camera footage for this classroom, so they won't think I am using my power to bully people. Before Huang De-ren even ran over here, he had already called someone to pull the surveillance footage. Watching Liu Ruyan being bullied for no reason in the video, while Wu Hui, without understanding the situation, arbitrarily criticized and berated Liu Ruyan. Watching this scene again, my fists involuntarily clenched a little tighter. I looked at Wu Hui and said sarcastically, "Ems, Wu, it takes two hands to clap, doesn't it? Let's see if this one hand makes a sound." After one video finished playing, Huang De-ren pulled out another video. This is the video I just pulled up. It's the footage from after I said she was fired. In the footage, after being fired, Wu Hui became even more reckless with her words, starting to insult people indiscriminately. Zhou Long's face turned red with shame. He glared at Wu Hui beside him. Wu Hui lowered her head to her chest, avoiding his gaze, not daring to look at Zhou Long at all. Zhou Long took a deep breath and stepped forward to apologize. "Young Master Liu, it's all my wife's fault. How do you think we should handle this?" I shrugged. "You're really putting me in a tough spot. How about I ask the corporation's legal department what to do in this situation? Principal Huang, our cameras can probably pull up footage from the last year, right?" Hearing that I intended to pull up a whole year of camera footage, Wu Hui immediately fell to her knees. Today, she had only insulted Liu Ruyan, but over the past year, ever since she noticed Liu Ruyan's ragged clothes, and that her family didn't care, she would take out her bad moods on her whenever she was upset. Chen Fu patted Zhou Long's shoulder. "Tell your wife to confess everything from this past year. It'll save us some work." Zhou Long sighed and said, "Yes, Captain. I'll take the suspect back for questioning now." Thinking about the possibility of going to jail, Wu Hui was so worried that her tears wouldn't stop falling. "Honey, you can't just abandon me like this. If I get locked up, how will our relatives and friends look at me in the future? Hurry and help me beg young Master Liu." "I really didn't mean it." Zhou Long glared fiercely at Wu Hui and roared, "I told you a long time ago to fix that temper of yours, but you never listen. Why would you bully others when you have nothing better to do, especially a well-behaved child, whose child isn't made of flesh and blood? When you were abusing someone else's child, you should have thought about a day like today. Come with me now." Seeing the city guard take their head teacher away, all the students present looked at me in shock. The principal and the city guard were really called by Liu Hao. What kind of background does Liu Hao have? How can a simp have so much power? Just for scolding Liu Ruyan, she was taken away for questioning by the city guard. In that case, Liao Fei Wen and Gu Cancan's group, won't they have to rot in jail? Liao Fei Wen and Gu Cancan's group looked at each other, their eyes filled with fear as they looked at me. They thought that bullying Liu Ruyan was just a joke among classmates. It's not like they hadn't done it before. At most, they'd just have to apologize a few times afterward. They never expected that I would report it directly to the city guard and want them arrested to be held accountable. If they were charged with bullying and had a criminal record, their lives would be over. Finally, a female student who followed Gu Cancan couldn't stand the pressure and immediately knelt on the spot. "Liu Hao, you Cancan forced me to do everything. I didn't want to bully Liu Ruyan either, but if I didn't bully her, then I would have been the one being bullied." With one person taking the lead, the other three female students also knelt on the ground one by one, continuously chiming in. "That's right, it was all Gu Cancan's doing. We had no choice either." Gu Can looked in astonishment at the four people kneeling on the ground. They had clearly bullied Liu Ruyan together, but now she was being left to take all the blame. She gritted her teeth and kicked each of them in the chest. "You were the ones who told me that Liu Ruyan was prostituting herself. You were the ones who said she seduced my boyfriend. And now you're saying I forced you to do it? When did I ever force you?" After being kicked, the four looked at each other, stood up, and rushed towards Gu Cancan. "Gu Cancan, I've had enough of you for a long time. Isn't it just because your family has some dirty money? You act all high and mighty all day long, looking down on this person and that person. Aren't you just jealous that Liu Ruyan is prettier than you, so you wanted to bully her? Let's all strip her clothes off and see what she has to be arrogant about in the future." That's right. The way she treated Liu Ruyan, well, treat her the same way. Several people rushed forward, twisting Gu Cancan's arms, pulling her hair, and tearing her clothes. Gu Cancan struggled desperately, but ultimately, two hands are no match for eight. Only the sound of fabric being continuously ripped could be heard. Gu Cancan's clothes were torn to shreds in an instant. "That's enough," I suddenly snorted coldly. Hearing my words, their actions immediately stopped. Gu Can now only had her underwear on, her whole body curled up, sobbing incessantly. Just then, a playful whistle echoed from outside the classroom door. A gaunt-faced man leaned against the doorframe and raised an eyebrow. Brother Hao, my brothers and I aren't late, are we? Seeing the man's face, a stir went through the crowd of watching students. Holy crap, the Xiao Dao that Liu Hao just mentioned. Isn't that Brother Dao? He just called the city guard, and now he's called Brother Dao. Does Liu Hao have connections in both the legal world and the underworld? The city guard would at most lock them up for a few months. If Brother Dao makes a move, they'll probably be bedridden for the next few months. Liu Dao walked into the classroom and taunted Huang Duren. Principal Huang, you should have replaced your school's security guards a long time ago. They're all just a bunch of old geezers. What can they do? He then looked at Chen Fu beside him and said with a smile, Captain Chen, are you also here today to help my brother Hao sort things out? Chen Fu wore a solemn expression. We received a report that a serious case of school bullying occurred here. He looked at Liu Dao and warned, don't cause trouble, or well, take all of you back with us as well. Liu Dao shrugged. Captain Chen, I am a law-abiding citizen. If you slander me, I'll sue you. I separated the two of them and smiled at Chen Fu. Captain Chen, the next scene might be inconvenient for you to watch. Could I trouble you to wait outside the door for a bit? Chen Fu glanced at the sobbing Gu Can on the floor, then back at me. I didn't condone those people stripping Ju Can's clothes off, which showed that I still had some restraint. He nodded and led everyone out of the classroom for the time being. I nodded my head towards Liu Dao. Liu Dao understood and immediately had all his men surround the place. I slowly walked up to Gu Can and slapped her across the face. Cry, cry, cry. You still have the nerve to play the victim here. If I hadn't come just now, have you considered what would have happened to my sister? We were just joking around as classmates. Jiu Can said stubbornly. I laughed coldly. So I ruined your fun just now. Is that it? Then I'll let them continue playing with you for a while. No, please don't. I can give you money. A lot of money. Please let me go. Gu Can begged. Money? I stood up and went to Li Ruyan's desk, carefully taking out her school bag. In a compartment of the school bag, I found the card and the 5 million check that I had given to Li Ruyan yesterday. Do you see how much money is here? I said contemptuously. The money in the bank card can't be seen directly, but the check clearly states 5 million. I slapped Ju Can's face again. Do I look like I need your spare change? Gu Can also never expected that Liu Ruyan, whom she had always looked down upon, was actually richer than her. No, it can't be. This check must be fake. I generously shoved the check into Gu Can's hand. If it's fake, then you tear it up. Gu Can didn't dare to take the check at all. Her hands just clenched into fists. I spat. Bitch, the knife isn't cutting your flesh, so you don't know pain, right? If I hadn't arrived in time, my sister would have been stripped naked by you all. Who knows? After you stripped her, what else you would have done? A joke between classmates? How come you don't dare to take the joke when it's your turn? You also know that what you did was actually very excessive, right? I raised my leg and kicked her in the chest. Killing you would be letting you off easy. You people were trying to ruin my sister's entire life. Hearing my strong heartbeat, Liu Ruyan could feel how angry I was right now. She looked up at me, and I gently patted her heart a few times as if to soothe her. Liu Dao realized the situation wasn't good, and quickly forced a smile, squeezing in between me and Gu Can. Brother Hao, it's not worth it for a bitch like her. He winked at his underlings. The remaining underlings understood, and quickly carried Gu Can out. I gently patted Liu Ruyan's back, my gaze as cold as ice as I looked at the remaining people. Seeing me punish Ju Can, they all knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. It was really that bitch Yu Can who forced us. We've already cut ties with her now. Well, definitely never speak to her again. Please let us go this one time. I snorted coldly. You say Gu Can forced you to do it, but you almost stripped her naked just now. Can she really threaten you? Seeing that I was about to act again, Liu Dao interjected, Brother Hao, when it comes to teaching people a lesson, just leave it to us. My brothers and I specialize in this kind of work. I guarantee the city guard won't notice a thing. Right now, he's very afraid that in my anger, I won't know my own strength and cause something to happen to someone. Although it could ultimately be covered up, but as he said, it's not worth it for a few pieces of trash. After a round of miserable screams, the four of them, completely limp, were also dragged out. I carried a chair and sat in front of Liao Fei Wen, saying with a cold expression, you were the one who wanted to flirt with my sister, and you also instigated those others to bully my sister, right? Liao Fei Wen shook his head repeatedly, an extremely fawning smile appearing on his face. No, it wasn't me. I just saw that your sister was dressed nicely today, so I complimented her. As a result, They thought your sister was seducing me. It really has nothing to do with me. I laughed coldly. Then why did you tell them to strip her dress just now? Hearing my words, a flustered expression appeared on Liao Feiwen's face. He quickly slapped himself twice. Young Master Liu, it's all because I was talking nonsense. I was just talking randomly. I grabbed Liao Feiwen by the hair and pushed him to the ground. I extended my hand to form a sword finger and poked him twice in the back. A heart-piercing pain made Liao Feiwen's face immediately turned pale. The acupoint I hit would make Liao Feiwen feel as if he had kidney stones. For the next few years, when he goes to the bathroom, he will feel extreme pain. I casually tossed Liao Feiwen aside, strip his pants off, and throw him out. I was just talking randomly, too, I added. Liu Dao nodded his head towards his underlings. The underlings understood and decisively gave Liao Feiwen a thorough beating first. Finally, they stripped him naked and threw him out of the classroom. All of Liu Ruyan's bullies had been dealt with. The students present breathed a sigh of relief. Zhao Feiwen does nothing but harass girls every day. He deserved to be stripped naked. Gu Kankan's group uses their power to bully others every day. Now they've finally been punished. And that snobbish head teacher who mistreated students, she should have been arrested a long time ago. Now that these bad apples have been removed, we can study in peace from now on. I slowly walked to the front of the teacher's desk and gave another hard kick to the lectern that had already been knocked over. The loud noise made everyone focus their attention once again. Don't you all think that this matter is over just like I told you all to kneel and listen to my explanation? I said fiercely. Liu Hao, you're going too far. We didn't do anything to Liu Ruyan. Why are you taking your anger out on us? Aren't you afraid your sister will be ostracized in the future for doing this? I glanced at Huang Deren and asked, our school doesn't allow phones, right? Wang Deren was stunned for a moment. Although the school had never had this requirement, he still went along with what I said. That's right. Phones affect studying. The school prohibits bringing phones. I looked at Liu Dao again and instructed everyone. Confiscate all their phones. I don't want what happened today to get out. I'll handle the rest. After speaking, I carried Liu Ruyan out of the classroom. I calmed down a bit and looked at Chen Fu to ask, Captain Chen, I heard you particularly admire the founding generals of our Daishia. Chen Fu was stunned for a moment, not knowing why I was asking this, but he still nodded. At first, it was because I admired them that I chose this path. What about old General Xizhan? I asked. His battle of Haicheng drove out all the invaders stationed in Haicheng. After capturing the strategic location of Haicheng, Da Shia's supply transport was finally able to break the invaders' blockade, making an immortal contribution to the founding of our Daishia. Chen Fu was emotional, as if he had actually participated in that battle. I nodded. The traditional Chinese medicine hospital seems to have a lot of thieves lately. This afternoon, I'll have to trouble Captain Chen to take a stroll with me. Chen Fu's mouth dropped open in astonishment. He naturally understood the meaning behind my words. For a moment, he was so excited that he became a bit clumsy. I patted Chen Fu's shoulder. Captain Chen, there's nothing left for you here. You can go back first. After speaking, I turned and went back into the classroom. Brother Hao, all the phones have been checked. Anything we found has been deleted. It's just that with cloud uploads nowadays, we don't know where there might still be a backup. I nodded. Looking at the students kneeling in the classroom, they saw me appear. A student stood up and scolded angrily. Liu Hao, we just didn't help your sister. That's all. On what grounds are you taking your anger out on us? She didn't even resist herself. Why should we have to resist for her? We just didn't step in to help when we saw injustice. That's all. There's no rule saying we must help either. I rolled my eyes in contempt. The law also doesn't stipulate that I can't make you all kneel and listen to my explanation. Huh? Using the law to restrain your behavior. Don't you guys have any morals at all? Of course, you can be unconvinced, but now, I will explain it to you. All of you just kneel there obediently and listen to me. You can be cowards, but you can't stop others from stepping in to help when they see injustice. Can you? You cowards don't have the guts to stop the bullies, yet you go and stop the ones who want to help. Aren't you just aiding the enemy? How can you prove you have no connection to the bullies? The bullies' arrogance is all because of you, you bastards, that you've made them so insolent. Second, you stayed in the classroom. Wasn't it because you were hoping to see my sister get stripped naked? You let others do all the work. Then you just sit and wait for the benefits. If trouble comes, you can just wash your hands of it. This calculation of yours. The abacus beads are practically hitting me in the face. Third, I am taking my anger out on you. So what? Hearing my words, all the students looked at each other in bewilderment. Most of them had the same thought, seeing Lai Ruin's bullying as a form of entertainment. I glanced at Liu Dao. Never mind those who didn't record a video. Those who did record a video, teach them a lesson. I paused for a moment and continued, Tonight, you guys can go to the usual place. Put it on my tab. Alright, brother Hao. Leave it to me. I'll make sure they won't dare to be nosy again in the future, Liu Dao said with a laugh. I patted Liu Ruin's back. Just rest for today. One day, I'll take you to change your clothes first. And this afternoon, come with me to help Sister Nianqiu move. I walked over to Huang Diren and said to his face, move Ruyan and Jiang Shan to my class. My gaze shifted to Jiang Shan, and I hesitated before saying, today, could I invite you to come with Ruyan and me for a while? My sudden invitation made Jiang Shan a bit flustered for a moment. But, we still have to go to class today. Huang Diren interrupted. It's fine. The classes you missed today? If you can't keep up, I will arrange for a private tutor for you. Jiang Shan glanced at Liu Ruyan with some hesitation, then nodded gently. I put on Liu Ruyan's school bag and led the two of them out of the classroom. Before leaving, I specifically told Cheng Yuan one thing. Fatty, you're the only one left to study hard at school. We've all paid our tuition fees. You have to study. For the three of us. After leaving the classroom, I gently patted Liu Ruyan's head. Ruyan, if you keep clinging to me like this, it's hard for me to walk. Liu Ruyan pursed her lips, hesitated for a moment, and then hugged my arm tightly. I looked at Jiang Shan a bit sheepishly, and apologized awkwardly. Ruyan was frightened. Today, it's also my fault. I didn't care for her before, which made her suffer. Jiang Shan shook his head, looking at me curiously. Classmate Liu Hao, is Ruyan really your sister? I've never heard her say she has an older brother. Also, how were you able to call so many people? I glanced at Liu Ruyan, and opened my mouth to speak. I am the son of the chairman of the Liu Corporation. Ruyan is my sister, though we have different parents. Didn't expect that. Did you? The pitiful little girl from before is actually the young lady of a super rich family. Hearing my words, Jiang Shan subconsciously nodded. As for why Ruyan ended up in this state, I was just about to explain, when Liu Ruyan interrupted. Brother, let's go quickly. I froze for a moment. Perhaps Liu Ruyan still doesn't acknowledge the Liu family yet, so I didn't say anything more. The three of them quickly went to the parking lot. Looking at the Ferrari with only 2 seats in front of me, a hint of embarrassment appeared on my face. These supercars are great and all, but it's as if they're afraid the owner has loose morals. Suddenly, remembering something, I opened the car door, took out the pineapple phone I just bought this morning, and tossed it to the two of them. These 2 phones are for you. You two stay here and get used to the phone's functions first. I'll go get another car. Jiang Shan looked at the latest model pineapple phone in his hand. This top-tier model is worth about 10,000 yuan. This is too valuable. I can't accept it. He hurriedly refused. It's just that, while refusing, his eyes were still glued to the unopened phone. Just take it. If I hadn't been here today, my sister's life would have been ruined, I said generously.